The 1993 Class 8 season began at the Ultra Wheels Memorial Day 100 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and quickly became a two-truck battle between Scott Taylor in his Ford and Walker Evans in his Dodge. Taylor had a small lead, but this spin by Evans gave Scott Taylor all the breathing room he would need. Walker's misfortunes did not end there. Oh, and Walker Evans looks as though the ball joint has just snapped there, and he is pulling to the side of the road and is out of this race.
No, that's frustrating, buddy. All the way from Riverside, California. Walker pulls off. It's got to be some kind of suspension component breakage for sure.
Well, there goes your new second place position. That is Dave Hockers. So Hockers now, as we go back on board with Scott Taylor, and he is well in front, and he's got the word that Walker Evans is out of this race. They've obviously radioed to him. You see him shaking his fist in joy.
Now he can enjoy the race. Pressure's off.
Scott Taylor easily took the victory with Dave Hockers in second, something that we would come to see a lot of in 1993. Taylor came away with the 20 points that goes to each winner in the Pro Points Series, and Walker Evans found himself in a rut, 11 points behind after round one. Back again to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin at the Ultra Wheels Memorial Day 100. Would Jack Flannery pick up his domination where he left off last year in this class? Maybe not. The Class 4 season skidded and slid into action, and Flannery found himself in 5th place early and really was never a factor after that. The race came down to a duel between Kevin Probst and Jeff Dorr. The battle on the back stretch coming down to the wire. Kevin Probst trying to close on Jeff Dorr.
Kevin is trying hard. I just don't think it's enough time, Marty. You're going to have to go harder than this.
All right, if you're a driver and you're Kevin Probst, what are you going to do?
Go for the inside. Dive right here. Just what he does. Dive in there and try and get that position back.
So now Probst is on the outside. Can he cut down on top of him? Yes, but no, he locks up the wheels. Goes wide, and Dorr tucks it in underneath him. Jeff Dorr, as Probst goes wide, over the jump, taking the lead again as this is swapped back and forth, but it won't swap anymore. It's going to be Jeff Dorr winning Class 4 at the Ultra Wheels Memorial Day 100. What a finish to this race. So Jeff Dorr took the early lead in the Pro Series point standings in Class 4, and Jack Flannery's 3rd place finish would be the low point of the season for the Crandon, Wisconsin racer. 1993 Class 7S season started in a mud bowl at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It was the worst conditions anyone could ever remember. Oh, look at this as they come down into the first turn. This is going to be a matter of survival for these drivers as they go into the first turn. Greaves has the lead. Boy, amazingly, you talk about guys getting through there a lot cleaner than I thought they would.
Well, also myself, Marty, he just kind of pitched that truck through there and it worked well for him. Even though it's two-wheel drive. Remember, these trucks are two-wheel drive.
John Greaves, who was one of the preseason favorites, began on the right foot. He took the early lead. Scott Taylor dropped out fast and showed no signs of being a contender in the mud of Lake Geneva. Greaves led until he was black flagged for cutting the course, and Jeff Kincaid took the lead to the last lap. Have you ever driven in a race like this, Ivan?
I do remember Riverside one year. Not quite this bad, but it was bad. Not quite like this, Marty.
This truly, look at this, trying to slog his way through and take home a well-earned victory will be Jeff Kincaid. He's got one more turn. Be the prettiest piece of soaked pavement he's ever seen. And all he's got to do is get it up one more time over this jump. Can't go around there. He'll be charged with cutting the course up and over. Jeff Kincaid, the motor winding to the top levels of the RPMs. Here he is on the asphalt for the final time to take the checkered flag, and boy, what a soggy but well-earned victory in Class 7S for that man, Jeff Kincaid. When the mud was washed off, Jeff Kincaid held the early points lead, and as we look at the top 10, remember Scott Taylor is nowhere to be found at this point. We start again at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, as Jeff Probst and Randy Eller make contact at the start of the race. Probst makes a nice save and has the lead, but remember that contact, as it will come back to haunt him later. Randy Eller is in second, Todd Addig third at this point. With one lap down, Jeff Probst on the right of your screen would pull off with a broken CD drive axle from that earlier contact, and that gives the lead to the 922 of Todd Addig. But later, Addig hits the tire barrier and snaps the rear end. He hands the lead over to Randy Eller, who feels the heat of a closing Jeff St. Peter. Eller lands on 2 wheels, makes a nice save, but gives St. Peter the lead heading into turn 1. Near the end of the race, Jeff St. Peter has a close call as Richie Alt goes end over end right in front of him, pitching the motor off its mounts. And 2 course workers find out just how heavy and hot a race engine can be. Jeff St. Peter goes on for the win and takes the early Pro Series points lead. Take a look at 6th place and remember that name, Art Schmidt. The world leader in motorsports coverage welcomes you to perfect weather conditions in Antigo, Wisconsin, where a capacity crowd has turned out at the Langlade County Fairgrounds for the second of our 6 SOTA World Series of off-road televised races. Today, it's the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and if you were with us at our last race at the Ultra Wheel Memorial Day 100 at the Lake Geneva Raceway, you know that weather is very important. We got deluged. In fact, it turned it into a quagmire by the end of the event, but that's not going to happen today. The weatherman says maybe a chance of a late day shower, but we should be getting all the racing action in, and we have a lot for you today. 4 class races, big heavy metal showdown at the end of the day. My partner is always working on these events, Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. He's trackside with more. Ivan?
As I mentioned at our last race, one of the most important things for me was to win the first race. Get out there, get that points lead, let the other competitors know you're the guy to beat. The guys that have fallen back here, that got behind in this race, have got to get on the throttle quickly. They can't make mistakes. They got to get the chassis set up. Tires have got to be right. They've got to have a little bit of luck. The other thing they have to do is beat this racing surface. Here at Antigo, real unique. We've got long straightaways. We've got fast, hard clay to deal with. Loose, loamy corners. The guys that don't master this track are not going to make points here today.
Well, let's take a look at the race conditions. The weather right now, very nice at 75 degrees, partly sunny skies. A slight chance, though, of an afternoon shower, 40%. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have what happened back at Lake Geneva Raceway. Let's take a look at this course, Ivan.
Marty, this is the racetrack we're going to need horsepower on. Look at these long straightaways. 1, 2, 3, 4 straightaways. Turn 1 is almost flat out. We're going to need the horsepower here.
Speeds excess of 100 miles an hour on this layout here at Antigo, Wisconsin. As we get ready for Class 8 action, take a look at this crowd. You cannot get a seat. It is a complete sellout here as we take a look at the Pro Series point standings. Scott Taylor on top of Dave Hawkers by 4 after round number 1. There is Walker Evans, the biggest surprise, in 7th at this point. I haven't had a chance to talk with him before today's race.
Walker, you're 7th in points. I've been there. I don't like it. The second race of the year. What's Walker Evans going to do different in this race?
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take that Dodge out there, and I'm going to drive like there ain't no tomorrow. You watch.
I don't know if I'd want to be in front of him, that's for sure. Here's the classifications for Class 8. 2-wheel drive production pickups, 800 cubic inches, 850 horsepower maximum, and a minimum weight requirement of 3,700 pounds. The man who won at Lake Geneva, the defending class champion, will be in this field, Scott Taylor, as will Jack Flannery. He is jumping back in after Jamie Flannery drove at Lake Geneva. Jed Flannery, the other son, age 21 of Jack Flannery, he'll be in the 812. Dennis Verdon in the 40 and over group at Abrams, Wisconsin is home for him. Jimmy Crowder making the long haul from Tallahassee, Florida. He's in the 837. Walker Evans, you saw him. Here he is from Riverside, California. He'll be in the 817, the Dodge. Now here's the rest of the starting field, and you'll notice that they are starting 4 abreast. So the first turn, a left-hander, should be very interesting. On board, our in-car camera will be with Walker Evans looking right out the front of the Dodge, and the green flag has dropped, and we're going to see if Walker can make his way to the front. Boy, what a quick move, and he's on the inside right behind Jed Flannery.
Marty, he is on the warpath. He wants this race the worst way. He's got a long time with the dry spell. He wants his win.
Well, he knows being 7th in the points, he's got to do well here. He's going to lose contact, especially if Scott Taylor were to win again. Now here's the action down into the 180-degree infield corner as they come around. And there is Jack Flannery getting a little bit sideways. He's in 3rd place right now.
Jimmy Crowder leading this race. First-time leader for Jimmy Crowder.
Oh, and Dave Hawkers almost hits that pole. Coming around, it'll be Scott Taylor, followed by Jimmy Crowder. Taylor has gotten around Crowder. and Walker Evans is in third, Jed Flannery in fourth, and Papa Jack pulling up in fifth. Down off of the oval portion of this course into the rhythm section. Look at Evans trying to close down, and he does get around Jimmy Crowder. Oh, and he gets sideways.
Walker took the outside line, but it paid for it.
Throwing dirt a good 40 feet to the rear. There is your leader, followed by second place, Walker Evans, trying to reel in Scott Taylor. These two, before this season is out, it looks like they are just going to keep leaning on each other. Back up onto the oval portion of the course. There is your leader, Scott Taylor, into the infield section one more time. Third place still Jimmy Crowder.
Both guys are running just about 800 horsepower here, Marty. This track really lends for horsepower. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm still surprised Jack Flannery is having trouble getting back up into contention here, as he is still running in fifth place, closing in on fourth as we speak. Now, down the front straightaway, right in front of the main grandstands, here comes Scott Taylor, a little bit sideways over that jump, and Walker closing.
Marty, this is part of the sprint car track, so this turn they're taking right here, this big sweeper, is actually part of a sprint car track.
You can see the guardrail on the outside, on board with Walker Evans, off the sprint car track at that point, into the rhythm section, and up and over, and he is closing quickly on Taylor.
And this is the mogul section where Walker should be real strong. He really understands these moguls. His truck is set up perfect for it. You can see every time he gains on Scott.
Here's the battle. Jack Flannery trying to reel in son Jed. This is for fourth position. Oh, and they make contact.
He gives him a little nudge there. Get out of the way, boy.
Dad is letting the young man know, I'm still the boss of this family. Here is the battle back up front. Boy, what competition. Nose-to-tail action. Don't go anywhere. It looks like this could go all the way to the wire this way. Oh, and Evans may have the inside line. The next turn is a right-hander, 180 degrees to the right. Coming into the corner, look out the right side to see if, yes, Taylor able to close the door. Oh, and Evans looks like he ran over the course marker.
I think he got that barrel, Marty.
Up over the jumps. Now it'll be a drag race to the left-hander, which puts you back out onto the front straightaway. Look at this nose-to-tail action. Walker Evans trying the inside line. I think he may have it this time. Taylor on the throttle. No, he's going to be able to hold him off as they come across what will be the finish line. It is still Walker Evans trying to reel in on the inside. There is Scott Taylor. They touch momentarily. What great fender-to-fender action as Taylor in first, Evans in second. These guys have great respect for each other.
Look how beautiful Walker Evans truck. He got by him. Walker's hands up and his handling is just beautiful.
You mentioned in the last lap, he handled better through that rhythm section. Now, the question is, can Scott Taylor get back around him when the horsepower comes into play? Dodge versus Ford.
Now Scott also has to contend with the dust. And that's a big factor. That dirt being thrown in your face just makes it that much tougher.
Back up onto the oval. Here's Walker Evans with our in-car camera. Whoa, it looks like he's gone around.
Oh, that's something Walker doesn't do very often. He lost it.
Walker Evans spins it while in the lead. A yellow flag out for that stalled vehicle in front of our leader, Scott Taylor. Evans quickly getting back into the throttle. Surprisingly, let's take another look at it.
It looks like he came in and just got it just a tad sideways, maybe a little bit too much rear brake. And he lost it. Drive rear, Marty.
Boy, Scott Taylor is licking his chops right now. He's got the lead and is flying through turn number one. This is the one where you just sort of feather it through and then you flat-foot it as fast as you can go. Stay with us. We've got lots more action at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Class 8, your leader is Scott Taylor. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. The action in Class 8 is fast and furious. Scott Taylor in the Ford leads Walker Evans in the Dodge. Whoa, that is Pete Vandehey with a flat right front. Obviously some contact made, and he is pulling off to the side of the road, obviously out of this race.
Marty, I'm telling you, that Walker Evans is serious. Look at this. He's got Scott in his view, and he's not going to let up on him.
Back on board with Walker as he is down on the outside. Now this is a right-hand corner coming up. Where is Scott Taylor? Has he taken the lead? Has he got the position? No! Scott comes across his bow, fires a salvo and says, not yet, Walker. Down the straightaway here, a couple of jumps, and now another left-hander, which will put him back out on the main straightaway. It looks like he may have the lead again.
He's got the lead, Marty. He got by him.
Walker Evans does have the lead as they come by the front straightaway, and this capacity crowd at Antigo, Wisconsin, the Langley County Fairgrounds on their feet for these guys.
He said it. He's driving like there's no tomorrow, and that's what he's doing.
Jack Flannery, third place. He's got a long way to go to catch up.
Jack Flannery's got to be having some kind of problems, Marty. Normally, he's more of a contender than this.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, normally it would be a three-way race between these guys.
Scott Taylor is slowing down. Looks like he's slowed down quite a bit.
Well, Walker Evans is into lap traffic, so I don't know whether it's the conditions or whether it's the slower traffic, but Walker trying to get around the 8:55 of John Conitzer, who is in 9th place. Now, yes, you're right. Scott Taylor is pulling out of this race. Taylor leading the points coming in. He won at Lake Geneva. This will hurt him in the points battle. Walker Evans takes over first place. That will mean that this man, Jack Flannery, moves into second, and his son, Jed Flannery, there he is, will be in third. Boy, this is the opportunity Walker needed. The points leader drops out. He has a chance to pick up 20 more points right here. He came into this race seventh.
No, Marty, look at here. We got Walker Evans is smoking right now.
Oh, my. Walker Evans, the big opportunity is literally going up in smoke. You think it's a motor?
No, that happened so quick. No indication of problem. I'd say probably a transmission, my guess.
Well, the opportunity has gone by the boards for Walker Evans. That means Jack Flannery now steps up to the head of the class, and here he comes down the front straightaway, and he knows he now has the lead in this race. Big opportunity for Jack to make points in the championship battle.
We have a Flannery and a Flannery, first and second.
So it is Jack in front of Jed, and Jack with plenty of room to spare right now. There is Walker still trying to make it around. Do you think that's wise? Do you think he could do more damage?
Well, it's hard to say. He's probably analyzed the situation. If it's transmission, he's just going to burn it up, and that's going to be too bad for him. But, if it's an engine, I'd be slowing down looking at it. I'd say a transmission, Marty, I'm guessing.
Well, you're no longer going to see anything out of the in-car camera because the smoke is billowing into the cab. Jack Flannery coming up on lap traffic here at Antigo, Wisconsin. That is John Conitzer right in front of him. Second place is Jed Flannery. There is the margin. You can get an idea. It's a full straightaway at this point. Jed, second time that he's been in this truck that we've seen him this year on ESPN. And there is Walker Evans looking up underneath, trying to assess the damage. Jack Flannery around the turn one more time. The white flag is out, and there before the capacity crowd, the Crandon native into turn one more time.
Sometimes it works that way. The race just comes back to you, and that's what happened for Jack. It worked out great for him.
Jed Flannery in second place, losing further contact with his father. The only way he's going to win this race with one lap to go is if Papa breaks in the last lap. Hockers is in third. There's a good shot of Dave. Now, he is second in the points, so this third place finish, if that holds up, would help him tremendously. In fact, he might take over the points lead. That's Dennis Verdun. He's currently running in fourth. This is your leader, Jack Flannery in the Chevrolet. Chuck Brandt, that's a good shot of fifth place. Looks like he's had some contact along the way, sort of one fender hanging off there. Here is the checker flag awaiting our winner of the Class A championship. Standing room crowd gives Jack Flannery a well-deserved round of applause as he takes home the Class A championship at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championship. Second place will go to Jed. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to the winner in Victory Lane. Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Jack Flannery and his son Jed finished 1-2. Dave Hockers is going to be a big beneficiary with that third place finish. As we look on down the line, Walker Evans again in 7th place. Now, Ivan's made his way down to Victory Lane. He is there with our winner, Jack Flannery. Ivan?
Well, Jack, sometimes you start a race like this, you sit back in the starting line and you say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient and let these guys go out and take themselves out. Is that a strategy you had today?
Well, Ivan, you know, I went for the start for the first corner and I got pushed out there. Then I thought, well, I'm going to just try to hold my own ground, try to pick up a little bit. And my son, as you see from the start, was right in front of me there, and he's giving me a pretty good tussle, and I didn't want to hurt my truck getting around him, and I worked around him and just tried to keep a good, strong pace. I knew they was going to have to run hard because I didn't think I could catch him as far as big as lead as they had, but you know, this was a tough truck today, and it showed it, and that's why I'm in the winner's circle.
Well, that third place finish by Dave Hockers has vaulted him to first in the Pro Series point standings in Class 8. The team of Jack and Jamie Flannery in second place, and look at the big surprise in 8th. I don't think anybody would have expected Walker Evans to have only 18 points after 2 rounds of racing here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. And as the trucks for Class 4 action pull out into competition, tires, of course, always the key element here other than horsepower. Ivan Stewart has this week's tire tip.
From what I've seen so far today, track conditions are changing here. This track is getting faster. I'd be doing exactly what these other guys are doing. They're looking at tires. 2 to choose from, the all-terrain tire or the mud tire. I think I'd stay away from the mud tire just because there's not enough rubber on the ground. Way too much void area. I'd come to this tire, but yet I'd have a grooving iron out. I'd open it up a little bit just to get around those loose, loamy corners that we've got here. I think the guy that puts the most amount of rubber down on this particular track is going to be the winner.
Well, this is what Class 4 is all about. 4-wheel drive production pickups up to 800 cubic inches, 800 horsepower. The vehicle weight must equal 8 pounds per cubic inch. In the starting field, well, Jeff Dorr from Rockford, Illinois, at age 46. He'll be in the field along with Kevin Probst. He won heavy metal back at Lake Geneva. He'll be in the number 499 GMC. Gerald Foster, a third-place finisher at our last stop in the 314. Chad Hall from Reno, Nevada. He's in the number 411. Jack Heidman from Marquette, Michigan will be in the number 406. Also in the field, Jack Flannery jumping out of the 815 into the number 435. And as we take a look at the rest of the field pulling up into line, the in-car camera for this race will be mounted in the 435, the Chevrolet of Jack Flannery. And Jack's view is out the back, so it'll give us an idea of those people trying to chase him down. And the green flag flies, and we are underway. That's Flannery on the left side of your screen. And the yellow truck, that is Greg Gerlach as they dive for the first corner. Oh, and Gerlach gets jabbed from behind, but he manages to hold on nicely, Ivan.
It looks like Jack Flannery got a good start around the outside there, buddy.
It is Gerlach in front of Jack Flannery. Now, this is a 180-degree right-hander that these guys will be going through. The field tightly bunched at this point. There's Kevin Probst trying to battle his way up. He's in 5th place right now.
This is an interesting course in that the corners are so loamy and soft, but the straightaways are hard and fast.
On to the front straightaway for the first time in front of this capacity crowd at the Langley County Fairgrounds. Greg Gerlach. Notice a little bit of the tail end seems to be coming out on some of these trucks.
A little kick, and a big kick for Kevin Probst's truck there. I just don't like that. I'm sure he doesn't either, like that handling like that.
Out the back. Whoa, I hope you haven't eaten just now, because that's the view that you're seeing out the back of Jack Flannery's Chevrolet.
That's going through the moguls. She's
right.
Back in, bouncing through their moguls.
And then that's a left-hand turn, and he is trying to reel in that man, the 402 of Greg Gerlach. And Gerlach doing a fine job at this point. Boy, he had a dismal race back at our last stop at Lake Geneva as he finished dead last in the field. Jack Heidman gets loose and is off course. He's going to lose 2 positions.
I think he may have got a bump there, Marty.
Might have had an assist. We didn't quite see it, but back to the battle up front. Flannery diving to the inside. Does he make the pass stick? We'll find out. Yes.
No, I believe that's Kevin Probst behind him. He's still going to get by. There we go.
Oh, there he is. Oh, my. Cutting over in front of Greg Gerlach. And Gerlach tries to cut back in on the inside as we head down the front straightaway. Whoa. Fender-to-fender action at the Langley County Fairgrounds. There's your leaderboard. Stay with us. This is not over yet. And Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. You're looking out the back of Jack Flannery Chevrolet. He is coming back up onto the oval here. And a hard left-hander. Don't lose your stomach on this, but there's a few bumps coming up. Well, luckily we switched off just as he went over that one. He is in first place right now. Greg Gerlach has dropped back about 6-7 truck lengths, and he is being contested closely by Kevin Probst. Probst has moved up in a second. Oh, and he gives him a little nudge. They get inside each other. There's Flannery coming through. Oh, and Gerlach is pulling to the side of the road. So Probst is going to take over second place in the GMC.
Kevin's got one of the lightest trucks out here, Marty. We'll see how it handles these corners now. He should be able to accelerate much quicker than the other trucks.
Now that is Chad Schluter being pushed out of the way in the 302. That is Jack Flannery coming by. He is the leader.
Interesting to see if Kevin's going to be gaining now, because you know Kevin's going to be charging hard.
All right, let's set this for you. There is second place, Kevin Probst, and our winner in Class 4 action at the first round at Lake Geneva in our Pro Points Championship, Jeff Dorr, is in third. Flannery on the gas. Remember, he is the defending class champion here. In fact, mentioning Greg Gerlach, oh, he goes on the bicycle again. He did it at the last race at Lake Geneva, and it was costly.
That's what I keep talking about, these loose corners, Marty. As the race progresses along, they get looser and looser, and guys have to watch for that.
That allows Probst to reel him in just a little bit closer, and Dorr close behind Probst. Let's take another look at it.
Comes in, he just makes a nice slide here, and he just hooks a little bit on that loose soil, looks like, and that's what you got to watch for.
Boy, he makes a nice save here. Luckily, he has a big enough lead that it did not cost him the margin. Now let's take a look at it out the back. Whoops.
That's about 800 horsepower being thrown out the back of that amount of dirt you're seeing, Marty.
Down the front straightaway one more time. Here comes Kevin Probst. It looks as though Flannery has opened up the margin a little bit more.
Jeff Dorr's getting closer, Marty.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It looks like Dorr is coming on strong in the Ford. So it is Chevrolet, GMC, and Ford running 1, 2, 3. He takes it easy right here.
He does, Marty. He's just a little bit off in his hand, and he should be able to charge that a lot harder. Also, I noticed Kevin's the same way, a little timid through here. Now, Walker Evans, when we saw him, was really, really running through here.
This is the final lap of this Class 4 race. Remember, 20 points go to the winner, and smoke coming out of the cockpit of Kevin Probst's GMC.
Definitely got a problem there, Marty. Some kind of a heating problem, obviously.
That's Chad Hall going through your screen. He has lapped traffic as here comes Jack Flannery in the Chevrolet. Hard right-hander here. He's got about 2 turns to go before he'll see the checkered flag. I think he's going to take it easy and make sure that he has Chad Hall well covered before he would make any move here with just a couple of turns left.
Marty, I think the majority of these guys are also using radio, so he knows he's got a pretty good lead, and he's just taking it easy.
Here he comes down the front straightaway. Jack Flannery will take the checkered flag and win Class 4 action here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. And in second place will be Kevin Probst. As you look at the capacity crowd here at the Langlade County Fairgrounds. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winners. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships, Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. Final results are now posted. Jack Flannery and Kevin Probst finished 1-2. As we look on down through all the finishers, Jack Flannery is going to be one happy camper as a result of this victory. Ivan Stewart has made his way to victory lane. Let's hook up with him now. Ivan?
Well, Jack Flannery, we talk about this could be a weekend for you, and you make it look easy. You got by Greg Gerlach, and you just kept putting it on him, just stretching the lead out. Tell us about it.
Well, right off the start, I had a little problem with my injection system, I think, or a spark plug wire or something, Ivan, and I had to run it in a complete lower gear than I usually do. I had a good start, and Greg got ahead of me there, and I just couldn't get around him, so I was just going to wait him out, and then I could see Kevin coming up on me. But, you know, you just got to be patient, and, you know, it's a long race. You just got to hang in there and don't get out of your groove and don't make no mistakes.
No, I saw you make one mistake. Tell me about the bicycle in turn 1. I saw that one.
Well, I forgot about that one mistake. I was hoping you didn't catch that, but yeah, I did. I come in the corner a little hard, and I got my tires grooved awful to corner awful tight, and they hooked on me there, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I had to turn back out of it to bring her back down. But then we watched that corner there from then on.
Well, Jack's going to be a happy camper because he's now moved into a tie for first place in the Class 4 Pro Points Series with 34. Kevin Probst just 2 behind. Gerald Foster in 4th with 23. The big surprise on page 2, tied for 10th, Greg Gerlach, Ivan, with only 8.
Me too. I always thought he was going to be stronger than this, Marty.
Well, that's going to bring us to Class 7S action as they bring the trucks out onto the race course. And we get ready for our third of 4 races today on ESPN Speed World here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Now, Class 7S, well, it's 2-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickup. The engine is 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters, and they'll put out about 200 horsepower. The starting field, the man who won back at Lake Geneva, Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf at age 29 will be in the 705. Also in the field, Jim Wiggins in the number 786. Scott Taylor, he also drives in Class 8 and the heavy metal competition, a busy man today. He'll be in the 700. The rest of the starting field is on your screen. We should tell you, John Greaves broke a drive shaft in practice. Ivan, he will not make the starting field, and that's going to hurt him in the points.
And that is a shame because John has always been very, very strong competitor here.
As you can see, a huge field, Class 7S, 4 abreast. This is on board with Jeff Kincaid out the rear of his truck. The green flag drops. We are underway. Oh, somebody stalls on the front row, and I think that might be Kincaid. Looks like he got a horrible start.
He looked like he might have been in neutral or something there, Marty.
Well, as we head for the first corner, that is Jimmy Crowder leading the pack. Oh, and boy, it looks like Scott Taylor gets tagged, and a couple more get tagged behind him.
It's getting tight back there.
Who said this is a non-contact sport? Listen to the crowd in the background.
Jimmy Crowder's got a good lead. Actually, that worked out real good for Jimmy. He could do real well here.
Crowder has a huge lead thanks to all the slam-bang action going on behind him. I'm sure he's not even aware of what was going on back there. He's probably looking in his mirror saying, hey, fellas, where are you? All right, here's the way it sets up. That's Jimmy Crowder in first, Scott Taylor in second, Jeff Kincaid is third, Tom Hockers is currently running fourth. Down the front straightaway, they can flat-foot it through that corner.
That's right. That's a real fast corner for these guys. Down to the mogul. Interesting to see how these trucks work. I'm always interested to see how they work through these rough sections.
Well, Scott Taylor is getting ready to shoot past on the outside. Can he make it stick? He gets around Jimmy Crowder on the outside.
Great move. That was a great pass.
So Crowder gets relegated to second place, and Kincaid and Hockers are now third and fourth. That's Dave Wolf and passing Michael Burke. Let's go back to the start, Ivan. This is on board with Kincaid. He did get a lousy start.
And he gets rammed here for it also. He just gets a little smack in our camera, Marty.
Ooh, yeah, thanks, guys. Well, there goes those pictures for the rest of the day. Let's take another look, see what happens. Yeah, there's the contact with Kincaid. And Wiggins, Jim Wiggins, right in the front of your screen there, stops dead at the starting line. He was fifth in the points coming in. Oh, he's going to be sick.
Oh, that's a real shame because he is, again, is another top competitor.
Well, there is your leader, Scott Taylor, coming down the front straightaway. Second place is Jimmy Crowder. And then we can tell you Tom Hockers, while we're taking a look at Jim Wiggins, has gotten around Jeff Kincaid. Hockers in third. Kincaid looks like he's smoking.
Oh, yeah. He's got some kind of a, maybe an oil leak. Possibly he can continue on.
Well, Jimmy Crowder is now coming under attack in second position from Hockers and Kincaid. It's Hockers on the left, Crowder on the right. Crowder's going to hold the position through this corner. And, oh, the smoke is really starting to pour out of Kincaid's truck.
He's definitely got a big problem. Interesting to see the two different lines, because you noticed that Jimmy Crowder had a different line. It's a little bit slower the way he went.
The action still nose to tail between those three for second, third, and fourth place. Kincaid doing all he can to stay on the tail and get past Tom Hockers. Well, there's part of the capacity crowd here at Langlade County Fairgrounds at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. We've got to get out of here for a few minutes. There's your leaders. Stay with us. You can't find a seat in the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. We are in Class 7S action. And that is Jeff Kincaid currently running third as he passes Jimmy Crowder. Crowder slowing down, and Crowder pulling off to the side of the road, so Jimmy's race appears to be over.
All the way from Tallahassee, Florida. That's a shame.
Ooh, some damage on our leader, Scott Taylor, is fourth. Then here is second place, Tom Hockers. Third is Kincaid. He is still smoking, not as badly as he was just a little while ago.
I think it must be just an oil leak on the head or something, Marty. I think he's right.
Well, there's Joe Dunlop. He was running back in the pack a little bit, and obviously he's got a mechanical malfunction. It's going to park him for the afternoon. Back to the lead pack. Whoa, look at Kincaid, top of your screen. Just for a moment there, you saw him pull off. So Kincaid is now out of this race as well. And Scott Taylor seems to be slowing down. Tom Hockers, nope, just must be that corner. There is Kincaid, helmet off. The points leader coming into this race, now out of this race, and that is, again, costly. Boy, the points are really going to shake up after this contest.
Well, they really are, Marty.
Here is Tom Hockers. No, that's Jimmy Bradley, and what a surprise. Bradley moving his way up through the field. He is now passing Alan Walentowski. That's for third place. Whoa! Our leader, Scott Taylor, gets very wide and runs over one of the horse marker barrels.
I don't know why he'd do something like that. He's got a pretty good lead here. Maybe he doesn't know. It could be his radio's not working or something.
Well, there is Tom Hockers. Hockers is saying, hey, do that a couple more times and I'll have the lead.
That's right.
Well, what's that hanging down? Is that the pipe?
I think it's just I saw that earlier, and I think it's just the muffler hanging down, Marty.
All right, so nothing. Oh, no. Tom Hockers is pulled over by the side of the road. So now second place has dropped out. This is becoming quickly a race of attrition, as now Jim Bradley moves into second place as he works his way down on the far end of the race course. I don't know if he can catch Scott Taylor, but the way things are going, he might inherit the position.
Scott Taylor's got a big lead, Marty. It's going to be too tough for anybody to catch him.
Well, Bradley, as the white flag comes out for our leader, there is Scott Taylor. All he has to do is maneuver one more lap around. This is Robert Chastain in the 717 passing Jim Moskalik. That is now for third place on the race course. Whoa, what is our leader doing, Ivan?
I know he's making lots of drivers, Marty. I hope he's got some kind of a braking problem, because he shouldn't be doing that at all.
Oh, wow. Scott Taylor loops it with a huge lead. Let's take another look, see if you can pick it out.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Looks like he just got a little hot in the corner, a little slick, a lot of front brake. That's the reason he lost that, Ronnie, right there. See the front brake? We had way too much front brake in that truck.
The front wheels locked up for sure as he went around. Here comes our leader, despite the spin. One more turn here down the front straightaway, and Scott Taylor will stare straight into the checkered flag and win the Class 7S Championship here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. A hard-fought race of attrition. Look at the damage on this thing as, yeah, the crowd's into this. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner right after this. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. The final results in Class 7S. Last year, Scott Taylor couldn't even find the leaderboard. This time, he's on top of it. As we move on down through, Jimmy Crowder finishing in 10th after that early start and leading up front. Jeff Kincaid, also our winner, back at round number 1 at Lake Geneva, but now in 11th. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Scott, we didn't have the best of luck in Lake Geneva, but when we come out here, this thing looked like it's on rails. Tell us about it.
Well, we finally got the Jack Roush engine in it, Ivan, and it seems to be running real good. We had a clutch problem over at Lake Geneva in the mud and the rain and all that. You know how that went. So went home, did a little homework. We got our good motor in it now, and that's where we've been having our failures in the past. So with you know, some cooperation out of Jack and Ford Motor Company and Goodrich, it's making it all possible once again.
Well, take a look at the point standings. The DNF for Scott Taylor in round number 1. Here in the second round, he is now in a tie for third with Michael Burke and Jeff Kincaid. As you look on down through the list, John Greaves not making it to the starting line hurts him badly. He is now tied for 8th with Jim Bradley with 16 points. Time now to get ready for highlight action of Class 910. We can't show you all the activity that goes on, but this is one of the most competitive, fast buggy classes in the sport. It is an unlimited buggy group. Co-riders are optional. Maximum 1,650 cc power plant and 150 horsepower, but these vehicles are so light in weight that they fly. Watch what happens here on the start. The number 902 of Art Schmidt will take the early lead, and as they come through the second turn, watch this, they look like they are on rails. Everybody getting a good side bite through that corner. Then Schmidt leads, followed by the 912 of Jeff St. Peter as Art tries to open up a little bit of room and does. The third place vehicle at this point is Jeff Probst in the 099. Fourth place, a smoking Todd Attic. Art Schmidt, though, would stay in first place, holding off second place Jeff St. Peter and third place Jeff Probst. It never really looked like he was going to get challenged, except maybe one time during the entire race. These guys fishtailing their way through the corners. This is Tom Schwartzberg in the 903 battling Chris Hainlin. Up into the other turn, watch what happens. Hainlin ends up climbing right up and over and almost creating a problem for both, but they get away with no damage done. The last lap, Art Schmidt still in the lead, but Probst sets up to pass second place Jeff St. Peter. He looks to the inside. The lap traffic is now Tom Schwartzberg. Art Schmidt in the 902 gets by, but watch what happens. Probst tries to duck down on the inside, but St. Peter closes the door. The number 99 not able to make any of the passes stick as he made all his moves, but Jeff Probst would finish third, Jeff St. Peter would finish second, and Art Schmidt would make a big jump in the points as he came down the front straightaway the final time to win the Class 910 championship. They're second and third just that quickly. So let's take a look at the final results at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Class 9-10. Behind Schmidt, St. Peter, and Probst, Todd Addig was able to come home a smoking 4th. Trent Hansen was in 5th. Tom Schwartzberg finished 6th. Chris Hainlin, as those two got together, in 7th. Dan Badeau, 8th. Brian Bernlohr and Randy Eller. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Well, the one time towards the end there, I took a sneak look back there. I don't like to do that, but I seen Jeff back there and then Jeff Probst back there. But on that last lap, you want to make sure you're super clean and super tight so they don't make a move on you. So I was trying to just pace myself.
Well, Jeff St. Peter, with his 1st and 2nd place finishes, is at the top of the leaderboard in the Pro Series in Class 9-10. He leads Art Schmidt by 6. Tom Schwartzberg is 3rd with 21. Now, the big surprise here, Jeff Probst in 9th place with only 14 points after 2 rounds of racing. He's going to have to get on the gas to get back into the championship race. We're getting ready for the big showdown. That is Jack Flannery's right thumb you saw in the thumbs-up signal, as we are getting ready for the Heavy Metal Championship, and this is the requirements. 2 or 4-wheel drive production pickups. They must conform to their class rules, and they must have competed in their class race today. Here's the starting lineup. Jack Flannery will climb behind the 4-wheel drive, number 435 Chevrolet. Walker Evans will be in the 817 Dodge. And then also in the starting field, Scott Taylor. He'll be in the Ford contingent. We've got everybody, the big 3, represented here. In the GMC, it'll be Kevin Probst, the number 499. Then Jed Flannery, that's Jack's 21-year-old son. He'll be in the 2-wheel drive, number 812. The 400, Jeff Dorr. He will be out there in a Ford. Then Greg Gerlach in the number 402, also out there from Dakota, Minnesota. And Chad Hall from Reno, Nevada will be in the 4-wheel drive, number 411. And here is the rest of the starting field, a huge field. Gerald Foster, Bill Loeb, Ken Kincaid, everyone there. Bob Bemmels, Dave Hockers. This is for bragging rights only. This does not go towards the points championship. This is a showdown between all of these competitors. And Ivan, what a field. And we've got 4 in-car cameras. This is a new look for us, folks. This is a suspension camera mounted up underneath in Scott Taylor's Class 8 truck. Out the rear of Scott Taylor's Class 8 truck as well. Then there is Walker Evans inside of his Dodge, and then there is Jack Flannery out the front of his Chevrolet. On board with Flannery as the green flag drops, Ivan, and as they head for the first turn, Flannery got a good jump.
He got a great jump on Bill Loeb there. He got the outside of it.
Now can they make it stick? He's on the outside here. Whoop, Loaf, and they make contact. He goes around one barrel. Will he be able to save it? Ooh, there goes one of the course markers, and Flannery's about 5th. Now Loaf has the lead as they come down into this corner. There's some contact. There's Probst. Oh, Probst gets into Loaf, and Loaf goes up and over. And he's on the gas, and Loaf slams into the quarter panel of Jack Flannery, and now they're hooked up. These two are hooked, and Loaf trying to get untangled, and this is going to be costly to both racers.
That's a shame to get tied up like that. They are hung up tight now. They aren't going to get loose, I'll tell you, Marty.
It looks like Kevin Probst comes out the big winner in this with Walker Evans in 2nd. Now, as you see the rest of this huge field, let's take a look at it, see if we can pick out what happens. It looks like Kevin gets into Bill Loaf there.
Well, he got upside down, and then he didn't even get out of the throttle. He just kind of stood on it, run right into the side of Jack Flannery.
Did you notice the wheel spin? He had his foot in the gas while he's going up and over. Now, here is what happens from Flannery's perspective. Boom.
Boom. You're right.
And from this point, he's just along for the ride trying to get unhooked.
That's where they need that pail of water again, Marty.
Now, let's take another look at it. Up and over. Looks more like just, it wasn't so much Probst, he just caught a rut. But look at this. He's got the gas, and he's going straight ahead. Yeah,
actually, that's really wasn't a good thing to do because he had nowhere to go. He wasn't even, he was just driving inside of whoever was there.
All right, here we are on board with Walker. See if he almost got collected in this mess as well. He's coming around, and look at that. Oh, there is Flannery getting tagged right in front of him.
It worked out perfect for Walker, rather. He just got right by it. That was great.
Well, there is Jack Flannery. He is out of this race, not a happy camper. And here comes Bill Loaf over to talk to him. There is Kevin Probst now. Let's get back to the racing action, bring you up to date on what's happened. 2nd place there is Walker Evans. Oh, no, and Walker gets it around on the rear end.
Exact same spot he lost it before, Marty. He got a little bit too much front brake or something. He goes a little bit too hard there.
That was Dave Hockers in 3rd, back on board with Walker Evans. Hard right-hander here. He's got a long way to go now to catch Probst.
Yeah, Kevin's got the four-wheel drive, and as long as the track is wet like this, Kevin's going to have an advantage. But when it dries out, I think that you might see Walker making a charge.
Well, notice that it's gotten a little cloudy here. The clouds starting to roll. Remember what they told us, there was about a 40% chance of rain. There is Scott Taylor. He is in 8th place after getting all tangled up in the beginning of the race, getting tied up in that big melee.
You can see the fender damage there. And there's that great shot of the suspension.
All right, take us through this. Now, this is something that we've never been able to, you can tell when he just went over the jump there. Look at the way this works.
There's probably in the neighborhood of 20, 24 inches of wheel travel there, and you can see working the steering wheel. That's just a beautiful shot of the suspension and how much abuse this stuff takes.
Well, take a look at that. We'll show you that more often throughout this race. In fact, as long as Scott Taylor continues to run, that's a great shot. Stay with us. We'll be back with the finish of the Heavy Metal Championship at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Oh, hold on to your seat. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. There is your leader, the 499 of Kevin Probst. Second place, Walker Evans, and Walker's got the hammer down. He's closing, Ivan.
He said he was serious, and he is. He's on the throttle today, Marty.
Clouds rolling in. It looks as though we may be lucky enough to get this race in without any rain. Inside with Walker Evans. Now he is working the interior portion of this track, and he now can see, and we can see through the in-car camera, Kevin Probst dead ahead, and it looks like he's passing him.
It looks like he just got by him. Kevin may be having a problem. He's by him, Marty.
Probst has to have a problem. In fact, he has stopped on the course. Yes, look at this. Look at the margin Walker Evans has opened up as Kevin Probst is now on the sidelines through that last corner, and Walker now in control of his own destiny. Dave Hawkers, 3rd place. Right behind him is 4th, and that is Scott Taylor. This is out the rear of Scott Taylor's Class H Ford. As you get a great view, we're down low, right above ground level.
Again, that's 800 horsepower plus, throwing the dirt back in that rooster tail. You see it. That's a great shot, Marty.
Boy, he just passes Hawkers there, so now that moves him up into 3rd position. Boy, he's leaving Hawkers in the dust.
He got a lousy start. There's a great suspension angle again. That's a front suspension going over the jump. You can see when it smooths out, he's in the air.
Rhythm section. Look at it. Ooh, up, down, up, down. Oh. Look at the punishment. Great turning radius there. Now, here's the battle for 4th. That's Hawkers, Bemmels, and Pete Vanderhay and Chad Hall. So this thing is really shaping up here for a battle further back in position as Walker Evans continues to lead. That is Jeff Dorr in 2nd place, closing down on Walker Evans. Now, this is your classic 2-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive showdown.
Jeff Dorr does a great job. His truck works good. He's got a lot of horsepower. He gets it to the ground. And again, 4-wheel drive, Marty. It pays off in this type of terrain.
Hawkers, Bemmels, Vanderhay. That's the way they... Oh, and it looks like Vanderhay gets into Bemmels.
Gives him a little nudge there, so get going.
Here down the front straightaway one more time. Walker Evans trying to hold on to the lead as Jeff Dorr is trying to put the pressure on.
Marty, one of the things Walker Evans has got, the truck that just handles beautifully. You never see the truck kick in the back. He very seldom makes mistakes with it, and it's just a fantastic drive.
Speaking of mistakes, did you see Dorr? He took out one of the barrels on the right side, trying to shave off as much of the rough stuff as possible. It doesn't seem to have slowed him down, though. Oh, no! Jeff Dorr takes it all the way over.
Oh, no, that's too bad. He was doing so well there.
Jeff Dorr climbing out of his Ford after putting on as much pressure as he could. Take a look at it again, Ivan.
Again, it looks like he just caught the berm. We keep talking about these soft soil and these sharp corners, and that's looked to me like he just caught a berm. A little too much speed, gets it up on 2 wheels. Not enough time to save it. Woof. He tried. He's trying to turn it into it, but too late.
That's the end of the day for then 2nd place Jeff Dorr. Now that means Scott Taylor will move up into 2nd place, so it's the 2 Class 8 trucks that are ending up at the top of the field, and there's the difference between 1st and 2nd. Walker Evans has this race covered. All he has to do is manipulate the track one more time around.
I think, again, because the track is dried out, that's why we're seeing the Class 8s opposed to the 4-wheel drive doing so well.
Boy, that is a great shot. The first time we've ever been able to mount a camera up in there. Before, they would have been destroyed, but the technology is getting better and better and allowing us to bring you more of the action that really counts in off-road racing. That's Bob Bemmels. He is currently running in 3rd. Jamie is passing Dave Hawkers. That's Jamie Flannery for 4th position. So Flannery now in the 815. That's the Class 8 truck, the 2-wheel drive. getting around Hockers. Jeff Dorr gets the truck back over, so he's back into the cockpit as we see Walker Evans coming around. So he got back in and is bringing it on home. Now this is Walker Evans, just a couple of more turns to negotiate, and he will win this race. Now, whoa, another fender coming off of Jeff Dorr's vehicle. You notice Walker avoids that, does not want to take a chance of cutting a tire at this stage of the race. And there is Jamie Flannery pulling the Chevrolet, the number 815, back behind the wall. So he will not finish the Heavy Metal Championship. Here comes Walker Evans down from the front straightaway for the final time. And he wins, taking the checkered flag here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championship. Walker Evans, your winner in heavy metal competition. There, the standing room crowd, as we will be back to talk to our winner at Antigo, Wisconsin after this. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships, the final results in the heavy metal showdown. Walker Evans said he was going to come out loaded for bear. He did. He beat Scott Taylor and the rest of the field as we look down through the final results as Ivan Stewart makes his way towards victory lane. I guarantee you it'll be a very happy Walker Evans in victory circle. Ivan is there, and so is Walker. Let's go to victory lane.
Walker, we talked earlier in the day. You said you didn't come all the way out from California to get a second here. Yeah, a little bit of trouble in that first Class 8 race. You put it together, and by God, you were on a mission this race. I'll tell you, nobody was going to beat Walker Evans here.
You're right, I did have a little bit of problem, but I'll tell you what, I came out hell-bent for election, and everything on this big Dodge just stayed together, and that's what you see when it comes all together. It really works.
There was a point in the race earlier when Jeff Dorr was closing a little bit. He was getting close. Were you aware of him?
I certainly was. Even my crew called me and says, look over your left shoulder, as I was going around a corner, and there he was, all red. So I had to stand on it. I really did. I had my job cut out for me, and a couple of them, even Scotty Taylor, I had to watch him, too.
Well, a great day of racing at Antigo, Wisconsin. A reminder, we've got more racing action coming your way on the SOTA World Series of Off-Road Racing. It'll be August 3rd, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That is August 2nd at 9:30 p.m. Pacific for the True Value Spring Run. Ivan, final comments?
Well, I'm kind of amazed the way the points championship battle's going here, Marty. Even though Walker Evans, for one, is doing well, winning these heavy metal challenges, they're just for bragging rights. He's going to have to get on the throttle if he's going to get at his points race. We're a third of the way through. If he wants the championship, he better get with it.
That's going to do it for us from Antigo, Wisconsin at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championship. It's time to go off-road racing. The points championships are close. Jeff Dorr and Jack Flannery tied in Class 4. Dave Hockers leads in Class 8. And in 7S, Robert Chastain and Paul Corning are on top.
Welcome to Crandon,
where anything can happen and usually does. Next. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Crandon, Wisconsin. We're here today for the True Value Spring Run. It's all part of the SOTA World Series of Off-Road Racing. Hello again, everyone. Temperatures are on the cool side. The winds are gusting as high as 40 miles an hour today, but it hasn't dawned on this crowd here at Crandon, Wisconsin, as we're ready for a great day of off-road racing. Now, as we take a look at the Class 8 points, Dave Hockers is on top of Jack and Jamie Flannery and Scott Taylor by 3, but look at 8th place. The biggest surprise, Walker Evans, with only 18 points after 2 rounds of racing. This event in Crandon is so important to Walker that last night he was racing in Rice Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah, in the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix in the Grand National Sport Trucks. As soon as that event was over, he jumped on a jet and flew all night to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, arriving at 3:15 in the morning.
You're supposed to say, welcome to Rhinelander, right?
Well, he may have appeared bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but he didn't get much sleep, and neither did his crew. At 9 a.m., they were at work on the truck that he would be running in Class 8 and in heavy metal.
Well, I'm definitely ready to go racing, but we've really, I would say, an honest 2 to 2.5 hours of sleep. I imagine between the Class 8 and the heavy metal race, you'll probably find me laying down in the back of the sleeper in the tractor, but I'm ready, you bet.
All right, now let's focus our attention on Class 7S, where Paul Corning and Robert Chastain have a 1-point lead over Alan Walentowski. But the big surprise in this class, the man who finished second in the points last year, John Greaves, is tied for 8th. Working with me on the broadcast is Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. He's back in the pits with John Greaves. Ivan?
Thanks, Marty. John Greaves just had a disastrous day at Antigo. During a practice, the drive shaft broke, came up, hit the fuel cell, wasn't able to start the race, put him way back in the points. Johnny, you're in 8th place points. What are you going to do to get back in this points race?
Well, you know, we had some real problems at Antigo, and I think we got them straightened out, and we came to Crandon here with some new guns. We got a new motor, and we're ready. We're going to win this race. You know, I'm fired up. I got a point to prove. I came off last year second behind Spencer, and I know I can win, so we're going to go out here and we're going to win this race.
Well, I tell you, watching this guy and his driving style, believe me, I think he can still win this championship.
Well, thanks, Ivan. And you can see by looking at the flags, the wind is brisk, up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 65% chance of rain, and the temperature may be 65 degrees, but with that wind, it is a bit on the cool side. Now, let's take a look at this layout, Ivan.
Marty, this is one of the fastest tracks that we run on. It's a long track, 2 miles long. The Oklahoma Land Rush start. You've got to get down to turn 1 quick and efficient, get around there, otherwise you're going to go into Parsons Pond. Elevation changes, only 280-degree corners. It looks like a great track, though, Marty.
Well, you can see everybody's ready for the racing action. Got the coats on. As we said, it's a little breezy. Now let's take a look at Class 8. It's 2-wheel drive production pickups up to 800 cubic inches, 850 horsepower, and you must weigh 3,700 pounds. The starting field, Dave Hockers from De Pere, Wisconsin. He is the current points leader. You'll see him in the number 802. Also, Jack Flannery. He's second in the points. 40 years old from hometown Crandon. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He'll be in the number 800 Ford. Then Jimmy Crowder, number 837, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida, and age 58 still, giving all the young kids a run for their money. Jed Flannery, yes, that is Jack's son. He'll be in the 812. Walker Evans, this is a must-win situation. He has to finish strong here to get back into the points. The rest of the starting field, Chuck Brand, Dan Vanden Heuvel, Brian Donlevy, and John Conitzer. The green flag will drop and we'll be ready. On board, that is Scott Taylor, the view out the front of his BF Goodrich Ford, and we've also got an in-car camera with Walker Evans, and the green flag is down and we're underway. And again, that first turn's so critical, Ivan.
It is, Marty. It looks like Walker Evans has woke up this morning. He's heading for that first corner. Looks like he might get there first.
Now remember, 2 hours of sleep, and this is what you get as a bonus. Through turn 1, it is Walker Evans, Jack Flannery in second place, and then where is Scott Taylor? All the way back and forth.
Scott got a bad start, it looks like, Marty. You know, Scott has had a handling problem. If you watch his truck, it just doesn't fly like it should be, and I'm sure that's hurting him when it starts and over these jumps.
Little vibration as we're on board with Scott. He is right behind points leader Dave Hockers. Now, you're going to see, you get a mouthful of mud here as you come down into the gravel pit. This is one of those 2 180-degree turns that you talked about, Ivan. Boy, Walker Evans opening up a quick lead. There is Jack Flannery in second.
Walker just really accelerates out of those corners. And that's where it's at, Marty. You've got to come out of these corners, these long straightaways, get some horsepower down that long track.
Dan Vanden Heuvel in third place. Back on board. That's Scott Taylor right behind points leader Dave Hockers. And he can't get around Hockers.
Well, it's tough, Marty. These and if you can see how slippery it is, too, and Dave's all over the track. So it's when you get a bad start like that, it's going to hurt him down, and Walker's getting away from him.
He is trying to get around Hockers and not being able to do it. Hockers has the points lead after finishing second in the first race of the year at Lake Geneva and third at our last stop at Antigo.
It looks like he just made his mistake right there, and there goes Scott Taylor.
So now Taylor has to get on the horses and try and catch Walker Evans, Jack Flannery, and Dan Vanden Heuvel. And boy, look at the different race lines.
2 different lines, Marty. Jack has come way off to the left-hand side of the track, right through the water, to see what pays off for him.
Boy, it looks like he got a little sideways there. He holds on to second place, but Walker Evans with a good lead, at least 10 truck lengths. Here comes Scott Taylor. He is closing on Vanden Heuvel. Vanden Heuvel gets a little wide coming into turn 2. That will allow Taylor to close up.
Yeah, now just keep an eye on Scott Taylor's truck. It's just not handled. I know they've been working on that truck, and that's going to hurt him a lot. It's too bad because normally Scott's right up in the front with these guys.
Oh, Taylor's in trouble. We're on board as Taylor is off course. He's still under power, but something. Oh, look at the right front suspension.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely shredded. Take a look from the outside.
He clips, looks like he gets wide here. I keep talking about that truck's handling. He gets out wide, and yeah, he hit that big berm right there. It's about a 2-foot high berm there, Marty.
Boy, and the whole right side of the suspension comes flying off, and he gets it off course safely, but his race is over. as Walker Evans continues to lead. So Scott Taylor, who was tied for second in the points in Class 8, is going to lose a lot of ground in this race as a result of dropping out early. Back on board with Walker. Boy, that is a clean view.
That is a beautiful view. That's the most beautiful handling truck I've ever seen, Marty. They just still get better than that truck right there.
We're at the True Value Spring Run. Stay with us. Class 8 action's going to continue right after this. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run in Crandon, Wisconsin. There is your leader, Walker Evans. Second place, Jack Flannery. It is Dodge versus Chevy, and is Flannery closing? It looks like it.
I believe he is, Marty. I think Jack's running out of time. He's really getting on the gas pedal.
Flannery working his way up and over through turn 2. And yes, he is closing. Ivan, that was the top of Walker Evans' Dodge. Now the question is Evans in trouble, or is Flannery just reeling him in under horsepower?
I think Walker's in trouble. He's missed the groove. He's got a problem, Marty. No doubt about it.
He is slowing down and pulling to the side of the course, and there goes Flannery from the in-car view, blowing past Walker Evans.
Walker's obviously sees a problem or feels something, a vibration. Maybe he has a heating problem. We can't quite see the gauges there, but there's obviously something wrong.
So now the race that Walker Evans so desperately needed to do well is in jeopardy. Will that overnight flight be for naught? Jack Flannery has taken control in Class 8 as he heads down through, and gets it up on 2 wheels, gets through the turn though and makes the recovery. Now here comes Walker Evans. Let's listen. Well, he's nursing that truck.
He is. He must have some kind of, the motor sounds good, Marty. It must be kind of a heating problem. He's seeing some kind of feeling of vibration possibly, but the motor actually sounded good.
All right, there is Dave Hockers, followed by Jimmy Crowder and Jed Flannery. That is 4th, 5th, and 6th on the race course. Hockers gets a little wide and gets it up on 2 wheels for a bit, allows Jimmy Crowder to reel him in. Here is your leader. That is Jack Flannery, and Walker Evans in jeopardy of being passed by Dan Vanderhoevel.
Yeah, he's definitely got a problem. Boy, look at that truck run right there. Maybe he's getting something cleaned out. He might come back here yet, Marty.
So the 31-year-old Vandenhoevel takes the corner away from the 54-year-old veteran, as now Evans drops to 3rd place, and for every position he drops, that's precious, precious points.
That's a shame, Marty. He's come all this distance. He needs the points in the worst way, and to have this kind of problem, it's just too bad.
Well, now he is fighting back. He's staying on Dan Vandenhoevel's back doorstep and looks to the inside as they head down the straightaway towards the gravel pit. He's got 2nd place again. Now, meanwhile, this is the battle for 4th. That's Jimmy Crowder on the right, Dave Hockers on the left. Whoa, and they get close to touching. Crowder has the inside line and will take the position as they come up over through turn 2.
That's great racing, Marty. This is one of the best courses we've ever seen. I just love to run on this track. This is a great track.
Well, Hockers has the points championship lead right now because of his consistent finishes, but now he is in 4th place. There was Jack Flannery flashing through as we are now on the final lap. Walker Evans and Dan Vandenhoevel, and Vandenhoevel looks to be smoking.
It looked like it was smoking a little bit there, Marty.
And here's another smoker. This is John Conitzer. He has got a problem in the 855 Chevrolet. Meanwhile, back up front, Jack Flannery having no problems. He's in total control of this Class 8 championship race.
Hometown, this is, here we got Dan broken down right here.
Vandenhoevel obviously did have a problem. He is out of this race, and that's going to hurt him in the points championship. A couple more turns for Jack Flannery, and he will win again here at Crandon. This is his home track. It's like he owns the place. This is the battle for 4th place. Jed Flannery, Jack's son, has gotten around Dave Hockers. So Hockers has now been bumped to 5th. This will definitely shake up the points championship in Class 8. Jack Flannery is going to take the points lead with this victory. He's got 1 turn to negotiate before he looks square at the checkered flag here in front of the home folks. And there it is, the win for Jack Flannery at the True Value Spring Run. Class 8, Walker Evans is going to finish 2nd, and Jimmy Crowder will finish 3rd in a great race for Jack Flannery and the Chevrolet. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner here in Crandon, Wisconsin.
Let's look at the final results here in the Class 8 True Value Spring Run. Jack Flannery wins the race. Walker Evans gets us 2nd place. 16 points. He could have used those 20 points had he won. At least he salvaged a 2nd. The guy that really got hurt, Dan Vandenhoevel, had a great race going. He ends up in 8th place. And now let's go to Victory Lane with Marty Reed.
With me now, Class 8 champion Jack Flannery, alongside with son Jamie, who was riding in the co-driver's seat. And you tell me that you almost didn't make the start?
Yeah, Marty, we got just to the, I went out and done the pre-run there, and on about the third lap of the pre-run, we had, we thought it was either a tail shaft, a transmission go out, or a ring and pinion, or a broken axle. We couldn't tell what, so we babied it back into the pits, and my crew got it, we just pulled up to the starting line, and we wasn't there a couple minutes, and they took off. We sent word down that we're having trouble. We might be a little late, but we made her on time, and I'll tell you, it was just a heck of an effort by my crew and my son and all of us to get this thing on the starting line.
Well, Jack, as we take a look at the points, you'll be happy to know you're on top now by 6 over Dave Hockers. And look at Walker Evans. He's jumped from 8th into a tie for 4th with Jimmy Crowder with 34. And Dan Vandenheuvel did suffer a lot. He's now 9th in the points with 24 after finishing 8th in this Class 8 race. Well, as we're getting ready for Class 4 action, you know, tires play a key role here, Crandon, especially with rocks. Here's Ivan Stewart.
Look at the size of this rock. This is the kind of rock that I would be worried about here at Crandon, believe me. That thing would really hurt if it hit you upside the head or take a radiator out, plus they give you a flat tire. But the only thing you can do with a rock like that, try and drive around it. That rock will give just about anybody's tire a flat. The tire choice seems to be the mud terrain. The reason the guys are choosing this particular tire is because of these loose, tight corners. They want to get drive out of the corners. If it were me, I would be doing what the guys in the background are doing, taking even more rubber out to give me even more bite, more drive out of those corners. We know we got to have horsepower here at Crandon, but if you don't get that horsepower to the ground, you're not going to win any of these races, believe me.
Well, let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings in Class 4. Right now, it is a deadlock between Jeff Dorr and Jack Flannery, and tire selection, of course, will play a key role. Looking on down through the top 10, the biggest surprise here probably Greg Gerlach, tied for 10th with Linda Lou Schlamm with only 8 points. It has been a long early season for Greg. What is Class 4 all about? Four-wheel drive production pickups. The engine's up to 800 cubic inches, 800 horsepower. The vehicle weight must equal 8 pounds per cubic inch. Let's set the Chevrolet starting field for you. Defending SOTA champion Jeff Dorr from Rockford, Illinois will be in the number 400. Jack Flannery puts the 8 on the shelf and brings out the Class 4, number 435. Kevin Probst, number 499 from New Lenox, Illinois. Linda Lou Schlamm from Ontario, Canada. She makes the cross over the border. Will be racing in the number 403. Chad Hall, you saw his onboard camera. He'll be in the number 411. He's from Reno, Nevada. And Greg Gerlach from Dakota, Minnesota in the number 402. Rest of the starting field, Gerald Foster, Mike Savage, Bill Loaf, and Mark Seidler. And again, as we look on down through the rest of the field, Ivan, the start, critical.
So critical, Marty. If you fall behind here, you're going to get rocks. Those rocks we were talking about, mud's going to get in the radar. You've got to get down the straightaway and get around that corner first if you're going to win this race.
Well, that was the view on board with Chad Hall. The green flag drops, and watch the mad dash for turn number 1. This is a drag race, pure horsepower, plain and simple.
Interesting. Look how dusty it is. This is something we don't typically see here at Crandon.
Kevin Probst takes the early lead through turn 1. Oh, almost hooks a tire. That is Jack Flannery in second, Jeff Dorr in third. Heading towards turn number 2, Flannery on the outside. He gets around Probst to take the lead.
Look at the horsepower Jack has got. He has got the big motor today, Marty.
All right, now we talked about tires. Who, in your opinion, is hooking up real well in these first 3-4 cars?
Well, you're just watching Jack Flannery. He's got horsepower. He's got the right tire combination. I'll tell you what, Kevin Probst has really been working with this truck. I look for him to do a lot, and he's been also doing a lot of tire work.
Watch as they come over the jumps. You can get an idea of suspension. Both of them settled pretty well. It looked as though Probst landed a little harder. A little bit.
He doesn't quite fly as well. Remember, his engine sits behind him. He's got a mid-engine vehicle here.
Jack Flannery trying to open up the lead and doing so. As this course has dried out a little bit between our Class 8 and Class 4 race, he has got about a 4 truck length lead. The advantage of driving Class 8 and then coming back for the Class 4 race got to be in Flannery's favor.
Well, it really is, Marty. He knows where the track is slick, where the big ditches are getting washed out, where the loose corners are. He's got an advantage, no doubt about that.
On board with Chad Hall. Bill Loaf right in front of him. He is in 6th place. Chad Hall in 7th. So Hall still trying to figure out this short course racing after doing a series of desert races with his father, Rod Hall. Down the front straightaway one more time. That outside line, Flannery. Oh, and look at how tail high Probst gets.
That is really uncomfortable. He got a handling problem. He's still got to get that worked out.
Let's look at Chad Hall's line compared to some of these others.
Well, Marty, also listen to the engine. Chad has got to get more horsepower. He just doesn't have the engine, these guys. Jack Flannery's got much more power.
He's also out of the throttle. You can't take it out of the throttle. You've got to go through this corner flat out.
Absolutely, absolutely. The only way to be competitive back here is to really, really get on the throttle. It's a fast, fast track. Look at Jack Flannery.
Oof, got a little high there. He is running a very high line. Now, is that lack of side bite, or is he just overpowering the racetrack?
Well, I would say he just carried too much speed right there, because he definitely, this is his hometown. He knows the track. He knows the condition. Just carrying a little bit too much speed in that corner.
Kevin Probst reeled him in heading into the gravel pit, but look at the horsepower difference coming out. He gets off the corners much quicker than Probst. This is a battle for ninth. That's Gerald Foster in front of Todd Flannery. They're heading for the gravel pit, and they come together. They touch, but no serious damage. Can Foster hold on to the position? Yes. On board again with Chad Hall. That's Bill Loaf in front of him. This is still the battle for sixth. Loaf a little loose, but Chad Hall just does not seem to have the horsepower. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have the conclusion of the Class 4 race at the True Value Spring Run. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. There is your leader, Jack Flannery. Kevin Probst is second. Jeff Dorr is in third. Now, how did Flannery get this points lead? Well, he finished third in our first race at Lake Geneva, but won at our last stop at Antigo. Jeff Dorr switched those positions, winning at Lake Geneva, finishing third at Antigo, and that is why we are tied for the points championship. Now, this is fourth place right now on the racetrack. That is Ken Kincaid in the 434. On board again now with Chad Hall. Chad still not able to crack into the top five. He is working his way up, though slowly.
You can just hear the engine doesn't sing. It doesn't scream like Jack Flannery, Walker, Evans truck. It just got a real dull tone to it. It needs a little more cam or something, Marty. He's just off on the car.
Well, this motor is roaring. Look at the lead that Jack Flannery has opened up. Now, that is lap traffic in front of Kevin Probst. Probst is dealing with Linda Lou Schlamm. He is around her and in hot pursuit of Flannery, but boy, I'll tell you what, he is long gone.
Jack is really, really running. Again, this is his track. He practices here. Jeff Dorr is closing on Kevin Probst.
Oh, look out. That is Bill Loaf into Bob Bemmels. Bemmels, and a lot of damage on the side of that vehicle. Contact between those two.
Bemmel has had a hard day, Marty. I'll tell you what.
And this race isn't over yet. Here comes Flannery as he is trying to get around lap traffic.
Yeah, Kevin is falling way back. Look how much he's back there a long straightaway.
In fact, he's got Jeff Dorr banging on his back doorstep, because this is a pass for position, folks. That's second in front of third place. It could be switching. Dorr to the inside, and yes, big smoke coming up from the 499 of Kevin Probst, and he is slowing down. He is pulling off the race course, and Kevin Probst's day is done.
Oh, that truck has been so competitive. They're having teething problems with it. Obviously got another major problem.
Last lap now for Jack Flannery. He's going to take the points lead. Jeff Dorr, currently in second, will fall 4 points behind as you see Kevin Probst, a frustrated man, out of this race. And there is the new fourth place position. That is Tom Farrow taking over as he goes past the broken vehicle of Kevin Probst. There is Bill Loaf, and Bob Bemmels is pulling off the course as well. So Bemmels, after being pummeled, is out of this race and off to the side, out of harm's way. Here comes Jack Flannery. Last time around, he will be making it 2 for 2 today. Can he make it a clean sweep? Remember, he'll be coming back for the Heavy Metal Championship later in the broadcast. Through turn 2, and he is backing out of the throttle, taking it a little bit easier.
Yeah, he is, Marty. He knows he's got a big lead. Let's get the checker flag down.
Well, Jeff Dorr is closing, so he's obviously got the pedal down, and Jack is pacing. So in fact, there is Dorr. You can see he has narrowed the gap. That is Todd Flannery that he's trying to get around, but he is not going to have enough time to catch Jack Flannery, as Flannery is one turn away from the checker flag. In fact, he is now into that final corner, makes the turn, cruises across to take his second win of the day in front of the home folk here at the True Value Spring Run. Jack Flannery first, Jeff Dorr second. That means Flannery will take the points lead. Stay with us. We'll talk to the winner next. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. Let's take a look at the final results in Class 4. Jack Flannery in first, Jeff Dorr in second, and that's going to change the points as we move through round number 3 of the Pro Series Points Championship. Now the start, we talk about how important it is. Well, Jack Flannery knows how important it is as well.
Well, I'll tell you, I drew number 13th out there, and And the last position of 13, there's only 13 pre-entries, and Kevin had a real good starting lineup by the flag post, and I went all the way over to the far side of the woods, and I knew I was going to have it tough coming up through there, but I was just trying to keep my truck clean, trying to come up through there and end up the best shape I could on the first corner, and Kevin had me by a little bit, and I think my truck works a little bit better in the rougher stuff, and that's where I made my plan to get him in the big jumps there, and that's where I took him right there.
Well, let's take a look at how the points shake out now. Flannery has a 4-point lead over Jeff Dorr. Kevin Probst really falls back now as he has 32 points and on down through the top 10. And you can see the list all the way down to Bob Bemmels and Tom Farrow tied for 9th with 12. So right now, Jack Flannery 2 for 2 on the day as we get ready for race action in Class 7S. Yes, we get those trucks good and clean. And 7S, two-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickups, 4-cylinder engines, 2.5 liters, the maximum you can go there, and they'll generate about 200 horsepower. Let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. Alongside will be John Greaves. This is a must-win situation for the 26-year-old from De Pere, Wisconsin. Michael Burke from Heartland will be in the number 706. Jim Wiggins, Dixon, Illinois is home. He's 25. He'll be in the number 786. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin in the number 705 Ford. And then Dave Wolf from Menasha, Wisconsin at age 31. We'll watch him drive in the number 766. The rest of the starting field, Alan Walentowski, Bill Waterstrat, Robert Chastain, Jim Bradley on down through the list. Now, with only 200 horsepower, these trucks obviously not as fast as the big monsters in Class 8 and Class 4, Ivan, but some of our best racing action here is the green flag drops.
Oh, it really is, Marty. This is when you don't have much horsepower to deal with. You've got to get those lines. You've got to be efficient, and that's exactly what these guys are doing here, trying to get the hardest part of the track they can get to.
Defending champion in this series, Spencer Lowe, is not racing this year, so the championship is up for grabs. And who's going to take control? Well, we'll find out soon as we come down through the first turn. And it looks like John Greaves, in that must-win situation, has jumped out to the early lead.
John has gotten really serious. He's, like you say, he's got to win this race. He's got to get back in the championship battle. And he got a great start, Marty.
Jim Wiggins in second, Scott Taylor third, fourth is Billy Beck, Jeff Kincaid is fifth. Down through the gravel pit. Whoa, and Taylor trying to duck inside underneath Jim Wiggins as Wiggins goes high.
He's got a different line there. Scott Taylor's always used a different line. I always like his approach to a track because he's always willing to experiment. He'll get down low, he gets up high. Here he's trying to get underneath Wiggins.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing that's made a difference for Scott Taylor has been the addition of a Roush Racing engine.
That has helped me, no doubt about it. Nothing like horsepower, Marty, and he's making horsepower.
Well, he was nowhere to be found in the top 5 at our first race of the year, and here he is winning at round 2 after putting that Roush Racing engine in that 7S Ford. And so far, looking very strong here as he is battling for second place. John Greaves in the Toyota out front.
Interesting, 2 different lines here. Now, John's way up against the trees on the left-hand side of the track, and some of the guys will go way off to the right.
There is Wiggins. He likes the right side line. Taylor over on the right side of the screen will come in third. So this time Wiggins gets some ground and picks up some room, as there is a battle now for third place between Kincaid and Taylor get together.
That was awfully close, Marty. They're going to make it through here. He got by. That was a good pass. That was close, though.
So Kincaid takes over third position, moving Taylor back to fourth.
Again, these guys are all the time. They haven't got the horsepower that the guys in the Class 4s and the 8s got. So looking for that hard ground. They're trying to keep the tires right on the hardest part of the track. And that's the real secret here.
Here's the battle tightening for second place. That is Wiggins holding off Kincaid and Scott Taylor. Now, Wiggins has 18 class victories in his racing career. He's won the 1600 Soda Championship in 1991 and again in 92. And whoa, he gets a little wide there, opens the door, but nobody can close it.
Can't quite get it. Scott Taylor's really getting aggressive here. He just can't quite get by.
Let's go back to this replay where these two come together.
Oh, that is close. He come down. They're lucky. They're lucky somebody didn't get upside down on that one, Marty.
So the action now continues. Let's pick up the battle for fifth. That is Jimmy Crowder doing double duty. You saw him running Class 8 as well. And right behind him is Dave Wolf. So those two going after each other for fifth place on the race course. Back up front, this is John Greaves coming around points leader Robert Chastain. Chastain in trouble.
And this is, again, John Greaves has got to do well here. If he's going to get in this points race, he's got to have a good race.
So Greaves passes and puts the points leader a lap down. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll conclude the Class 7S battle at the True Value Spring Run. And Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. And that is our leader in Class 7S, John Greaves, heading for the pits.
Oh, Marty, that's a shame. He just can't have any luck at all this year.
You pit, you lose. This is a sprint race, folks. You go wire to wire, and him pulling into the pit lane now hands the lead to Scott Taylor. And that's the reason why. I wonder what happened to Jeff Kincaid. Kincaid is out of the race. He's pulled off the side of the course.
In one lap, Scott Taylor went from third to first.
So Scott Taylor with that brand new Roush motor, and boy, what a difference that power plant has made, has moved to the head of the class. And here's another contender. Billy Beck was running well. He is now out of the race, and there's steam from underneath that engine compartment. This is Jim Wiggins getting around lap traffic, Michael Burke. Now Wiggins is in second place as a result of all the breakage. Battle for third is Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf. Crowder still in front of Wolf.
Jimmy Crowder comes all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. Comes out here, runs all the races in this series. It's a great competitor.
And he does not have major sponsorship. He does it on his own nickel. Now this is John Greaves. He's back out on course, but he's way back in sixth place. And boy, this spells disaster for his points championship hopes.
It does. When you had the hood off, he's obviously has got a motor problem.
The battle right now for third place continues. Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf basically nose to tail. They head down the backstretch one more time.
What a beautiful track this is. Look at the elevation changes. This is just a fantastic race course.
Here is Robert Chastain having a horrible day. He is the current points leader. He's in ninth.
He's in ninth place. Plymouth, Wisconsin. Robert is from.
Up through turn two, and that motor sounds off-song a little bit, but boy, here's one that does not sound off-song. Scott Taylor flying through turn one.
Hey, Marty, that's how you tell the horsepower. When they're screaming like this, that RPM is up there around 8,000 or 9,000 RPM, they're making horsepower.
But the other thing I noticed is look at how little side-to-side tail action he's getting. He's getting a lot of good side bite.
Well, you got a truck set up well. He's got the right tire combination, obviously. He's come around, and Scott is a great driver.
The number 722 of Jim Bradley pulling off the side of the race course. Another victim of attrition. We've had a lot today.
We really have. I'm not sure why, Marty. I don't know if it's overheating problems or something we're having here.
The battle for third is still continuing. Here is the final lap now. This is Alan Walentowski. Lap traffic in front of our race leader. Look out as Scott Taylor touches him, but no major contact.
He needs a little patience if he doesn't get too aggressive. Or Scott's done that in the past, and I watched him get a little too aggressive and make those kind of mistakes.
Jim Wiggins, second place. He, too, will be on his final lap, but a long way to go to catch race leader. In fact, he's going to need Scott Taylor to break to have a chance of winning this race.
I don't believe he'd ever catch him now, Marty. There's Scott Taylor coming through the left-hand side of the course.
And John Greaves off to the right of your screen, about to be put another lap down. So what a dismal day for Greaves. What a great day for Scott Taylor.
And Scott Taylor just trying to get to the checkered flag now. His truck is working great. Just get down to the checkered flag.
Well, he still comes through a little wider that time than he normally does through turn number one, but in total control. That Roush motor, that's not cheap, but boy, it sure has paid off.
It really has. And not only does it have to make horsepower, Marty, these motors have got to be dependable. They've got to run a long time under tough conditions.
Well, he is closing on John Greaves. Remember, Greaves struggling, trying to pick up whatever points he can, and he gets lapped again by race leader Scott Taylor, and that's got to be just a frustrating feeling for John Greaves, knowing that his championship hopes are dwindling with each second.
All year long he struggled. That's a shame because he has a ton of talent, and I really suspected him to win a championship this year, actually.
He finished second last year. The checkered flag will fall for the second straight time in this man's favor. That is Scott Taylor. Belvedere, Illinois is cheering as their man finishes first here at the True Value Spring Run in Crandon, Wisconsin. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. Stay with us. Scott Taylor wins for the second time in a row. That's going to help him a great deal in the points. John Greaves needed a win. He did not get it. Robert Chastain finishing in ninth is going to be hurt in the points championship as well. And Jeff Kincaid's championship hopes are damaged with an 11th place finish. Scott Taylor, 2 in a row, and that gives you the lead in the points championship.
How about that, Marty? It looks like Roush's plans and figured out what he did on the motor's working out.
Tell me the difference. I mean, you mentioned it in our last race at Antigo, but the performance, what a step up.
Yeah, Roush Industries are pretty sharp. They've done some pretty neat stuff to the stock parts that we've got to run, and we got an edge on them right now. Everything's working good. That was our problem for the last couple of years with these motors. And now they've done some work on the head and the camshaft development, and boy, it's really working.
It certainly is. Second win in a row, and Scott Taylor vaults into the points lead by 6 over Alan Walentowski. Jim Wiggins moves up to 4th with that second place finish with 27. Now, as you look at the rest of the point standings, it turned out to be a very big day for Jim Wiggins. Not only does he finish second in the race, but he also had some plans for his fiancée-to-be. We were sort of invited to eavesdrop with Jim and Lisa Vandermissen. Listen to this.
Lisa, I love you. And will you marry me?
National television. Lisa?
Yeah.
All right. So we played a small part in not only bringing you racing action for the day, but Lisa's quivering hand as they ride off after finishing second in the race, but first in the hearts of each other. Congratulations to both of you and best wishes. Let's go to Class 910 buggy action. You can see the requirements on the screen, 150 horsepower, and boy, do these 5 guys fly. Watch the start of the race. Art Schmidt takes the lead, but in turn 1, Todd Addig in the 922 and Jeff Probst get together, and Addig ends up flipping. He is okay and gets underway one more time, but his chances of winning no longer a factor. Art Schmidt's lead did get bigger. The battle for second heated up between Lee Wiestoff and Jeff St. Peter. But then leader Art Schmidt went very high in turn 1, taking out a few of the banners and proving that no lead is big enough as he was pressing the pedal as hard as he could. Now remember, he also won Class 910 back at Antigo. Then what happens after an early race spin by Jeff St. Peter and Lee Wiestoff pitting, there is the number 099 of Jeff Probst taking over second place. The battle for third was between the 903 of Tom Schwartzberg and the 1036 of Brian Bernlohr. Now, Jeff St. Peter, who won at Lake Geneva and finished second at Antigo, would finally get back on track to finish 6th after that early spin. And after losing third place to Brian Bernlohr, Tom Schwartzberg will eventually get passed by the 908 of Don Ponder and finish 5th. No one could catch Art Schmidt, though. For the second race in a row, he would take the checkered flag, and he would also take command of the Class 910 points lead as he wins at Crandon. Art Schmidt, Jeff Probst, Brian Bernlohr, Don Ponder, and Tom Schwartzberg, the top 5 at the True Value Spring Run Class 910. Jeff St. Peter will drop back in the points with that 6th place finish, and as we look on down through the list, Todd Wallace, Ray Short, Richie Alton, Chad Ramish round out the top 14. Taking a look at the points, Art Schmidt has a 4-point lead now after 3 rounds of racing. Tom Schwartzberg in 3rd, and Brian Bernlohr and Jeff Probst tied for 4th in Class 910 action. Dawn down through the top 10, Randy Eller, Trent Hansen, Lee Wiestoff, Dan Badu, and Don Ponder in 10th spot with 19 points. Still 3 rounds of racing left in the Pro Series point standings. Let's get ready now for heavy metal. This is where everything comes on the line. This is for bragging rights. Nothing affects the points. 2- and 4-wheel drive production must conform to all class rules, and you must have competed in your class race. The Chevrolet starting field has Walker Evans from Riverside, California. Remember, he finished 2nd in Class 8. Jack Flannery, he's looking for the triple. He won both Class 8 and Class 4. Can he make it 3 for 3? Dave Hockers in the 802 from De Pere, Wisconsin. Scott Taylor has made repairs on his number 800 Ford. The right front suspension is ready to go. Greg Gerlach also ready for the action in the number 402. Jeff Dorr will be in the number 400 Ford, and he is also in this starting lineup. Several others in the starting field, and now this is for bragging rights, Ivan. And do you change your tactics, this being the last race?
Well, absolutely, Marty. They've got a lot of time to fix the truck. Go flat out, try and get a win for your sponsors.
All right, we've got several in-car cameras. This is the suspension camera mounted on the number 800 of Scott Taylor. Yes, that is the right front suspension that was repaired. Jack Flannery will be looking out the front, and then we'll also have a camera with Walker Evans as we'll get a great view outside of his Dodge.
We should see a Class 4 truck, a 4-wheel drive, come out in the lead here. 4-wheel drive, long straightaway, we'll see it happen.
The green flag is dropped, and Flannery right in the middle of the screen. Jeff Dorr also on the left side of the screen. It looks like it's going to be Dorr winning the battle to turn number 1. It is. It's Jeff Dorr, followed by Jack Flannery, then Greg Gerlach, Walker Evans, and then Jamie Flannery. He's in the Class 8 truck. It's the sister truck to Jack's Class 4.
3 four-wheel drives, right out in the lead, then Walker Evans.
3 abreast, and that is Scott Taylor, who got a horrendous start.
If you notice, Scott Taylor's a little careful in that corner. That's where he blew that tire out earlier in the day.
Oh, and there's contact, and Taylor comes together with the vehicle, and I couldn't see who it actually was. It looked like Brian Frankenberg or Tom Farrell. I'm not quite sure, but he is okay. Both trucks still underway. Jeff Dorr in front of Jack Flannery.
And when you see the water on the track, Marty, that's going to lean more toward the four-wheel drive. Jeff Dorr gets a little squirrely here.
Down through what will be the finish line area, and these two going after each other. And yes, they did do some watering between races, so now in certain places it's a little wetter than others.
And that's frustrating for the guys in the two-wheel drive. Obviously, they don't have those four wheels just pulling for them, just the two.
So now Jeff Dorr holds off Jack Flannery. Yes, he does.
And listen to that engine scream. We got a Ford leading with a Chevrolet right behind it.
Trying to pass as he goes to the outside. It looked like Dorr just slowed all of a sudden. That was a little early to be in the brakes.
Yeah, it really was. Well, Dorr's had a problem.
Dorr's gone. He's nowhere to be found. So something happens to Jeff Dorr. Jack Flannery now is your new leader. Boy, where is Dorr?
I just saw him pull off. He just went to the pits, Marty.
So here is Greg Gerlach and then Walker Evans. So now Gerlach is in second place and Walker Evans in third. So a big shakeup here as Jeff Dorr goes by the boards.
Now what we should see as the track continues to dry out and gets a little drier, a little better, Walker Evans should be closing in on Greg Gerlach.
This is the battle for second on the racetrack. Greg Gerlach versus Walker Evans. This is four-wheel drive in front of two-wheel drive.
Walker Evans with a tremendous amount of experience, a fantastic truck, lots and lots of horsepower, and Greg Gerlach looks like he's smoking right.
And this is two Dodges going after each other.
It is.
Gerlach definitely having some smoke, but Walker Evans looking to the inside. Can he make the pass stick? Gerlach opens the door. No, he slams it.
And this is the frustrating part. Watch how that four-wheel drive accelerates.
Tom Farrow getting nose heavy. A lot of suspension problem there. And Chad Hall passes him as that is a battle for position on the race course. Oh, and Bill Loaf is out of the race. Looks like he broke the suspension.
He's got a left side down in that truck. That's right, Woody.
Jack Flannery coming down the front straightaway. He's the leader of the race.
Walker Evans is now in second, looks like.
Oh, and Flannery's got a flat left rear. Take a look. Flannery's got a flat left rear, and that is going to allow this man, Walker Evans, to close up. Flannery running on a flat left.
It looks like he hit one of those rocks we were talking about. There's a bunch of them out here. It's hard to sell it on television, but there's a lot of rocks.
So Walker has gotten into second place around Greg Gerlach. There is Gerlach off into the distance. Scott Taylor, meanwhile, he's had his problems. He is in 11th place right now. He, too, has cut a tire, and he had to change it. So that's why he is back in 11th. Take a look at the way this suspension works.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. You can see when it gets real smooth and hangs down, that's when the truck's in the air.
Take a look. We'll just let you sort of listen and watch. There's the leaders here at the True Value Spring Run. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Heavy Metal Showdown right after this. Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. And wait a minute, that's not Jack Flannery's normal race line. He likes it, and he is heading for the pit lane. He normally goes way left, so if we knew something was wrong, he's going in for that tire.
He's going to come in and try and get that tire fixed as quick as he can, Marty. It's going to cost him a lot of time. In this kind of racing, you just can't do this.
Well, we're going to put a clock on it to give you an idea. We'll keep that running. You take a look now at the new leader. That is Walker Evans. He has gotten around while this pit stop goes on.
This is just a shame because, you know, a stadium or short course racing like this, you just don't have time to do these kind of repairs.
The clock's still running in the upper right-hand corner. That is the pit stop time. You can see the crew, and take us through what they're actually doing.
Well, they're pulling the tire off. The tire's hotter than heck. He's gone 2 miles on that tire. It's gotten extremely hot. The guys are trying to do it as quick as possible. It's just going to take a little while.
That is Greg Gerlach in second. That's Jamie Flannery in the Class 8 truck in fourth, and he, too, has a flat. Now the clock finally stops for Jack Flannery. He has to pause again to wait for traffic to come through so he can rejoin the race.
Oh, that is so frustrating, Marty, to be in that position.
Now Jimmy Crowder, the third truck in the screen. He is in third. That's 2 lap vehicles in front of him. So Crowder doing well here in the Heavy Metal Showdown, running in third. having a little trouble getting around the lap traffic. And this man's at a dismal heavy metal championship. That is Scott Taylor, well back in the field. But take a look one more time at the suspension game. We're getting ready to go over a very big jump here.
That's a beautiful shot. When the suspension hangs down, there it goes back up. When it hangs down right in the air, that was in the air.
And a sudden surge as the 3,700 pounds roughly comes back down on the ground. Here is your race leader, Walker Evans. Finished second in the Class 8 race. It looks like he's on his way to a championship win here in heavy metal. On board again. That's lap traffic in front of him.
Marty, this is going to be a worthwhile trip for him. This long trip back from Utah is going to pay off. Looks like he might win this race.
Remember, he only had 2 hours of sleep coming into this. Greg Gerlach, he is in second place. This is the best run he's had all season long.
He's had a tough year, but Greg's doing good. I like to see him do well here. He's a good competitor.
And Jamie Flannery, who is running in 5th right now. He's a lap down with that flat right rear. He's running on the inner liner.
He's on the liner, there's no doubt.
That's Tom Farrell going up on the bicycle in front of Jack Flannery.
Tom gets up a little bit on 2 wheels there and saved it very well.
Also has had some contact along the way as one fender is completely gone and the other one may cut another tire for Flannery if it comes off right now.
He's going to lose it right in front of us.
The white flag is out for Walker Evans. One more time around, and it will be a very worthwhile trip for the Riverside, California native, as he has got lap traffic in front of him there, and he moves around very cautiously. I remember when one year he came out here, forced the issue with some lap traffic, and ended up losing the race.
I remember that race, Marty. He'll be careful, I'll guarantee you this one.
Back on board with Jack Flannery. That is Chad Hall on the left. He is lap traffic, but right in front of him, that is for position for 3rd place on the race course. And that's Jimmy Crowder. Now here is Scott Taylor one more time. Let's get another look at the suspension, Ken.
Watch an interesting talk about shock valve and how slow that wheel drops down. That's what they talk about, wheel control with the shocks. You drop it real slow, and that's what you want.
Doesn't look as painful as it does from the outside, which sort of surprises you.
You're right. You'd think it'd be more violent. But that's all controlled by shock valving.
Back on board with Jack Flannery, and he is right on Jimmy Crowder. In fact, making a pass for the move for 3rd. No, he can't make it stick. Crowder holding on. Remember, we're on the final lap. There is your race leader through turn 2 for the final time, Walker Evans. And Walker's got a flat right rear going down. This could get very interesting.
Luckily, he's only got another half a lap or so to go, Mark. But he is down well on that one.
Well, but if he shreds it right there, he could roll the truck.
He really could. I'm sure he knows. He senses the problem, I'm sure.
He's got one more jump to maneuver. This one right here. Hold on to your stomach. He survives. Right turn. It's a 180 degree to the checkered flag. And it is going to be Walker Evans, winner in heavy metal competition at the True Value Spring Run. Stay with us when we come back. We'll talk to the sleepy but happy champion. Well, Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run, where the final results are posted in heavy metal competition. A great win for Walker Evans. A surprising race, Ivan, the way things went today with the number of flats.
Again, I think it's when we showed the big rock, that's what these guys are hitting. You just can't hit those big rocks, and they're out there. You're going so fast, you just don't see them.
Yeah, it's not defective equipment, folks. These rocks are huge out here. Down here in Victory Lane, obviously with Walker Evans, the long distance, long travel, no sleep had absolutely no effect.
Well, it didn't really. I'll tell you what, a little bit of cat naps here and there puts you right back on top. When you hear these big Dodge motor fire up, I'll tell you, it opens your eyes and you're ready to race.
Pretty good weekend, worth the trip. Second in Class 8, winner in heavy metal.
Well, I'm happy. I'll tell you, I love Crandon. I love the fans here. That Dodge knows its way around here. I will always come back to this place.
We'll see you at Luxemberg.
You bet. I'll be right there.
And special thanks ought to go to Michael Gaughan, one of Walker's sponsors at the Gold Coast Casino and Hotel. It was his private jet that made it all possible for the victory. Be with us next time, Luxembourg, the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, 12:30 a.m. Eastern on August 24th. That's the night of the 23rd on the Pacific at 9:30 p.m. Cheney's Country Club and Motel makes accommodations possible for the ESPN crew. Cheney's in Leona, Wisconsin. That's going to do it for us today from Crandon, Wisconsin. For Ivan Stewart, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Speed World. We'll see you next time we go off-road racing. all summer long have been inundating this region. We're no exception here, just northeast of Green Bay and Luxemberg. Ivan, it's a challenge for the crews to get this course ready for racing. It's also going to be a challenge for the drivers.
Well, it really is, Marty, because this being so tight and so twisty and so wet, if I was racing this particular race, I would definitely want to be in a four-wheel drive. This is the one for a four-wheel drive.
All right, now this is the shortest track we run on all season long. Why Jack Flannery's style would be different in his Class 8, he's leading in that championship points battle, and Class 4 where he's leading as well. What's the difference in driving style that we should be looking for?
Well, when the conditions get this slick, Marty, you've got the front end of a four-wheel drive car turning, driving the front end around so it pulls around the corners, opposed to the two-wheel drive where you have to flick it. And sometimes you can't even turn the steering wheel that wants to push if it gets that muddy. So it's going to be a real challenge for these guys, especially in two-wheel drive.
So classes 8 and 7S, we should really keep our eyes on. Driving technique's going to be the key.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Well, let's take a look at the weather for today's race. Temperature 80 degrees, partly sunny skies. We have only a 20% chance of rain, and things look like they will begin to dry out, and hopefully that'll spell good news for all these racers. Ivan, let's take a look at this layout.
Well, again, Marty, this being the tightest and shortest track we do, I see several places that are going to be challenging. Across the double jumps to finish, a hard left-hand corner right there that's going to get chewed up. That's going to be really, really tight and a challenge to get through there clean. That's where the four-wheel drives are going to do well. Then back on the backside, if we get back about turn number 4, right in that area we got highlighted, there's some big mobiles developing back in there, and that's really going to be tough.
And we're getting ready now for Class 8 action. The truck's pulling out onto the race course. And as they do that, let's take a look at the Class 8 Pro Point Series standings. Jack Flannery on top by 6 over Dave Hawkers. Walker Evans made a jump to 4th place by finishing 2nd in our last race at Crandon. As we move on down through the list, Scott Taylor has fallen back. He broke at Crandon. He is now in 7th place, needs a big performance here to try and catch up. Now, as far as getting ready, there is Terry Wolf, the SOTA president, doing double duty today, acting as official starter as well, getting the trucks in line. Let's talk about what a Class 8 truck is all about, Ivan.
Marty, two-wheel drive production pickups, the most favorite class out here. Engines are 800 cubic, up to 800 cubic inches, 500, 850 horsepower. Minimum weight, 3,700 pounds.
Let's take a look at our Chevrolet starting field. Points leader Jack Flannery at age 40, looking for another championship crown. Dave Hawkers in 2nd place from De Pere. That's just on the southwest side of Green Bay. We're on the northeast side. Walker Evans from Riverside, California at age 54 will be in the 817. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He'll be in the number 800. On down through, Jimmy Crowder from Tallahassee, Florida at age 58 says, hey, I can race with the young guys, number 837. Jed Flannery, the son of Jack, also from Crandon, age 21. He'll be in the 812. Dan Vandenheuvel from Appleton, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 809. And on down through the rest of the starting field, as you take a look there, you see that the lineup, 5 trucks across. It's going to be a mad dash heading down to that first left-hand turn. On board now with Scott Taylor.
Marty, this is going to be really tight because they've got to accelerate and make this hard left-hand corner coming up, and it's going to get dusty, obviously.
Little bumping going on. Walker Evans on the outside trying to make a mad dash. He's off course and going further, Ivan, further off course.
He is way, way out there, Marty. This is really going to hurt him.
Boy, he has dropped all the way back. We head down into turn 1. You're on board with Scott Taylor. Little contact there with Jed Flannery in the 812. He makes it around safely. The dirt and mud coming right up into the cockpit. And now, here is Jack Flannery on the left. That's Dan Vandenheuvel on the right. Vandenheuvel, he's got a flat left front tire, Ivan.
He's already hit something and knocked it off. Look how short these straightaways are, Marty. This is going to be the challenge at this track.
And he has pulled way off course and is shortcutting the course. He'll get a penalty for this. He's probably heading for the pits, although, to get a new tire.
That's probably what he's trying to do, absolutely.
So Vandenheuvel, 9th in the points you see there, but he has got all kinds of problems. He will certainly get a penalty, and he is heading for the pits. So that's as effective as the penalty, because if you pit in this series, these sprint races, you lose.
That's exactly right.
On board again with Scott Taylor. Whoa, and Jed Flannery up on the bicycle.
Let's see these tight corners we keep talking about. This is going to be a challenge all day long.
Dennis Verdon and Jimmy Crowder have tangled in the corner, and they are hooked, Ivan.
They're hooked. They can't get apart. They've been sitting there for a lap. They're in lap 2 now.
Jed Flannery in the 812 holding on to 2nd place. Scott Taylor trying to get around him. And here comes Walker Evans, already moved all the way back up to 4th. What a charge.
He has got to start making some points, Marty. If he's going to get in this points race, he's got to start not making mistakes like that.
Now back on board with Scott Taylor. He's having a heck of a time, and this is that rough section you were talking about on the backside of the course.
That's right. It's difficult. He's right there. You can see how close it is. He just can't quite get by.
Well, they are trading paint right now. It's Ford versus Chevrolet. Chevrolet currently leading in this battle. Little pump there.
You can hear the RPM of Scott Taylor's motor running up. He probably runs the thing up close to 7,000 to 8,000 RPM.
Jack Flannery closing in on Brian Dunleavy. Dunleavy about to go a lap down. And he is making the best. Now there you see the tow vehicle. They have removed Dennis Verdon and Jimmy Crowder. He's well out of the way. Here's the battle for second and third. Can Taylor take it? No. Jed Flannery doing a great job.
Straightaways are just too short here, Marty. It's extremely... Scott has got all the horsepower. He just can't quite use it.
Walker Evans still in fourth, back on board with Scott Taylor as we watch the best battle going on for second place. Looks like he may have him this time.
Back in that rough section again. He does have him. He's by him, I believe.
Scott Taylor in second place. Jed Flannery nowhere in sight, and he is now approaching Brian Dunleavy, which is lap traffic again, and he safely gets around him. And that man in front is Jack Flannery, and there you see the view from outside as he comes down the front straightaway.
And Marty, look, and Jack Flannery just doesn't make mistakes, and that's what I've been watching and really admiring about his driving. He just very seldom makes a mistake lately. Very smooth, very consistent. Scott Taylor's always been a little more aggressive, and Walker Evans much more aggressive.
Well, there you see first, second place is Scott Taylor, and close behind is Jed Flannery. Now this is a battle for fifth place between Chuck Brand and second place in the points, Dave Hockers, and Hockers trying to look inside but can't make it stick.
This has got to be one of the more challenging tracks simply because it's such short straightaways. The corners are loose, there's dust in areas, there's variety everywhere, slick corners. Well, this is really a tough little course.
Battle for third now as Jed Flannery has come under attack from Walker Evans. And look at this, the battle up front is getting closer. Scott Taylor right on the rear bumper of leader Jack Flannery. We've got two great battles going on at once.
That aggressive style of Scott Taylor's paying off here, obviously. He's right on his tail, I tell you.
And we can tell you Walker Evans has gotten around Jed Flannery. Whoa, right across the bow. Did he get him, Ivan?
That was close, I think he did.
Hold on, we're into the corner. No, the Chevrolet of Jack Flannery answers back, and he maintains the lead here in Luxemberg, Wisconsin, in the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Stay with us. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you, Luxemburg, Wisconsin. This is the battle for first place. It is Jack Flannery in front of Scott Taylor, but that could be changing. On board with Taylor in the Ford, and down that straightaway, a hard right-hand turn, and he has got the lead.
He's got the lead, Marty. He got him, finally.
So it is Ford versus Chevy, and right now Ford has taken the lead in the name of Scott Taylor, and Jack Flannery is slowing down and is now passed by Walker Evans. Now remember, Flannery is the points leader in Class 8 by only 6 over Dave Hockers, and he is under attack by son Jed Flannery. And he is pulling over. He's out of this race, Ivan.
He's got a major problem, no doubt. That's too bad for Jack Flannery.
Big news for Walker Evans and everyone else who's trying to reel in Jack Flannery, the points leader, dragging towards pit lane, and he is pulling off the race course.
Marty, this is really going to tighten up this points race, especially with Walker Evans running second now. Let's see what he can do with Scott Taylor.
Now remember, Scott Taylor is 7th in the points. The man to gain the most would be Walker Evans. He's currently running in second place, and he is closing.
Obviously, Walker Evans is the fastest guy in the track. He has put a big charge on. He is really serious.
There is Dave Hockers, and Hockers is in trouble. He's smoking badly. And he was 4th and now pulling out of this race. So now the man who was in second place in the points is out. Dan Vandenheuvel is now 4th place. There you see him going through the camera. And Jimmy Crowder is now back underway, and he is lap traffic. And there is the lead battle between Scott Taylor, who's closing in on lap vehicles, and Walker Evans right on his back bumper.
That lap traffic is going to be a big factor here. Walker could be a big factor in this race. Oop, almost got a tire there, Scott.
That's John Conitzer right in front of Scott Taylor, and Taylor's got to be fuming, saying, hey, get out of the way. I've got Walker Evans behind me, closing quickly.
And these guys ought to be more aware of this, Marty, but I don't believe they have mirrors, and they don't know he's that close.
Well, he's got to feel the presence. And was that Walker Evans? Yes. Walker Evans has gotten around to take the lead. Oh, and notice he doesn't wait for Mr. Conitzer to get out of the way. Does some damage to the right rear quarter panel.
He had to miss that big tire there, Marty. He got by him. That was a good move.
So now Walker Evans dead last at the start of this race, is now running up front. Dennis Verdon, 8th in the points. He too out of this race. Attrition beginning to play a part.
It's amazing how tough this course has been on race cars. Evidently, it's a rough mogul section and the mud they're continuing.
The Dodge of Walker Evans, the Ford of Scott Taylor. They're running 1-2.
Now, Scott Taylor may be having a problem. Looks like he slowed down quite a bit. He may be having a heating problem or saving a transmission or something. He's not near as aggressive as he was earlier, Marty.
Listen to his motor. Let's see if we can pick up something.
You know, he does have a motor problem. I think he dropped the cylinder.
Either that or it sounds like he may have cracked a header.
You never know. Yeah, exactly. I think he's down on power, though. A header wouldn't affect it that much. I think it's probably he dropped the cylinder. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, Walker Evans definitely got the horsepower working today.
Jed Flannery, 3rd in the points. He, too, is pulling over. This is a big day for Walker Evans. You can see the frustration as Jed just pounds the steering wheel and says, the day is done. Riverside, California's Walker Evans. Boy, does he need this victory. 1 lap to go. Scott Taylor in 2nd place, but holding on to the position rather than closing for 1st.
I think he's just happy to take a second here, Marty. I'm sure he's got a problem.
Dan Vandenheuvel is currently running in 3rd place, and look at the margin back to Walker Evans as he comes over this jump.
That is the most beautiful handling truck I've ever seen, Marty. That thing is just unbelievable over these big jumps.
Scott Taylor trying. The white flag out for Dan Vandenheuvel. The checkered flag out for Walker Evans as he takes the victory here in Class 8 action at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. We'll talk to the winner next. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Here are the final results in Class 8. Walker Evans, after dropping back to dead last, comes back to take the win over Scott Taylor. As we look on down through, Jack Flannery will pick up some points for his 10th place finish, but there is a shakeup in the points battle. Let's go to Ivan.
Well, Walker, you had a lousy draw for a number in the 3rd row. Lousy start. Go push way out on the outside of that corner and come back, and what a brilliant drive. The best I've seen you drive in ages. The truck looked like it was working fantastic.
It certainly was, Ivan. It really did work. And yes, I got a very bad start. I got pushed clear off over the, you might say, half-mile sweeper. Went down, made contact with the ESPN cameras, waved at them, and then took off into my race. And as I got up here over a couple of jumps, I look over and everybody's already through turn 3. So I really had my work cut out for me.
The other question I had for you, we have the heavy metal challenge coming up. As tight as this track is, can a Class 2 or Class 8 two-wheel drive truck win the heavy metal challenge?
I don't want to say I have my doubts until it's all said and done. You know how it is. Anything can happen. They do have the advantage, as you well know. 4-wheel drive, scratching, pulling real hard. Short straightaways. My power's not going to mean a lot here. We're constantly turning and steering that truck. We'll just have to wait and see what the outcome is.
Take a look at the Pro Series point standings. 2 races ago, Walker Evans was in 7th. Now he is in front of Jack Flannery by 1 point. He is vaulted into 1st place. Scott Taylor moves up 1 position to 6th with 43. He's still in the hunt, but he's going to need some big-time help. Now, with all the rain this summer in the Midwest, it's been hard to get dry track conditions, and tire combinations are critical. Let's go to Ivan Stewart.
Even though this track looks dry and dusty, it really isn't. It's really a tricky, unique track, and the corners are the secret. They're loamy, they're loose, they're spongy. The tire choice has been this mud terrain tire. This is a stock tire, this is a modified. The rear tire, what they're doing is taking lots and lots of this rubber out. The reason they do that, they want this tire to dig and churn, get down to that hard soil and drive to the next corner. That's the rear tire. Front tire, putting big, long lateral grooves around the circumference. And what that does, that enables the guy to dive into this corner, stick the front end, power slide out, and accelerate to the next corner. That's the only way you're going to win here at Luxemberg.
Well, as we get ready for Class 4 action, let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings. 4-point margin between Flannery and Jeff Dorr. Kevin Probst in 3rd with 32. He needs a big race. And the trucks begin to pull out onto the race course. We're on board with Jack Flannery. Now, what is this class all about, Ivan?
Well, Marty, these are 4-wheel drive production pickups. But the unique thing about this particular class is it must weigh 8 pounds per cubic inch. And that's the real secret.
Let's go now to the Chevrolet starting field. Jack Flannery, he leads the class by 4 points over this man, Jeff Dorr from Rockford, Illinois. He'll be in the Ford. Kevin Probst from New Lenox, Illinois. He'll be in the number 499. Gerald Foster from Noble, Illinois at age 40 will be in the number 314. Chad Hall, all the way from Reno, Nevada. in the number 411. He'll be in a Dodge. As we look at the rest of the starting field, we'll get a chance to see the difference between Class 8 two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive of Class 4.
Now, Marty, the acceleration should be much more on these particular trucks. They got four wheels pulling them ahead, and around the corners are going to be a little quicker there, too. They're off.
On board with Jack Flannery as he takes the outside line. Now remember, this is a banked part of the dirt oval that they race here, and whoa, Kevin Probst slams the door on him.
Kevin's got a much lighter truck now, so he should be able to take advantage of that right off the start.
Everyone safely down the front straightaway off the starting line. Kevin Probst first, Jack Flannery second, and Chad Hall surprisingly in third.
He is. He doesn't have that much horsepower, but he seems to be doing better and better as he progresses back here.
The problem in the past with that truck is we watched the battle up front has been suspension too. It just hasn't handled very well, but so far so good for Chad Hall, and so far so good for Kevin Probst on board with Jack Flannery, and he has got a face full of dirt.
He's going to have his work cut out for him in these little short straight. Uh-oh.
Oh no, second place. Jeff Dorr has a flat left rear tire. Second place in the point standings coming into this race. That is going to be costly for him. He's going to have to pull in and get a new tire. Boy, he's got some damage all over the place. He got tagged somehow.
He got somebody running into the back of you, right, Marty. Just tore that tire right up.
So bad break for the number 400 of Jeff Dorr. Meanwhile, up front, it is Kevin Probst. You see, he finished second at Lake Geneva and at Antigo. He has yet to taste victory lane here in '93 on the ESPN SOTA World Series of off-road racing. That is Greg Gerlach and Bob Bemmels. That is fourth and fifth place right now as we're back on board with Jack Flannery.
Kevin's truck is still relatively new. They're still working the bugs out of that truck, so I expect as the year progresses, it's going to get better and better. You
can see how even the in-car camera gets full of mud, and they work their way around this race course back up onto the dirt oval. That is banked, and boy, Kevin Probst takes advantage of it nicely.
He is very good. You very seldom you see him make a mistake. He's real aggressive, a lot of experience, and he's, like I say, this truck is handling much better than it has in the past.
Now, how much of a problem does the radiator come into play here if it gets clogged with mud?
Well, it's a major problem, and in these kind of conditions, and I'm sure that's what Jack's thinking about. I've got to get by this guy. I've got to drop back away from him. If he drops too far back, he's never going to get by.
There is Chad Hall. Oh, no. Talking about radiator problems, it looks as though Chad Hall may begin to have one. We saw a puff of smoke. There it is.
That could also be a transmission. Either one, Marty. Actually, the transmissions also have a cooler on them.
Oh, and that is fifth place, Bob Bemmels. And he has spun it down in the corner, but has not lost the position, so he quickly gets back underway. The battle up front between Probst and Flannery continues.
And that is a factor. Look at the mud on Jack Flannery's grill.
Well, these guys are going after each other here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Stay with us. The race continues after this. Class 4 action continues at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart with you, and there is the battle for the lead. That is Kevin Probst right in front of Jack Flannery. Flannery tries to take a look inside, can't do it.
And Jack is all over him. He wants him in the worst way.
All right, this is a tight course, four-wheel drive. What do you do to get around? Because it looks like Flannery got a door open there.
He's up close. He's right. He's got to dive in deep. He's got to come upside and hope that Kevin gets out wide like he is there and dive possibly at this spot right here. That's what I'd be doing.
Well, he just did it. Can he make it stick? Flannery gets the inside line as Probst opens the door just wide enough for Jack Flannery to take the lead.
It looks like he just outbroke him. That's exactly the way I'd do it. Just dive in there hard and try and get on the brakes harder than Kevin was.
Now it's Kevin's turn to eat some mud and dirt. As you can see the difference between the two front grills of these trucks. Probst leading for the first few laps, and now all of a sudden Jack Flannery kicking up the mud and Probst falling back.
I think Kevin's going to have a hard time now.
There is Chad Hall. He's in third place. Mark Seidler is the white truck, his lap traffic, and Greg Gerlach in fourth place is closing on Hall. Those are two Dodges going after each other.
We got to get Chad Hall a bigger motor, and he's having a smoking problem. He got something getting hot too.
Either the radiator, as you said, it could be the transmission, but Greg Gerlach is closing in. Back up front, whoa, and Flannery gets a little wide. He has opened up the lead to about 7-8 truck lengths over second place, Kevin Probst. Now, Flannery's in the Chevrolet, Probst is in the GMC. On board, that is Bill Loaf as he is trying to get around, and if Loaf holds him up, that could bring Probst back into play.
That's what Kevin's got to have, a little traffic or a little bit of a break here, because he's not going to catch Jack the way it's running right now.
Well, Loaf does a nice job of moving over for the race leader, allowing him to continue.
This is the mogul section. The rough section, it's going to take, as we continue throughout the day, that gets worse and worse. And that's going to be a factor later on in the day in the race as that gets into the suspension of these trucks.
Mark Seidler, the lap traffic right in front of him, and he almost gives him a nudge. Remember, these trucks come back later in the broadcast for the heavy metal showdown, where it'll be Class 8 and Class 4 battling together. And look what happened. The lap traffic allows Probst to come into play again, and he is battling for the lead with Flannery.
Oh, that woke Jack up.
1 lap to go. The crowd, you can hear them cheering in the background. This has turned out to be a great showdown. And Flannery opens the door by going wide.
He goes wide, and if Kevin had a little bit more horsepower, he might get Jack. I'm not sure if he can do it or not. But
and Flannery spins and saves it. Gets the tail end very far out. And look at this. Probst all over him. And he hits the tire. He hit the course marker. Oh, and bad news for Greg Gerlach, the Dakota, Minnesota native, pulling out of this race. So more bad news for Greg Gerlach. And look now, as Jack Flannery has opened up a lead, Kevin Probst has got a problem, Ivan. He is slowing down and pulling to the pits as well.
Something's happened. He's lost a motor or something.
Here's the checkered flag. The winner is Jack Flannery in Class 4. He'll pad his lead as we're at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxembourg. Stay with us. We'll talk to the winner next. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge as we take a look at the Class 4 results. The best finish of the year for Chad Hall as he finishes second to Jack Flannery. And on down through, Kevin Probst ends up in 7th, Greg Gerlach in 8th, and second place in the points heading into this race, Jeff Dorr in 9th.
Jack, you make it look so easy. That's 3 in a row for you, winning the championship. Again, at this tight track, everybody's been talking about how tight it is and twisty and gnarly. Looks like the start is going to be the big secret here to win.
Yeah, Ivan, you know, you're a great racer yourself, and I knew it. I just had to stay clean here this first lap, and I probably come out of start a little better. I took a chance and went on the outside a couple of races ago. It didn't work, but I felt the truck was running better today, and we had the tires grooved a little better, and, you know, them Goodyear tires and these Chevy hooked up today, and that's what got me this checkered flag first.
And also, I got to throw in here the great pass you made on Kevin Probst. You played it safe, and you didn't get antsy there. You waited for him. You made a great move.
No, you know, you bump him a couple little times light, let him know you're back there, and you shake him loose a little bit, you know, and they make a mistake, just take advantage of it, and that's what I did. You know, I found that clear spot, and that's when I went for it.
Well, let's take a look at the point standings because Jack Flannery has now opened a big lead. Remember, it was 4 points heading in. It's now 74-57 over Jeff Dorr. Kevin Probst still in the hunt with 41. On down through, Greg Gerlach in 9th place behind Ken Kincaid, Bob Bemmels, and the team of Heitman and Lowe. Time now for Class 7S to roll out onto the race course, and this a good-sized field. And the points battle here really interesting as well. 6 points separates first and second place. Alan Walentowski behind Scott Taylor. And then on down through the team of Corning and Chastain with 33. Jim Wiggins in 4th with 27. And look at how close it is all the way down through the 10th position. Things still up for grabs with 3 races, including this one here today. On board with Scott Taylor, and there is the view. Look out, getting real close.
That is really close, Marty. 2-wheel drive, production mini truck, mid-size pickups, 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters, 200 horsepower. A lot of fun to watch these trucks run.
And here is the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, yes, he did run in Class 8, and he is running again in 7S. Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin at age 25. Very quiet behind the scenes, but doing very well on the race course. Robert Chastain from Plymouth, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 717. Jim Wiggins from Dixon, Illinois. He'll be in the number 786. On down through the field, Bill Waterstrat from Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is his hometown. At age 30, he wants to do well in front of the home folks. Tom Hawkers from nearby Greenleaf at age 29 in the number 705. And there is the rest of this very big Class 7S starting field. Now, again, these are rear-wheel drive trucks, 2-wheel drive, Ivan. And what should we be looking for?
Well, this is going to be, again, a real tight left-hand corner coming up. They're off. Getting through this first corner is going to be the trick, Marty.
4 abreast. Oh, Johnny Greaves gets into Dave Vandenelsen, and then another truck goes up and over the 705 of Tom Hawkers. And look at Dave Vandenelsen gets the raw end of that deal. He's all the way off course at the back of the pack. Greaves ends up being the beneficiary as he is in front of Jim Wiggins.
I like his style, Marty. John just drove in there and made it happen. That was a good move.
Take another look at this. Now, you may like it. I bet you the driver in the number 731, Dave Vandenelsen, didn't like it very much. He almost goes over.
Marty, that's off-road racing, and I think that wouldn't be a penalty. I believe that's just good aggressive racing.
Well, the two of them get hooked there. Oh, and then Bill Waterstrat gets into the 731 of Dave Vandenelsen, and that's what spins him all the way around to dead last. Now, here it is. Top place goes to John Greaves. Second place to Jim Wiggins. There's third, Jimmy Crowder. And then Jim Bradley in the 722 being pressured by Scott Taylor.
Scott gives him a little nudge going into that corner. He says, get out of the way, buddy. Here we come.
Oh, and he makes the pass as you're on board with Scott Taylor. What a view.
That is a great shot.
And there is race leader John Greaves, and he's banging on the steering wheel and heading for the pits, Ivan.
Oh, that's too bad. He's just had a tough year this year, Marty.
I don't know what was wrong, but it means now that Jim Wiggins is now your leader, and then Jimmy Crowder there in second place, and Scott Taylor closing on Crowder is in third.
Scott Taylor with that aggressive style. We'll see what he can do with it on this tight course.
Wiggins opening up the lead. Oh, Taylor gets up on the bicycle. Crowder running two trucks as well. A lot more of the drivers are doing that now, Ivan, running either a Class 8 and a 7S combination or a Class 4 and a 7S.
They do, and you know that gives them a little bit of advantage, Marty. When they come into this course, they know where the bad spots are, how loose the corners are, so that's a fun advantage, to be honest.
Now we're heading back. That is the battle for fifth for Al Walentowski and Dave Wolf. Walentowski in the 712. Jeff Kincaid also getting into this mix. Kincaid in the 707, so this battle really heating up. Back on board again with Scott Taylor. Oh, what a view. He's just gotten around Jimmy Crowder. That is Crowder, so now it is Scott Taylor in second place.
Listen to that Jack Roush motor scream. I don't know what RPM he runs at, but it's got to be up there close to 8, Marty.
Well, he has done so well since putting that motor in this 7S. He won at Antigo, and he also won at the Spring Run. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have more of the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Off-Road Challenge. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. There's your leader, Jim Wiggins in the 786. Scott Taylor closing quickly. It's two Fords going after each other. Whoa! That's going to slow it down.
He can't be doing that. That cost him time. And let's just let Jim get that much farther away.
Now remember, he came in. Oh, and I see a pump of smoke.
I know. I see a little look like radiator water coming out of there, Marty.
Now a battle for fourth. Jim Bradley and Tom Hockers. Hockers in the 705. These guys nose to tail. Bradley has a co-rider on board. Does that help or hurt a driver?
No, I think it hurts, to be honest, Marty. You don't need that extra weight, to be honest.
Back up front, Scott Taylor has reeled in race leader Jim Wiggins.
So let's keep an eye on that engine because he got a bad start. He's been back in the dust.
Oh, and he gets into Wiggins and spins him around, but Wiggins manages to hold off.
See, all this time, Scott is getting mud in that radiator, and I think he's going to have a heating problem. You can see steam coming out right there.
It is. It's coming out of the overflow vent at the end. Bill Waterstrat there in fifth, and he has got a door hanging open, and that is going to get him, yes, that will get him a black flag, and you saw it wave there. So he's going to have to work his way around and slow down to the pit lane and get that fixed. Oh! Whoa. And Taylor gets in and spins out Jim Wiggins.
I don't think he can get away with that.
Oh, well, I don't know if you can get away with that either because now his radiator is going to be cooking.
I think that was probably, that's going to be looked at as an incident that he's going to get penalized for, I believe.
Oh, and a rollover. That is Michael Burke right in front of race leader Scott Taylor as he goes over, quickly climbing out of the truck, and he is okay. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, Marty, I can't tell if he got into him or not, but the end result is exactly the same, I'll tell you.
Well, there's a lip there that he either went over or he got an assist from Scott Taylor. As you said, end result still the same. He is out of this race. Now here is Scott Taylor, and back on board as he is moving around lap traffic.
I hope he can make this race. I keep seeing that steam coming out of the radiator in his truck. He's got a lot of mud in that radiator, and I think he's got a hot motor, Marty.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and that is Dave Wolf. Lap traffic, he has gotten around Wolf and moving down. And here is Jim Wiggins. Thank goodness, 1 lap to go. His radiator has got to be getting warm.
That'll do it.
Taylor, boy, and the steam is getting worse.
I'm sure he's aware of that. He's watching the gauge, and I'm sure he's cooling a little bit now. 1 lap to go. He's saying, let's get on back to the finish line.
I'll tell you, I would not want to be the one to have to replace that Jack Roush motor. This motor has been the difference in him not being in the points battle and currently leading the points battle.
Boy, he does scream that engine.
Well, on the final lap, in fact, that's the final turn as he'll make his way onto the oval, and it's a big sweeper as he comes around. He'll be looking square into the checkered flag, and for the 3rd race in a row, Scott Taylor wins in Class 7S. We're at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. We'll talk to our winner right after this.
We go something like this. I'm on 3rd. And on the first pitch, I go. I'm stealing home. Everyone's going crazy. My manager, the fans, Dan Patrick. But I'm stealing home. I'm in there. And somewhere in Philly, my grandma has one of her spells. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxemberg, Wisconsin. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. Let's take a look at the final results in Class 7S. And with this win, Scott Taylor is going to widen his lead. Remember, it was 6 points over Al Walentowski heading into today's race. Walentowski finishing in 8th. And the man that we thought was going to be a contender all season long, John Greaves, ended up in 12th. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Well, Scott, you're having a great year. A good start. Started in 2nd row. Looked like you played traffic well. You got a decent start and chased down Jim Wiggins. The only thing you could see you made a couple mistakes. You got her hiked a couple times when you got a little anxious. Tell me about it.
Well, the track is real dry, or real tacky. It's drying out from all the rain we've had, and the corners are getting real sticky, and they're hooking up too good in the back end. You get into the turns and they're bicycling. You got to be careful. You can't pitch them sideways yet. The track's not quite ready for it.
Well, you made it work for you. When you caught Jim Wiggins, the way it looked to me, you got a little close and bumped him and may have got him sideways. That wasn't intentional, I'm assuming.
No, and I got to go over and apologize. It wasn't an intentional shot. Jimmy's having a little bit of trouble with his truck handling. The suspension isn't quite working right, and it's sticking up. And when he hits the second time, he gets sideways, and it evidently is ducking him to the inside, sideways in front of me. And it's not an intentional deal. In fact, I did everything I could to stop from hitting him. But once you touch, it kind of hooks up, and you start playing dog and cat. You kind of hook up and go around. But anyway, it wasn't an intentional thing, because when you're hitting somebody, you're slowing yourself down. You'd rather slingshot around and be clean.
Well, let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings. Scott Taylor now leads Jim Wiggins by 17. Now remember, you get 20 points for a victory, so this is a commanding lead with only 2 races yet to go. As we look on down through, and it's just amazing to me. John Greaves, we thought he would contend at season's beginning, but he is tied for 10th with 26. Now the buggies are coming out. This is Class 9-10 highlight action that we're going to be able to show you. We can't show you all the racing action of all the divisions that go on, but this is one of the more exciting buggy classes. They are unlimited with a co-rider being optional. Maximum CC of 1,650, and they crank out about 150 horsepower. Now in this race, at the very start, watch the 922 of Todd Attic. He climbs up the 905 of Dan Badu. They get tangled, but they finally break free. The 937 of Randy Eller hits the 947 of Chad Ramish. Now the 099 of Jeff Probst would take the lead momentarily over Tom Schwartzberg, but right in this very corner, he ends up braking. That means it's now Schwartzberg and Schmidt battling for the lead as they head around that tough right-hand turn. Down the straightaway, it was Art Schmidt, the current points leader in Class 9-10, over Tom Schwartzberg. Now watch the 937 of Randy Eller as he dusts for Bugs on the left side. The puff of smoke, but he continued in the race. This was the battle for 3rd. Todd Attic, he'll get up on 2 wheels, which lets the 912 of Jeff St. Peter take the position. Now remember, St. Peter is 2nd in the points heading into this race. Now Art Schmidt up front, literally on cruise control as he was leading comfortably. Back to action as Todd Attic and Jeff St. Peter trade positions again, but now the battle is for 2nd, and St. Peter tries to make the pass. Can't make it stick into that hard left-hander at the end of the front straightaway. This battle continued for one more turn. In fact, these two, watch as they come down the straightaway. A puff of smoke from St. Peter's car, and they touch, but nobody gets up and over. But the puff of smoke would be a bad sign, as St. Peter would end up being passed by Dan Badu for third place. And there was the pass as Badu gets inside the slowing Jeff St. Peter. Meanwhile, fifth place, Randy Eller does his impersonation of Walker Evans, getting way outside on the course and going over the edge. Now the 9:05 of Dan Badu gets bogged down in the mud, and Jeff St. Peter got back into third place. It turned out to really be second because Todd Attic ends up braking and pulling over by the side as Art Schmidt wins his third straight Class 9-10 event on the Soda Series. Behind Schmidt in the final standings, it was Jeff St. Peter, Tom Schwartzberg in third, Todd Attic in fourth, and Randy Eller rounding out the top five. Now, as far as the Pro Series point standings in Class 9-10, it's now 8 points separating Schmidt and St. Peter. Schwartzberg with 46 has an outside shot, but he's going to need some help in the last two events. Heavy metal championship time here at Luxemberg as the trucks pull out onto the race course. This is the big showdown, Ivan, between Class 8, Class 4, and here is what it's all about.
Marty, this has always been the big controversy. Can a two-wheel drive beat a four-wheel drive? They must conform to the class rules and must have competed in a class race today.
Let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. Remember earlier today, Walker Evans won in Class 8. He'll be in the 817 Dodge. Jack Flannery in the number 435 Chevrolet will also be in this starting field. Jed Flannery, Jack's son, will be in the number 812. And also in the starting field will be Jeff Dorr. He'll be in the Ford. He'll have number 400 on the side. Scott Taylor will also be here in the number 800 Ford. He not doing well. He'd probably like to have the 7S out there with all the victories he's had in that class. Chad Hall in the number 411. That's one of the Dodge contingent. And as we look at the rest of the starting field, remember, this is for bragging rights only. No points involved in this showdown event.
Marty, this is going to be really interesting, this particular race, because these short straightaways, I don't know who's going to have the advantage.
Let's take a look at in-cars. This is Jeff Dorr out the front of his Ford. Then Scott Taylor. And the rear view here, as you see, and then we also have the suspension camera on Scott's car, and then Jack Flannery out the front of his Chevrolet. Ready for the green flag, and this race is underway, and whoa, great start.
Look at the acceleration of Jack Flannery. He will accelerate.
Whoa! And Flannery gets it up on the bicycle. Down the front straightaway with Greg Gerlach, who's going to take the lead.
Whoa.
Oh, Chad Hall. Hall gets turned around sideways, makes a nice recovery, but it's going to move him back to the back. And Chad Schluter gets into one of the light poles here at the track, and he's in for a tough day. Gerlach, and he gets spun around on two wheels and hands the lead to Jack Flannery.
Look at the back of Jack's truck. They've already had some damage.
Scott Taylor is second. Walker Evans is third. Let's take a look at what happens to Chad Schluter. There you see him right into the light pole. Boy, he took care of that.
He smacked that one a good one.
So Chad gets turned around, and look at the damage. He has a flat left rear, so that's going to take care of his day as far as any chances are concerned. And whoa, Scott Taylor on the bicycle, and Walker Evans right behind him. Ford against Dodge in this battle. The Chevrolet up front. Oh, and the Ford of Scott Taylor just too hot for the corner.
He just got too hot in the corner. He just felt he couldn't make it without getting up on two wheels again. Those corners are really getting loose, Marty, and that's what happens. They get up on two wheels, and he didn't want to take that chance.
On board with Jeff Dorr. That is a battle for sixth position. Jed Flannery right in front of him. Again, that's a Chevy versus Ford battle. And Chevy in front as of this moment.
Two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Let's see what Jeff can do, though. He's got the four-wheel drive and the horsepower.
Yes, Jed Flannery gets wide in that wet section of the course. Back up front, you can see Jack Flannery's opened the lead over Walker Evans. Third place is Scott Taylor. And he's trying to reel Evans back in. Then there is fourth place. That is Jamie Flannery. He's in the 815, and Dan Vandenheuvel in the 809 is fifth. Oh, Flannery's got control right now. Notice the two-wheel drive just having trouble hooking up.
That's what's happening, Marty. The four-wheel drive is just accelerated right on these little short straightaways and making a difference to have that four-wheel drive.
Now that's a battle for seventh. Dave Hawkers, Chad Hall, and Brian Frankenberg. So these guys having a good battle back in the pack. Now remember, Chad Hall had that rough contact at the beginning of this race, and you can see the damage on his right rear quarter panel. He's behind Dave Hockers. Here is Jamie Flannery and Dan Vanden Heuvel. That's a battle for fourth. Little love tap there saying, son, I'm back here.
And look at the made a pass on Jamie there. Just he's really getting aggressive.
And that means fourth place now belongs to Vanden Heuvel, and Jeff Dorr is now attacking Jamie Flannery as well for fifth. Walker Evans, second place. Look out on the bicycle. That's going to cost him a position. There goes Scott Taylor, and Evans may be out of this race.
Yeah, he's killed the motor. No, he's got it going again, Marty.
All right, but it's going to be very costly in that back section, and he has lost several positions. Scott Taylor now in second place. Take a look. Oh, look at how much mud up underneath on that suspension.
Oh, that's a great shot. That shows how the suspension is moving. When it gets in the air, it gets real calm and hangs down. That's when the truck is flying.
And out the back. Look at how much dirt he is pitching.
There is a couple ton of dirt coming out the back of that truck.
Well, you definitely don't want to be standing behind Scott Taylor right now. He is throwing up a ton.
And that's exactly what goes into the radiator. That's why we're having a lot of engine problems here today.
Here's the leaderboard at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Jack Flannery on top in the Heavy Metal Championship. Stay with us. The final moments are coming up. Back in Luxemberg, Wisconsin, the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart. This is the Heavy Metal Championship, and there is your leader, Jack Flannery, as he makes his way around that tight 180-degree course. That's John Conitzer in the blue truck. He is lap traffic. Second place, Scott Taylor. Third place is Walker Evans in the Dodge. That is lap traffic. Bob Bemmels in front, and Walker having a tough time reeling him in.
Walker dived. Oops, there we go up the two wheels again. These corners are really getting chewed up, Marty. That's the real challenge for these Class 8s. So the two-wheel drive, you got to pitch him in the corner.
Dan Vanden Heuvel up, and it looks like he may have gone over. Yes. Jamie Flannery and Jeff Dorr get by, but Vanden Heuvel. Let's take a look from inside Jeff Dorr's car.
We talk about Dan getting aggressive, and he gets a little bit aggressive right here, just a little bit too much. He caught that berm, and over he goes, Marty.
Oh, and Dorr has to take evasive action to keep from T-boning it.
That's off-road racing at its best.
So Vanden Heuvel and his co-rider safely out of the truck, but that's going to do it for their day. And that corner will go yellow for the remainder of the race. They'll try and get that cleared away. On board again now, that is Jed Flannery, son of Jack, right in front of the old man, and saying, oh, Dad, please don't put me a lap down.
And I'm sure Jack's going to give him a little nudge and say, son, move over. I'm coming through. I got time to waste. Walker's back there.
Well, heading down into turn one. Oh, there it was. A little up tap saying, oh, boy, you want to keep driving, get out of the way. Jack gets around. That's Bob Bemmels' lap traffic as well behind, and he gets safely past son Jed. I'm sure there'll be a few discussions after the race is over on that one. There's second place, and Scott Taylor just not able to reel him in. No, Walker Evans, he's got a problem.
He's got a definite problem. Looked like something that's
flat right front.
He's got a flat tire, Marty. You're right.
Flat right front for Walker Evans, and look at the lap traffic behind him. Everybody coming around, and he's heading for the pit. So that's going to do it for Walker's chances here at the Heavy Metal Championship. That's Bob Bemmels, and behind him is the battle for third. Jamie Flannery in the 8:15, and Jeff Dorr, and there is the onboard camera with Dorr. Dorr gets into the quarter panel. Flannery holds the position. This is for third place on the race course. Dorr, you would think he'd be able to work his way around quickly, but he's got four-wheel drive compared to two-wheel drive.
Well, he's got the motor and he's got the acceleration, but he got these little short straightaways, and then the corner, he just doesn't have time to make a move, and he's not diving in there. He's going to have to get more aggressive.
Oh, and look at the flat left rear. That's going to make it a lot easier to get around.
Yeah, Jamie's got a problem. You know, it's funny the amount of flat tires we have. I don't see rocks in the course, but the guys are sliding into these berms, I think, Marty, and knocking the tire off.
Let's go back up front. That is Jack Flannery. Oh, and Bob Bemmels comes together with the race leader.
Oh, he's got to be careful. He's only got one lap to go. Don't do that.
Talk about getting close to cutting the tire or getting spun out or anything else. Jack Flannery, a close moment there, but he recovers, and one lap to go.
He's got a good lead. He's comfortable. He's, again, just get on down to the finish line and win another race.
Second place is Scott Taylor, and remember the battle for third. There is Scott, and again, he's got an overheating problem.
He does. That's the engine overheating. He's back in that mud, and you can see the mud right there on the suspension shot. And that goes into the radio, the same thing.
Boy, that vehicle doing a lot of work, as they all do, trying to make it over this tough layout here at Luxemberg, Wisconsin, the final lap. And it's not so much the suspension holding out, will the radiator hold out? Here comes Jack Flannery. The checkered flag is out. He's going to win the heavy metal showdown here in Luxemberg, Wisconsin. He takes the checkered flag, and when we come back, we'll talk to him at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Let's take a look at the final results in the Heavy Metal Championship here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Jack Flannery in front of Scott Taylor and Jeff Dorr. Son Jed finishes in 4th and John Conitzer in 5th. Biggest surprise, we expected Walker Evans to finish up higher. He's in 10th. Let's go down to victory lane and Ivan Stewart.
Jack, you're making a real habit out of this. You did this race just exactly like you had a strategy. You got a good start, stayed real clean. The truck like it just performed perfect.
Yeah, I did, Ivan. You're exactly right. I try to keep my truck clean, at least on the starts back here, because, you know, it's just so critical. If you don't have a healthy truck, you're most likely going to get beat anyway. So first lap or so, I just try to keep that truck healthy. I try to run as hard as everybody else is, and as soon as I can get a position, I start grabbing them, and that's what happened. These good years was hooking up hard, and I'll tell you what, they was doing everything I could ask his tire to do.
The only thing I was a little bit worried about, you were a little patient in traffic. I could see Scott Taylor getting closer and closer. Were you watching him, or do you have radio communication knowing that he was getting as close as he was?
If you notice, I hit my son pretty hard. You know, I gave him long enough, and he was holding a pretty good groove, and he was holding about the same groove I wanted. I could see Scotty was coming up a little bit, and I gave my boy a pretty good hit down there, but he got out of my way then. This truck weighs 50-some hundred pounds, and it gave him a pretty good hit, but, you know, that's racing out there, and I don't think I hurt either one of us, and got around him, and after that, I could do everything I wanted to do. I just kind of held my position and kept everybody where I wanted to.
Well, our congratulations to Jack Flannery and all the winners today in Luxembourg, Wisconsin at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Accommodations for the ESPN crew provided by the Comfort Suites in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, Marty, as far as the points go, it looks like Class 8 is going to be the battle to watch. Walker Evans and Jack Flannery only 1 point separated. So it's going to be a big battle there.
Well, for Ivan Stewart, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us in Luxembourg, Wisconsin for the Chevrolet. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to the I-96 Speedway in Lake Odessa, Michigan for the True Value Great Northern Challenge. It's all part of the SOTA World Series of Off-Road Racing. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and as we head to the final 2 races in the Pro Series Points Showdown, we have got a classic battle between 4 drivers. They are separated by 5 points. Walker Evans is on top by 1 over Jack Flannery. With some very consistent finishes, Dave Hawkers is in 3rd by 4 points, and Scott Taylor in 4th by only 5 points. Working with me on the broadcast, as always, is Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart, and I guess it's time for these guys to unload both barrels. You can't afford to save anything from here out.
Well, you're right, Marty. If they're going to win this championship, the guys have got to come out here and they got to bring the horsepower. This is a fast track. They got to get serious. No more conservative racing here. Time's running out. They've got to get on the throttle.
Now, would you rather be the man up front, Walker Evans, or would you rather be the guys behind chasing him?
No, I'd rather be up front. I always want them guys chasing me, and I'm sure that's what Walker and the other guys would say the same thing. You want to be out front, you want them guys behind you.
Ivan, you talked about it. This is an extremely fast layout.
It is, Mark. It's a little over a mile track, but one of the interesting things is going to be the start. The guys start on an off-camber, existing sprint car track. This high-speed sweeper off to the right. A lot of action, 80 miles an hour. 3 different 180-degree corners here. Getting loose is gnarly. A lot of action is going to happen right there.
Great combination of speed and corners. You can see the off-camber starting area on the dirt oval. There is Walker Evans. Now, he goes into today's race with a 1-point lead in Class 8. How does that affect strategy?
No, I'm not going to hold back, and I'm not going to be looking back over my shoulder. I'm going to drive that Dodge as hard as I can drive it. I've come to win this championship, and I mean I'm going to win it.
Marty, let's take a look and see what Class 8's all about. 2-wheel drive production pickup. Engine is 600 to 800 cubic inches, 500 to 850 horsepower. Minimum weight of 3,700 pounds.
Now here is the Chevrolet starting field, and there is the man everybody's chasing from Riverside, California, Walker Evans. Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin, age 40. He'll be in the number 815. Dave Hawkers from De Pere, Wisconsin, age 31. He is currently in 3rd in the points. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois, age 37. One of the pleasant surprises this season, Dan Vandenheuvel from Appleton, Wisconsin. And in Pat Flanagan's number 877 for the first time, John Greaves from De Pere, Wisconsin. We normally see him in 7S. Now, here's the rest of the starting field. And, Ivan, you can see the banking on the dirt track.
That's right, Marty. You'll notice when they accelerate up, you're going to see him slide sideways, I'm sure.
That is Walker Evans with Jed Flannery right in front of him. And that's the suspension cam shot in Scott Taylor's Ford. So we're ready to go racing. The green flag is dropped. And just as you said, everybody's starting to head to the bottom.
Oh, that's Jed Flannery and Brian Donlevy, Marty.
Boy, and they get tangled, and they're tied up, and it hurts Walker Evans. They finally break free, and Evans is going to find himself back in the pack. That's Dan Vanden Heuvel up on the high part of the oval, and he spins it all the way around, and he's going to be hurt. And there's Jack Flannery going around. What's happening?
They got up in a loose up, Marty. It's really loose out there. It's really slick. They've really got to watch that.
Boy, and Flannery, he's disappeared. He's off the entire track. Now, this is where they come off the course. Walker is now third, and look at how loose these two corners that we talked about. These are the two 180s at the north end of the track. On board right now with Walker Evans. In front of him is Scott Taylor, and Dave Hockers is currently leading this race. Now remember, Hockers is third in the points. He has not won yet this season in Class 8, but he has been very, very consistent. And now Scott Taylor's gotten around him.
They've got to be aggressive, but yet they've still got to be concerned about the points. But they're driving hard. Watch Walker Evans here. He's coming hard.
So it is right now a three-truck battle. Hockers is under attack from Walker Evans. Now this is the second of those 180-degree turns that we talked about. Oh, and Taylor has spun all the way around. Hockers got loose, and now Evans is loose.
That's got so loose out there, they're almost to get stuck.
So that corner has become very treacherous. Brian Donlevy again, and look at what happens. He spins all the way out and into the barrier.
Well, look at what's happening, Marty, is it's real slick. It's wet up here. Right there where Jack Flannery did the same thing. It's real slick, then it gets real, real loose.
Dan Vanden Heuvel, John Conitzer, and Jack Flannery all hung up there. Now Dave Hockers back in front of Scott Taylor. What a win this would be if Hockers could pull this off. But here comes Taylor diving on the outside.
Diving and just driving deeper. But he lost it again back out in the loose stuff.
It is so loose out there. It's very hard for us to describe for you just how loose it is. But these guys can't get any side bite.
That's exactly right. It's tough. It's a very tricky track. You'd think it'd be a relatively simple track. Short, but yet it's tricky as heck.
Notice the consistency of Dave Hockers. Every race this year in the Pro Points Series, he has finished in the top 5. On board again with Walker Evans. This is a great three-truck race. They're in the triple jump section. Now remember, they're going to be heading into this corner up here that is under yellow. There are the yellow flags because this is where the spin out occurred last time around with Brian Donlevy. Everybody follows the pattern, but boy, look how loose this is down here. They're still having trouble.
Well, they're playing it smart. You know, they've learned that how slick it is and it's loose. You know, it's going to cost them a lot of time to get out in that loose stuff, so they'll be a little bit more careful now, Mark.
Dave Hockers, Scott Taylor, Walker Evans. That's your top 3 in Class 8 action. Now this is the battle for 5th. That's Dan Vanden Heuvel, Jack Flannery behind him.
Again, that tricky part of the course is loose. We see how Jack negotiates that. Dan gets loose. He got way sideways. It cost him a lot of time.
Back to the lead pack. It is still Dave Hockers leading this trio down into this first of the two 180-degree turns at the north end of the racetrack. This one doesn't seem to be as loose as the other one.
That's right, Marty. But I tell you what, he's got a bunch of horsepower behind him. We better not make any mistakes right now.
Now that is turn 2. They're now heading into turn 3, which is the other 180-degree turn. Off camber here, you can go over if you're not careful.
That's right. Now Scott Taylor's in a particular tricky situation here because he don't want Walker to get by him, but yet he's got to get by. He's got to get out in front and put some time on Walker because Walker will catch him.
John Greaves running Pat Flanagan's truck like it hasn't been run all season, trying to take 4th position away from Jed Flannery. And it looks like he's going to do it.
He does, and he holds that tight line. That was a good move.
Back up through the triple jumps. There is Jack Flannery, and Flannery rolls it. Flannery.
He hooked that berm, Marty. He got out there loose, threw it in a little hard, and that's what happens in off-road racing.
So Jack Flannery is out of this race, and it looks as though he's okay as they are climbing out of the vehicle. Let's take another look at it.
He just come in there awfully hard to hit that loose stuff.
We talked about this being off camber, and if you got in there too deep, too hard, you were going to go over, and Jack Flannery, the last guy you would probably expect that to happen to, is the first to take it over. And there is Jack, the taller of the two. That's little Joe Aguirre, his co-rider today. They're both okay, and that's the best news. Now, let's go back to the battle up front. Hockers, this is the suspension, and take a look at what this looks like. Great shot. I don't know how long the camera will last, but we'll be back for more at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Stay with us. Class 8 action continues back at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart, and this is the battle up front. We are still under yellow in this particular corner, and Ivan looks like there's a pass right there by Walker Evans around both vehicles.
Oh, Marty's got to be careful doing that. You can sure get penalized.
Now, if SOTA officials caught that maneuver, we could see a black flag for Walker Evans. We'll keep our eye out for it. I'm sure that Dave Hockers and Scott Taylor, currently running second and third, are not going to be happy with that maneuver.
I think it was a safe pass, but a lot of times under the yellow, you just can't make a pass like that, Marty. We'll see what happens.
The rule states if the yellow's out, you can't pass until you get past the accident location. There is a pass for second place. Scott Taylor has moved Dave Hockers back to third. Now they're approaching turn 3. Remember, this is where Jack Flannery went over just a few laps ago. Walker Evans in front. Remember, he leads the Class 8 points championship by 1. John Konitzer is lap traffic in front of Walker, and it looks as though he gets past him safely.
Whoa, where's Dave Hockers?
Hockers should be right behind Taylor. Here he comes, but he's got trouble. Look at the left rear suspension, Ivan. It is torn off, and he is going to be out of this race, and this is really going to hurt Dave Hockers. Third in the points. He had always finished, and here is the man who's fifth in the points, Jed Flannery. He has got a big problem. So Hockers and Jed Flannery are dropping out of this race, and it's really going to hurt them in the Pro Points Series. In fact, it looks as though Flannery is working the vehicle back towards the pit area, and there he goes. Yes, he will be taking it back for some serious repairs.
Whoa, Scott Taylor's getting aggressive here. But Marty, notice right here how high he is in the groove. He's way out there in that loose stuff, and it cost him a little time. Walker Evans got away from a little bit.
You saw how he got a little bit sideways. Now they're heading down towards turn 2. Dodge versus Ford right now, and oh, a little nudge. Taylor lets Walker know, I'm still back here.
That's good racing. Just enough to say, come on, Walker, let's go, let's go.
Now we've got one stationary left in turn number 3. They're approaching it right now. That is for the rollover of Jack Flannery. Walker Evans in front of Scott Taylor through this corner. Remember, off camber, you get too hot, you're going to go over. John Greaves, look at this.
Oh, he's doing great. First time in a Class 8 truck.
And in third place with Pat Flanagan's Chevrolet, and doing an excellent job running in third. He's running through turn 2 right now and getting through that corner very well. Now this is turn number 4, heading back onto the straightaway, and Walker Evans having to go wide again, and Scott Taylor's closing.
He's got a wobble. Something's wrong with the front of the truck. He's got a flat, right front flat, Marty.
The right front of Walker Evans has gone down. So Scott Taylor has taken advantage, and this could really help him in the points championship. Remember, first place is worth 20 points.
If Walker can hang in here for second, that'll really help the situation. If he can just keep going now.
Now remember, Walker won back at Luxembourg, our last stop. Scott Taylor was second. Right now, those positions have reversed. And boy, Walker is losing contact. Now the question becomes, do you stop and make the tire change, or do you try and fight it through to the end?
That's a decision they've got to make, and I'm sure he's in contact with his radio and his crew. I'm going to guess that he'll just keep going. That's what I'd do anyway, Marty. Just keep going.
Whoa, a big spin by Brian Dunleavy. Now that is down in turn number 1, again on the very fast left-hander that sweeps around onto the backstretch of the dirt oval. There goes Scott Taylor through the screen. Here comes Walker Evans, and now the question becomes, Ivan, is he doing too much damage to the truck? Because look, it's really digging in right through this corner.
That's right. You can take a chance of breaking a ball joint or something now. You got to be real careful.
Oh, no, look at that. That was a big explosion inside the cockpit area of the Dodge of Walker Evans. Let's take another look from inside.
Oh, yeah, there was definitely an explosion there. That had to be a transmission or a motor part or something blew up inside there. That was not the tire.
Take another look and see. It looks like it's back from the engine compartment.
You can even see a piece blowing out underneath the truck. That had to be a big, something really blew up there. Walker's limping. He hurt himself somehow.
Well, if that's a transmission, it could come right up through the floorboard. It could have hit him on the leg. We will check and find out in what kind of condition he is in. But Walker Evans, the points leader, will not be the points leader in Class 8 by the end of this race.
I just saw a puff of smoke coming out of Scott Taylor's truck. Could this open the door for Johnny Greaves?
Well, speaking of Greaves, he's now in second place. This is the best run he's had all year. He's had a horrible season in Class 7S. And taking over Pat Flanagan's truck, he may bring it home in second. And if something goes wrong with Scott Taylor, as Dan Vandenheuvel has got a flat left rear tire as well, he's trying to nurse his truck home to the checkered flag to pick up as many points as possible. There is race leader Scott Taylor. Now he's got to gingerly get around Dan Vandenhoevel. He's got one more turn to negotiate. He's into the triple jump section for the last time.
He'll be extremely careful now. Obviously, he knows exactly what's going on. Walker's out. He's just got to get back to this checkered flag now, Marty.
Last turn coming up. We'll look for the smoke. Does sound rough.
It does a little bit. He's got a little bit of an engine problem, possibly.
So there is smoke in Scott Taylor's truck, but it's going to hold on long enough for Taylor to take the Class 8 championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. And he will be a very happy man because he picks up 20 points in the Pro Series Points Championship. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner.
If you were the...
Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. And as you take a look at the final results, a great run in his first race in Class 8 for second place, John Greaves. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart and our winner. Ivan?
Scott, that had to be one of the tougher ones of your career, knowing the points race is so close. That should give you a pretty good lead, though.
Yes, we had to figure it out where we had to win the next two. And no matter where Walker finished, if he finished second at both this weekend and 2 weeks from now, we'd be able to beat him. And this was one that we had to win, and now we've got a little bit of a cushion. So we're feeling really good about this one, Ivan.
Well, let's take a look at that cushion in the Pro Series point standings for Class 8 action. Scott Taylor now leads Dave Hawkers by 8. Walker Evans in third with 54. Jack Flannery with 53. And then as we take a look, Jed Flannery drops from 5th to 7th place in the Pro Series point standings. Going to be very, very tough for anybody to unseat Scott Taylor with one race remaining. On board with Jack Flannery as he has now climbed into his Class 4 Chevrolet, and this is the truck to beat in the Pro Series point standings. You can see he has a huge margin over Jeff Dorr. In fact, Dorr must win and hope that Flannery finishes 11th or worse. There is Flannery on the outside of row number 1, Ivan. No pressure today, really.
No, he's pretty comfortable. He should be looking pretty good here, Marty.
He finishes 10th or better. It doesn't matter what Jeff Dorr does. Now, this is what Class 4 is all about.
This is four-wheel drive production pickup. Engine can make 600 to 800 cubic inches, 5 to 800 horsepower. Vehicle must weigh 8 pounds per cubic inch.
Starting field, Jack Flannery in his Chevrolet from Crandon, Wisconsin, the man to beat. Jeff Dorr from Rockford, Illinois, second in the point standings. And third in the points, Kevin Probst from New Lenox, Illinois. The man who's running 6th in the points from Marquette, Michigan is Jack Heitman. He'll be in the 406 today. Gerald Foster. Foster currently 4th, doing really well from Noble, Illinois. Chad Hall makes the long haul from Reno, Nevada. He'll be in the number 411. And here is the rest of the starting field. And with no real pressure on Flannery, what do you think he does? Does he play it safe, or does he go for the win?
Well, I tell you, Marty, if I was on the outside front row like he is, I'd break away, try and get out there, get a good start, and get away from this traffic. I wouldn't want to take a chance of getting hung up with anybody.
Here comes the start, and there is Kevin Probst jumping out in front of Jack Flannery. So the strategy didn't work, if that's what he was trying, heading into turn 1. Remember the fast sweeper? We had a lot of spins early in the going Class 8, and boy, with the dust kicking up, it is tough to see coming through that turn.
It looks like they've got to do pretty well. Remember, these are four-wheel drive, so it's going to be easier to negotiate that slippery corner, Marty.
Down into the first of 3 180-degree turns. It is Kevin Probst in front of Jack Flannery, and then Jeff Dorr back in the pack right now in third, losing contact with the front two.
It looks like everybody getting through there pretty well. Even though it's awfully dusty, that can be pretty hazardous.
In 4th place, it looks like Jim Latiga, and on board right now with Jack Flannery. You are looking at the back end, and look at the mud being kicked up into the face of Jack Flannery by Kevin Probst.
Kevin's been strong. He always starts strong. He looks good. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of speed, and then he has problems.
The last 2 races, he has finished out of the top 5 because of mechanical problems after finishing 2nd at the first 2 rounds at Lake Geneva and Antigo. Right now, he is opening up a huge lead. Now that is Jack Heitman chasing Chad Hall. Greg Gerlach is in the yellow number 402. That is 5th, 6th, and 7th on board again now with Jack Flannery.
Kevin pulls away, but watch Jack Flannery as he just drives a little deeper into the corners, Marty.
Getting another face full of mud. Whoa, and looks a little loose through that corner.
It is loose. He just pitches sideways, went off and loose stuff, and look what he's lost.
I'm wondering if he's having a front transfer case problem, because that's not common for a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but he's reeling him in here.
He is. I think he's all right. He just got out there that loose stuff and cost him a little time.
Takes a look to the inside. You're on board with Jack Flannery, but Probst doesn't let him get by. They're into the triple jumps now.
This is a good shot of the back of Kevin's car, and I always notice this car bouncing the back. I never did like the way it handles. I need to work on that.
You think that slows it down?
Well, I do. Plus, it's hard on the drivetrain.
Well, he is working his way down into turn number 4 now. Flannery takes a look on the outside. Will he try and tuck underneath? He does. Whoa, Probst gets sideways and pulls over.
He has broken something. Something's happened to his car for sure.
And Jack Flannery goes blasting past Kevin Probst. Could the mechanical gremlins be striking Probst for the 3rd race in a row? What a disappointment that would be. Flannery, all he has to do is finish 10th or better. He's currently leading this race.
He is having an unbelievable year. Ever since Lake Geneva, we finished 3rd. He's won every race out here, Marty.
Dominance has been the key word for Jack Flannery. That is Jim Latiga in 4th, Chad Schluter in 5th, and they are down into turn 1. And then there is Gerald Foster. In fact, Foster is being pursued by Chad Hall, 4th through 7th, and you'll see Hall right there at the very back of the screen. So these 4 within striking distance of each other, but no one within striking distance of Jack Flannery.
No, he's got a big lead. There's nobody going to catch him, I don't believe, Marty.
This is some great action as we're on board with Jack Flannery at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Class 4 action. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Great Northern Challenge in Lake Odessa, Michigan at the I-96 Speedway. And there is your race leader, Jack Flannery, getting around Bob Bemmels right in front of him. That is 2nd place Jeff Dorr, and Dorr needs Flannery to break to have any chance at the championship.
He really does, Marty, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Jack is just having a great year. It's going to those odds are going to be slim, I'm afraid.
Now there is Latiga, Schluter, Foster, and Hall still running 3rd through 6th now on the race course. We can tell you Kevin Probst has pulled off during commercial break, so he is out of this race. Back on board now with Jack Flannery as he is in heavy, heavy lap traffic, Ivan.
And we're losing parts of a race car right in front of him, Marty. I see something come off.
Now that is Bob Bemmels, so he has yet to get around him. Remember, we saw him trying to pass him through turn 1 before, so he is definitely getting out of the throttle and picking his spots here. Real smart move.
He really is. He wants those points. He knows he's got to finish. If Jeff Dorr's going to catch him, he's going to have to break, and that's not going to happen. I think he can be real cautious here.
About the only thing that could take him out is if he got tangled up with one of these lap vehicles, and boy, he's just given him plenty of space.
He really is. He's being careful. A lot of dust here, too. I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same thing.
Championship on the line. He could be the first to clinch in the 4 classes that are running for the Pro Series points titles this year in the SOTA World Series of off-road racing.
He's staying down tight. He's right in that black groove. He's trying to get these guys underneath. Why is the way to make it? That's the way to stay out of trouble.
Boy, Bemmels will not move over. Oh, he gave him a little nudge.
He says, here I am. I got to come by now.
Now Bemmels does get out of the way. 2 laps. Oh, ooh. And that could have been very dangerous.
He should be careful with that.
Flannery getting a little impatient all of a sudden. Gets into Greg Gerlach on the side panel, but luckily no driver sustains damage. Now Gerlach is running in 7th place, and he has only finished, as you can see, in the top 5 once this year. It's been a long season for Greg.
It has. He's had a tough year. Actually, he ought to let Jack go by. I mean, he's being lapped. He should let him go on by and let him win this race.
Remember, there are no mirrors on board to speak of for these guys to look out, but you can usually sense when someone is breathing down your back.
You know, on these 180-degree corners like this one, he's going to get by him right here.
Flannery gets on the gas. The 4-wheel drive Chevrolet pulls ahead of Greg Gerlach. So now he is finally safely through with 1 lap to go here in the Class 4 championship. Chad Schluter, who earlier won Class 3 action, is doing extremely well, running 3rd.
I did notice on Jack's truck that the grill was getting lots and lots of mud, so he may be kind of watching for an engine heating problem.
Now there is Gerald Foster. He's running 4th behind Chad Schluter, and Chad Hall close behind in 5th. So still some great action going on with 1 lap remaining for the battles for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But here is race leader Jack Flannery again approaching some lap traffic. That appears to be Jack Heidman, and I bet you he takes his time here.
Yeah, same thing. I'm sure he will, buddy. He's watching the gauges and taking it easy, trying to get back to that checker flag.
This is where you hear every little thing that can possibly go wrong with the vehicle in your mind, saying, please don't be something breaking.
This could be a championship right here if he can make it the checker flag.
So with 1 race remaining, Jack Flannery is going to win Class 4 and the points championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. We'll talk to our winner right after this. Back at the True Value Great Northern Challenge, Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart and Jeff Dorr gave it all he could, but Jack Flannery takes the victory for the 4th time in a row this season and the championship. Ivan Stewart's in victory lane with our winner.
Well, Jack, unofficially, I understand this clinches the points championship for you. You've had a fantastic year. Time and time again, we see you go out, maybe not get a fantastic start, but you do the job. You just don't make mistakes. You're doing great. What do you think?
It's a perfect race for me. You know, I just couldn't see the flag guy there. I don't know if I lost position of where he was at, or he just wasn't where we could all see him. And the other guys got a little jump on me, but I knew I'd be right up there. And I hit the first jump. I was running second or third and right tight alongside the other two guys. And like I told you before, you know, the race isn't won to the first corner. You hang in there, keep your truck clean. I knew I had a good fast truck, and when it started cleaning out, well, then I started to come on up.
Well, Ivan, tell Jack we can make it official. He has a 21-point margin with 1 race remaining over Jeff Dorr, and the most you can score in any one race is 20 points. So the Class 4 Pro Series Points Championship goes to Jack Flannery. You see the standings on down through 6 through 10. Now, those could still change dramatically as we head into our final round, the True Value World Championships in Crandon, Wisconsin. Now we're getting ready for Class 7S, and that is Scott Taylor. Now, he is the current points leader in this category. You can take a look. He holds a 17-point margin over Jim Wiggins. Al Walentowski is third with 42. Now, we talked about strategy with Scott Taylor before the race.
Today's driving strategy, I've thought about it. These guys are getting a little tired of me beating them, and you know, they're all looking at me saying, what's it going to take? So we've had 4 weeks off. I got to believe they've been working, they've been thinking, they've been tweaking. So have we. We're going to get in that truck and we're going to run it just as hard as we can run it. We've got a point to prove, we've got a series to win, and that's what I'm here to do.
Marty, just take a look and see what a Class 7 is. 2-wheel drive production, mini or mid-size pickups. Got to be 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters. They make about 200 horsepower.
Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, the points leader and winner of the championship last year. Jim Wiggins in pursuit. He trails by 17 points. And Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin, age 28. He'll be in the 707. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 705. Paul Corning from Marytown, Wisconsin. He's also in this starting field and doing very well this season in the points championship. One man who is not is John Greaves. He's in this lineup, but he has had a very tough season in his Toyota. On board right now with Scott Taylor out the front of his Ford Ranger. Green flag drops. Wiggins on the right side of your screen in the blue and yellow. 786 gets the jump and takes the early lead. That's Tom Hockers in second and John Greaves third.
He made a good move. If you watch that start, he got off from the right-hand side and pulled up real well.
On board again with Scott Taylor, and oh, he comes together with Dave Wolf.
I think they come together. It looks to me like maybe Dave came in on him, Marty.
Either that or Scott gets into Dave. Either way, the result is Wolf is spun all the way around, and now we head down as Tom Hockers tries to make a pass on the outside, and oh, he goes into the barrier, and oh, that is Scott Taylor, the third truck involved.
Well, see, this is that same corner we've had so much trouble with before. It's real slick, and then it goes into the real loose stuff, so he just slid right into him.
And Hockers having a tough time getting away from Joe Dunlap. Dunlap's the 799. Let's take another look at it.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's slick, it's real slick. The guys are going way too hot. Boom, right into that wall, and there's Scott Taylor. I tell you, if I were Scott Taylor, I think, Marty, I'd be much more careful than that.
Take a listen here as we look at it again.
Ooh, that was a hard hit, I'll tell you.
I'm surprised he's able to keep going, and boy, what a change that would have been if he would not be able to continue, because Jim Wiggins needs to win this race, and that is John Greaves right behind him.
And John is also aggressive. He's, John, I look for John, he'd take a move on the outside. If he passes him here, it's going to be one good move.
Now remember, Greaves finished second at Lake Geneva, and since then hasn't been able to find the finish line, and he ducks to the inside and takes the lead.
He's the same story. He starts off strong, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's an excellent driver in my opinion. Pitches the truck around real well, but then he has some kind of a mechanical problem. Continually some kind of a little problem comes up and bites him.
Is this a case where he doesn't have the cubic dollars to match the cubic talent that he's got?
Well, in my opinion, it is, really. He could use some more dollars to work with. A little more sponsorship would help, because I think he's got a tremendous amount of potential as far as the driver.
So he may be pushing the equipment a little further than the equipment can handle right now.
That's exactly what I think, Marty. He's got a tremendous amount of talent.
There is Jeff Kincaid. Now he is currently running third and back on board with Scott Taylor. He is fifth with all that damage.
He's got a hood damage, but it sounds like the engine's running well. I think all this stuff is only cosmetic. The engine sounds good. There's no shimmy in the steering wheel. I think that's all it is, Marty.
Well, he's closing on Paul Corning, who is in 4th, and it looks like he's going to take him.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he moved right to the inside of him. He's coming up to this hard left-hand corner. Let's see if he gets by him.
Well, he's out of sight, and yes, he is well past him, so Scott Taylor's moved into 4th.
The only thing I'd be worried about here, Marty, would be possibly a radiator, oil cooler, something like that.
Well, so far, it looks like Scott Taylor is able to continue in fine fashion at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Back with more after this. Back at the True Value Great Northern Challenge, Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. That is leader Johnny Greaves. But whoa, listen to that sound, Ivan.
He has blown something or something has happened. Look at the underneath there. Drive shaft flopping around there, Marty. He's got some kind of a drivetrain, drive shaft problem or something.
So the misfortunes of John Greaves in Class 7S continue, and he is out of this race again. While he was up front, it has happened many times. Jim Wiggins takes over the lead. That is Jeff Kincaid in 2nd.
And they're just trying to get through these, you know, these tires here have always worried me a little bit. They try and get through those tires down to this hard left-hand corner. This is a tricky corner again, Marty.
You mean the tires that mark the corner? It's a little bit deceiving from our camera angle, as it looks closer to the course than it actually is because of the depth perception. Now this is down the fast straightaway on the interior portion of the course, heading for turn 3, and it looks like Kincaid is closing.
He is, and he look like they're just protecting the line. He's going to get in the outside, see if he can't get a little bit better drive out there.
Yeah, Wiggins taking the defensive line on the inside, and it may hurt him here because he didn't come off the corner very well.
He lost a little bit of speed. That's the danger, and he's going to... And he got by him. That's a good move. That was a perfect move to make in that particular corner.
Passes him on the triple jump, and Jeff Kincaid is your new leader down into turn 4.
He's plenty aggressive. He's going to be a little bit more protective of the line, and let's see how he can do.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and Ivan the Hood comes flying off. He's in 3rd.
I'm sure he's probably glad to get rid of that. Sometimes it can be real frustrating flying up and down in front of your face there.
And flying through in 4th place through the triple jumps, that was Tom Hockers. Now there was Jeff Kincaid, and look at the margin between 1st and 2nd place. Wiggins has lost contact.
He has. He's going to have to really get with it if he's going to win this race.
Wiggins 4 times in the top 5 this year in 1993. Boy, he really needs a win, and he needs Scott Taylor to have some mechanical difficulties. Now here's Joe Dunlap and Paul Corning. That's a battle for 4th place, and Dunlap's going to take it.
Pulls around the outside. He gets out in that soft stuff, but he's going to get good drive out there, I think. We'll see if it's sometimes it works for him, sometimes it doesn't. It's starting to dry out a little bit, Marty. I think it's getting to be a better line.
Down the front straightaway in front of the grandstands here at the I-96 Speedway. Whoa! Look out! Tom Hockers just slides off the course through turn number 1, that fast sweeper.
We see these 2-wheel drive trucks, and again, these are 2-wheel drives. He got out in that loose stuff and slid right off the course.
Now this is Kincaid, followed by Wiggins, and then Scott Taylor off way into the distance in 3rd, and we are on the final lap. So it looks as though the race for Class 7S in the Pro Series Points Championship will go down to the last race of the season, but it is going to be Scott Taylor in command.
But Scott Taylor's made up a lot of ground on these guys. He's really pulled up on them, Marty.
Right now, I'm sure he's going to be very happy to escape with 3rd place points after that crash in the very first lap of this race. Now that is lap traffic in front of our winner, Jeff Kincaid, and Kincaid's going to get the checkered flag right here as he takes the win on the outside to claim the 7S race here at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. We'll come back to talk with our winner and update the points championship right after this. Well, let's check the final results at the True Value Great Northern Challenge in Class 7S. Jeff Kincaid snapped Scott Taylor's 3-race winning streak, taking his 2nd victory of the year, and Ivan Stewart's in victory lane with the winner.
Well, Jeff, you really had the Valvoline Ford really hooked up today. It looked like it was running just fantastic.
Yeah, it run great today. We didn't know what to run for tires today. And we was asking little Joe from Goodyear, and we was asking and asking. Nobody really know for sure. But little Joe set us up with a pair of them. They hooked up pretty good. We got spun around in the first corner here, let them all go, but we got them back right away. They hooked up and went real good.
Well, let's check the Class 7S Pro Series point standings because Scott Taylor holds a 15-point margin now over Jim Wiggins. It is a 2-man race. 15 points. Remember, you get 20 for a victory in each round. So it is going to be up to Wiggins to force the issue at the last round, which will be the True Value World Championships coming from Crandon, Wisconsin. Now, we can't show you all the action today from Lake Odessa and the I-96 Speedway, but we do want to show you highlights from Class 9-10 because the Pro Series Championship in this group is up for grabs between two drivers. Unlimited buggies, co-riders are optional. Maximum CC displacement of 1650, and these motors will put out about 150 horsepower. And there it is, Art Schmidt and Jeff St. Peter. Schmidt leads by 8 points in this division with 2 races remaining. This is definitely up for grabs. And when the green flag dropped, it was Todd Addig in the 922, right in the middle of your screen, takes advantage of his front row starting position and takes the early lead. Points leader Art Schmidt got tangled up with Dan Badeau, who hit the tires. That knocked Schmidt out of the race and opened the door for Jeff St. Peter. Now, this is Todd Addig, and he had opened up a huge lead over Don Ponder, and the man in third place was St. Peter. And all he could smell was blood because he knew at this point that he had everything to gain just by finishing the race. Fourth place, Ken Poole got tangled up with lap traffic earlier, crushing part of his steering. He couldn't turn there, and he runs into the tire barriers. 903, Tom Schwartzberg, the 1088 of Jack Hainland, Greg Ward, all battling for 8th. Schwartzberg and Ward make contact, and Schwartzberg takes 8th place with a very tough inside pass. Jeff St. Peter gets his break and takes over 2nd as Don Ponder can't see very well. The lid on the front of the car comes right up in his face. You can see he's got about 3 inches to see. St. Peter goes on by and now was in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Todd Addig was up front, and he was going to take the checkered flag to win the Class 9-10 championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Here was the way the finishing order stood at the end of the race, with Jeff St. Peter 2nd and picking up 16 valuable points, which would mean, as we take a look at the points championship, it would now be Jeff St. Peter with a 2-point margin over Art Schmidt with 1 race remaining. Now, as we get ready for the Heavy Metal Championship, you know, suspension always plays a key role in all of off-road racing. Ivan Stewart takes a look at the setup of suspension.
Ever wonder how one of these big trucks weighing 5,000 pounds can run 100 miles an hour off an 8-foot jump, come down without completely self-destructing? Let me show you the suspension on these trucks. This is Scott Taylor's Class 8, and he uses a coil spring type of suspension right here.
And this is Jack Flannery's truck. You can see this is a coil-over suspension. If the coil spring is wrapped around the shock absorber. Also, you can see this hydraulic bump stop. That compresses as this big truck comes off these big jumps. Gerald Foster's truck, this is a conventional long leaf spring type of suspension. This is the earlier style. This is an older type of suspension. He also uses 4 shock absorbers. And this is John Greaves' Toyota. You can see he uses a torsion bar type of suspension. This bar actually winds up and absorbs that energy as the truck comes off these big jumps. Your truck can have all the horsepower in the world, but if it doesn't handle those 3 jumps on a race course, you're not going to get in the winner's circle.
Now we're getting ready for the Heavy Metal Showdown. Let's go back to Class 8 action because this is the transmission explosion suffered by Walker Evans in that race. Now, remember, he got out of the truck limping. Here's the reason why. Look at the hole in the floorboard right next to the accelerator pedal. Let's get an update on his right foot.
Well, it's not broken. It's bruised real bad. It's starting to turn black and blue. We're going to make the best of it. I'm certain that it's going to be all right. I'll tell you, it was a scary little deal for a moment, though.
Now, there was a lot of shrapnel flying around in there. Are you going to make any design changes?
Well, certainly. After something like that, we're going to put a scatter shield and a scatter blanket around the transmission. After all, 2 things is better than 1, and I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Well, as we look at the requirements for heavy metal, it probably would be a good idea for everybody to have one of those scatter blankets, Ivan.
Well, I agree, Marty. Remember, these engines, some of them turn in the neighborhood of 8,000 RPMs.
Let's get ready now for the Heavy Metal Showdown with the Chevrolet starting field. Jack Flannery, he's the winner in Class 4. Walker Evans is going to be able to make this race. He'll be in the 817 Dodge. Scott Taylor in the Ford. Now remember, 800 numbers are 2-wheel drive. 400 numbers, like Greg Gerlach, are 4-wheel drive. Chad Hall also in this race. He had a good run in the Class 4 championship earlier. Kevin Probst made the repairs after suffering breakage in Class 4 action. He'll make the starting field, as will Jack Heitman from Marquette, Michigan. He'll be in the number 406. And this is a huge field. As we look at the rest of the grid, it's going to be interesting to see what happens through this first turn and down the straightaway.
That's right, Marty. This is going to be a hard one to call because this track is so tricky. There's some good fast corners. There's some tight ones. It's going to be hard to call.
Now that's out the back of Jack Flannery's Chevrolet, and guess who is right behind him? That's right, Walker Evans, out the front of Scott Taylor's Ford, and the pack as well.
I tell you what, this is going to be interesting, Marty. Again, this is bragging rights only. They're off.
And that's John Greaves on the pole inside position, but he is not going to take the early lead as he gets a little loose. Greg Gerlach in the number 402, the truck on the outside, and Jack Heitman gets a great start.
That's a perfect example of four-wheel drive. Whoop, we got a spin already.
Oh, that is Kevin Probst. Will he get collected? Oh, Walker Evans gets held up by him. No contact. But look, it's Probst again, and Walker gets into him that time. Oh, and then Walker gets slammed by another truck.
He just got hit hard. There had to be some damage on that one.
Probst has a flat tire. That is the problem that got him spinning around twice, because Kevin is a better driver than that. But look at this. Next to dead last is Walker Evans. It's going to be interesting to see him work his way through this huge field. Greg Gerlach first, Jack Heitman second, John Greaves third.
Jack Flannery's in there. Jack's up in that race too, Marty.
Right, he's in the 5th position right now. Oh, look out. That looks like Johnny Greaves. He gets sideways and touches the wall. Not serious, though, on the damage. On board now with Scott Taylor down the front straightaway.
What's really a shame is Walker come all the way out from Riverside, California. He had a horrible first race, and now he gets spun. He gets knocked back to the back of the pack. That's a shame.
Out the back of Jack Flannery's truck, he has just taken over second place as he has moved around Jack Heitman. So Jack Flannery seizing the opportunity to get ahead of both Scott Taylor and Walker Evans, his chief rivals.
Keep in mind now, Jack Flannery has 2 trucks, a Class 8 and a Class 4, and he always opts for that 4-wheel drive.
I wonder why. That truck has been dominant all year long in its class, and with the 4-wheel drive, it is a definite advantage, especially coming down into this last turn, turn 4. We've seen how loose it has been for the Class 8s, and watch how well the Class 4s get through.
Well, the biggest thing you're going to see, here's a perfect example of the acceleration of that 4-wheel drive.
Boy, he just gets around Greg Gerlach, and now Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin is in the lead. There is Jed Flannery. He is in 6th, and he looks like he's having a little bit of a problem. Now, remember, he's 2-wheel drive.
He's 2-wheel drive, and he's back there struggling.
Oh, no, and Walker Evans was 10th, and all of a sudden gets hung up on one of the tire marker barriers that marks the inside part of the course. This is a battle for 7th. Scott Taylor in the heat of it. He is now around, that's Jamie Flannery, in the 8:15. So Taylor has moved into 7th.
He got out in that loose stuff, and it looks like Jamie might get him back here.
Boy, the action back in the pack is fast, and it is furious. On board again with Scott Taylor. That's Jeff Dorr that he just gets around for 6th, and Jed Flannery in front of him for 5th.
Lots of traffic. Hard to get around here, Marty. This type of a course is really hard to pass if the guy stays in line.
And that's Jeff Dorr getting back around Scott Taylor, so he has been dropped back a position.
Jeff Dorr again, 4-wheel drive. Until the track dries out a little bit more, it's going to be a 4-wheel drive advantage.
Take a look at this rundown. Some of the greatest names in off-road short course racing, and they are leaning on each other through this race. Walker Evans currently 9th. We'll keep you posted on his race back up through the pack.
Look at the traffic, Marty. This is some big iron to be maneuvering between these obstacles. This is a good racing.
And the dust is really beginning to kick up. Oh, Scott Taylor gets hung up. There's Walker Evans breathing down his backside.
Well, let me tell you, Walker Evans is moving up. He's already right up behind Scott Taylor.
This is some great action as Jed Flannery is trying to hold on to position. That is 3rd position for Jed. There's Jeff Dorr trying to sneak underneath Chad Hall.
And you notice the 2-wheel drives, how sideways they get.
Boy, down this back straightaway, look at Dorr trying to find a way to get around Chad Hall. Scott Taylor ducks to the inside underneath Hall. Can he make it stick? Remember, he's 2-wheel drive. Hall tucks back underneath him. Oh, what a great pass by Scott Taylor to move into 3rd.
He did make a good pass. He's got to be much more tighter. He can't afford with 2-wheel drive to get out there in that slop and that loose stuff.
And back in that pack is Walker Evans. See the blue and white Dodge? Remember, he was 19th. Oh, no. And Jeff Dorr gets spun around. That costs him a couple of positions. helps Walker Evans' quest, and Walker 19th. Now, look at this. He is currently in 6th. Unbelievable comeback after that lap 1 spin.
Well, Marty, he's on the warpath. Like I say, he's come all the way from Riverside, California. He wants this win in the worst way.
Well, right now, you're on board and getting a look at the venerable veteran from Riverside as he has moved in to striking distance here at the Heavy Metal Championship of the True Value Great Northern Challenge. Stay with us. The True Value Great Northern Challenge, that is Scott Taylor. We're on board, and that is a battle for the lead with Greg Gerlach, and it looks as though the Ford of Scott Taylor has gotten around Gerlach.
I think he has. He has, Marty.
Look at how much dust that these guys are having to cut their way through, and look who is in 3rd place, getting ready to take 2nd. It is the venerable Walker Evans. What a comeback this would be.
Well, absolutely. I'll tell you what's happening, Marty, is this track is starting to dry out a little bit and is starting to lean towards the two-wheel drives now.
Take a look at this straightaway as they head down for turn number 3. It is Taylor first, and Walker Evans trying to shoot past for 2nd place. Oh, he gets into the fender. Not intentionally, I'm sure, because he kicked up there just momentarily. No major damage for either vehicle, but he does take the position.
I tell you what he's got. He's got his sights on Scott Taylor. He wasn't too concerned with Greg Gerlach, but he wants Scott Taylor. He wants this win, I'll guarantee you.
Out the back of Scott Taylor, and we're watching Walker Evans close up on the Ford. It is Dodge versus Ford at this point. Look at the action going through turn number 4 as he kicks up a lot of dirt.
Look at the amount of dirt coming out the back of that truck, and that goes right under Walker Evans' radiator, remember.
1 lap to go. Can Walker Evans pull it? Oh, Scott Taylor's high.
Ooh, you don't see this very often. If he gets out there and loses much time, Walker's going to get him. 1 lap to go, Marty.
Down the back straightaway. This would be a comeback from 19th position by Walker Evans if he can pull it off.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Marty, he better not make mistakes when Walker Evans got his sights on him.
Oh, and Scott Taylor goes wide, Ivan, just what you were talking about, a mistake, opening the door, and Walker Evans on the final lap has taken the lead in the Heavy Metal Championship. Taylor's pulling out all the stops. These guys are flying into turn number 3.
Look at the damage on Walker's truck. Well, I tell you what, if anybody could do this type of a drive, Walker Evans, I've seen him do it in the past. Unbelievable.
He is pulling away from Scott Taylor. He is going to win the Heavy Metal Championship with 1 turn remaining. He makes the turn down in 4, keeps it under power. Look at Taylor trying everything he can, but it's not going to work. From 19th position in lap 1 to the winner's circle, Walker Evans in the Dodge takes the Heavy Metal Championship at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. What a comeback and what a show as he spins it around for the fans down into turn number 1. That is one happy driver, and a standing ovation by a lot of the crowd here at Lake Odessa, Michigan. Stay with us. We'll talk to the winner next. Well, let's take a look at the final results at the True Value Great Northern Challenge Heavy Metal. Walker Evans, can you believe it? Started 19th after getting tangled up. Ends up beating Scott Taylor in this huge field. Let's go to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Walker, you told me earlier you're going to drive like a man possessed, and by golly, that's exactly what you do. What a great drive.
Well, I had it going the other day in the Class 8 thing, and, as you know, the transmission blew up, and we came through that unscathed, and I had to come back to prove something today, and the big Dodge got it done.
Well, let me tell you, did it ever. What did you think your odds were when you got sideways back over here in turn 1? What are the odds of winning this race? What do you think?
Ivan, you've been there, and I mean, when you got 4-wheel drives up front, scratching, I mean, they got twice the traction you've got. Here you come out of the corner dead last, and you got your work cut out for you. But I didn't give up. I mean, that's the key to the whole thing. You just drive hard, hope everything stays together, and give it your best shot, and it paid off today.
Well, it certainly did, and our congratulations to Walker Evans, and our thanks to all the racers for putting on a spectacular event for this crowd here at Lake Odessa at the I-96 Speedway at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. For Ivan Stewart, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, we still have one more round in the Pro Series Points Championship in the SOTA World Series of off-road racing. It'll happen at the True Value World Championships. Join us then as we go off-road racing for the last time in 1993. So long for now. The off-road season has come down to one last race, and the Class 8 crown is still up for grabs. 5 drivers have a shot, with Scott Taylor leading Dave Hockers, Walker Evans, Jack Flannery, and Dan Vandenheuvel. One driver will take it all today. The Class 9-10 battle wages on. Only 2 points separate these two drivers. Jeff St. Peter has come from behind to take the points lead. But Art Schmidt will have something to say about that before this race day is over. And in Class 7S, Scott Taylor's reliable Roush Racing engine has powered him to the top. Only Jim Wiggins can catch him. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Crandon, Wisconsin for the True Value World Championships. It's all part of the SOTA World Series of off-road racing. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ivan the Iron Man Stewart, and we have champions to crown in 3 more categories today, starting off with Class 8. Ivan, there are no less than 5 guys with a mathematical shot at the title.
That's true, Marty, but really it's between Scott Taylor and Dave Hawkers. Scott Taylor's got to stay ahead of Dave Hawkers this race.
Well, and then we'll turn our focus to Class 7S because Scott Taylor can make it 2 in a row. It's a 2-driver race there for sure. Jim Wiggins is 17 points behind.
Well, that's right, but Scott Taylor's got to finish 10th or better in that race.
And then we'll also focus our attention on Class 9-10. That's a 2-man battle separated by only 2 points. Jeff St. Peter leads Art Schmidt. In Class 4, Jack Flannery clinched at our last event at Lake Odessa. Strap on the helmets, fasten the seatbelts. We're ready to go off-road racing.
Well, Marty, this is the long one. 2 miles in length, lots of fast straightaways, 2 key elements in this course. You've got to get around turn 1 quickly and efficiently. If you don't get around efficiently, you can end up parts of the pond. The other is the gravel pit. A lot of passing down here. You've got to get that 180-degree corner efficiently.
This 2-mile course has a lot of elevation changes as well. It is a great layout for spectators. As you can see, the capacity crowd on hand. And what would it be, a weekend of racing without somebody starting the wave? Now let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings in Class 8. Scott Taylor has an 8-point lead over Dave Hawkers. Walker Evans, Jack Flannery, and Dan Vandenheuvel have an outside chance, but they need Taylor to break. He will be leading this starting field from Belvedere, Illinois at age 37. Dave Hawkers, 2nd place in the point standings, 8 points behind from De Pere, Wisconsin. Then Walker Evans, led going into our last stop at Lake Odessa, now finds himself chasing Scott Taylor. Dan Vandenheuvel from Appleton, Wisconsin. He's another one with an outside chance. John Greaves finished 2nd in his first time in this truck at Lake Odessa. He's going to be in the 877 again. Jamie Flannery will be driving for Father Jack. Yes, they will be able to score points. We'll explain that later. Dennis Verdon in 807 from Abrams, Wisconsin, will also be in this field, as will Jamie's brother, Jed Flannery, in the number 812. Now, it is the truck that scores points, not the driver. That's why Jamie Flannery can drive Jack's truck and still score points for his father. So we're now ready to go racing. You see the rest of the starting field. There is the view from Walker Evans Dodge right out the front. And the green flag drops, and this race is underway. An Oklahoma land rush to turn number 1, Ivan.
This is so important to get down here clean. You can see what it's like in the back, the dust, the mud. You got to get to turn 1 first.
It looks like it's going to be Scott Taylor. Yes, it is. And John Greaves and Walker Evans about 4th or 5th right now. In fact, Walker getting a little loose back there in the blue and white Dodge.
What a surprise. John Greaves, that's the best that truck has done in a long time. He's right up at the front.
Heading up into turn 2. It's an uphill left-hander, and you're on board now with Walker Evans. Then you sweep down over and head down the back straightaway towards the gravel pit.
This is downhill very fast. Walker's got to get by Scott here. He's going to get back in this points race.
Well, Scott Taylor, there he is, the Ford up front, and that is John Greaves right in front of him. Greaves being passed on the outside by Jed Flannery. Can Flannery make it stick? Oh, they come together. Walker Evans trying to get around the two of them. They come over the big jump, heading for the what will be the finish turn here at Crandon. The starting line and finish line, 2 separate areas. Walker trying to dive underneath Greaves. Oh, and Flannery and Greaves get together, and Walker cannot get around these two, and that's allowing Scott Taylor to pull away.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. Whoa!
Whoa, no! That is Jed Flannery, who goes over after getting nudged by John Greaves. So Flannery sustaining heavy damage to the Chevrolet. Let's take a look at it again, Ivan.
Yeah, it looks like they just come together, just touch wheels right here, and just come right up over the top of that wheel.
That's amazing that he shot up and over that quickly from a nudge from the side. Usually you'd have to be T-boned to get that kind of reaction.
He just drove the tire, I think, Marty, is what happened.
Amazing how much damage has been sustained by the 812 of Jed Flannery, and unfortunately his race is over, and I'm sure he's wondering just what the heck happened.
Sure he is.
Well, look what has happened for this man. Scott Taylor has opened a huge lead over over Walker Evans. Now, Evans has gotten around John Greaves as we were looking at the replay.
Something we've noticed with Walker Evans, characteristic throughout the year, as the track gets drier, he gets faster.
Well, it will dry out as this race continues, and he is closing on Scott Taylor. Now, remember, Taylor has a 15-point lead on Walker Evans. There is John Greaves third and Jamie Flannery in fourth. So, really, Taylor can afford to let Walker Evans win this race as long as he finishes this race and scores points.
That's
Six
right.
more than Walker Evans.
That's right. Scott is going to be a little bit careful, but yet he still wants to beat Walker Evans. He wants to win the race, obviously.
Greaves in third place, Flannery in fourth as they head down. And look at how wet this section of the course is. It'll take some time for that to dry out. Hard left-hander. Then this is Dave Hockers. He is currently in fifth place. Now remember, he was in second coming in the points, but he needs to win and also hope that Scott Taylor has problems. And look at this shot on the suspension. The carriage underneath. This is the rear suspension going to work on Scott Taylor's Ford.
You can see the type of abuse that's taken, Marty.
Take a look as we head up over these jumps now. There he goes, and down. And again, one more.
You can see where it leaves the ground.
So Taylor doing a fine job at this point, knowing that he is in control of his own destiny. Walker Evans in pursuit.
It looks like about the same distance. He hadn't put any time, but you watch as the track dries out.
So Walker Evans down through the gravel pit. You'll get an idea just how far it is in his eyes to first place. We're at the True Value World Championship. Stay with us. More after this.
The power steering, you're right. That's a good, watch his hands jerk here.
I mean, it looks like he's wrestling that thing. Now, remember, there are power steering units on all these trucks because it is a handful without. He's off to the side of the course, and Walker Evans is going by.
He's definitely got a problem with that power steering. Whenever they go out, they really go out, and you just can't hardly steer them. You can have a hard time getting around the track now.
If you want an idea, in a safe spot, next time you've got your car out, turn off the ignition switch and try and turn the wheel. It just won't go very easily. So Scott Taylor is in trouble. Could this spell disaster for his championship hopes in the Pro Point Series? He's in second place. That's a safe spot to be. He's got 3 victories, 3 top 10 finishes as well in 1993.
Yeah, he just got to get it around the track now, Marty. Stay up there and try not to let anybody get by him, but just try and hold that position.
Walker Evans is doing what he has to do. He knows he must win this race. He's 15 points down. He can pick up 20 for a victory, but he needs help from everybody else in the field because he's got to get Scott Taylor back to about 9th or 10th place.
That's going to be tough to do. Scott has been around too long, has been too sharp to let that happen to him, I think, anyway.
Well, you can see Scott still in the straight areas is able to go fast, but not through the corners. Dave Hockers, look at the number of times he's been in the top 5. That's why he has been so good at scoring points. He has not won this year in the Pro Point Series, but oh no, we've got a truck pulling off by the side. That is Chuck Brand. Now, Brand coming into this race was in 10th in Class 8 points, so that's going to hurt his chances in the final standings.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing wrong with this truck right here. Walker's on the warpath.
And look what has happened. John Greaves is closing on Scott Taylor. And so is Jamie Flannery. So there is the battle, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in your screen, and he is way wide.
And that's the same place that Walker got by him. He's having a hard time controlling his truck through those jumps, I think.
He's going to have arms about the size of Brutus or Popeye at the end of this race, and he is getting past for 2 more spots.
Well, he can afford those 2, Marty. He just doesn't want to lose any more than that.
Well, that's right, Ivan, because he would score 10 points for finishing 4th. That would give him 79, and even with Walker's victory, that would give him 74. 5 short.
This is Jamie Flannery. He's doing a great job. First time he's been in the truck since Lake Geneva, Marty.
Now, he drives it in the heavy metal championship, but you're right, in Class 8 action, this is only the 2nd time this year that he has been in this field. And there goes Scott Taylor, fighting the steering, but doing a fine job of staying in 4th place. Now, there is 5th place. Dave Hockers with Dan Vandenheuvel in 6th. So it gives you an idea just how big a margin that Scott Taylor has between he and Dave Hockers.
I think he's looking pretty comfortable. I'm sure now remember, these guys have all got radios back with their pits, and he knows who's coming up on him, and he's only got 1 lap to go anyway.
Oh, no. Jamie Flannery has broken the rear suspension on the 815 Chevy.
That's a track run. He just snapped it in half, it looked like, Marty.
And that's bad news for this man, Walker Evans, because now Scott Taylor inherits 3rd place, which makes his chances of winning the championship even that much more difficult. But he has done everything that he has been asked to do. Walker Evans needed to go out and win, and it looks like he is going to pull that part of the project off. But it looks as though the championship, unless something happens here drastic in the last lap, will go to Scott Taylor. And oh, look at the smoke coming out as this truck is overheating. The checkered flag for Walker Evans. It holds on long enough for him to win Class 8. Now, where is Scott Taylor? There he is. Yes, he will come home in 3rd place. So Scott Taylor is going to be one happy camper, as that is 2nd place. John Greaves in front of him, and Scott Taylor will take home the Pro Series Point Championship in Class 8. He'll have another shot in Class 7S. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to both our winner of the race and the winner of our championship.
Right now, you can make a decision that can save your company hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. More than $1 million.
Steve and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championship, where Walker Evans wins the battle but loses the war because Scott Taylor's 3rd place finish is enough to give him the Class 8 Pro Series Point Championship. Let's go to Ivan Stewart with Walker.
Well, Walker, let me tell you, we talk about what you've got to have at Crandon to win a race out here. You've got to have horsepower. You've got to have a good start. One element we don't talk about too much, you got to have a little patience too. You came out 4th, but you had to realize, be a little patient here. We'll see what happens a little later on in the race.
Well, it's a long race. You know, it's usually a 20-minute race, and they cut it back to, I think, 9 or 10 laps. And I knew I had plenty of time, so all you have to do is sit in there and just work them hard. And you bet, you've heard the old saying, patience is a virtue.
That's great. Let's go back with the champion now, and Marty Reed.
Thanks, Ivan. We're here with the man who won the war today, Scott Taylor. You were leading for a while. Let me give you this trophy. This is it, the Pro Points Championship. First one we're going to hand out today. You're going to get a chance at a second one. But what happened out there? You were leading and then fell back.
Well, Marty, in the first lap, right after the 2nd turn, we lost the power steering. We checked it out at the finish line, and the seal's gone in it. And one of these days, Walker and I are going to finish a race side by side, and we'll just see. But it feels good to win this Pro Series trophy. It's one of my new milestones, and I sure appreciate it. And thanks to all my sponsors, B.F. Goodrich, Ford Motor Company, Ultra Wheel, Bell Racing. Without them, it wouldn't be possible for me to receive this trophy.
Well, we'll see you in 7S, where you might be doing it again.
I'm going to sure try the hardest I can. Thanks a lot.
Well, let's take a look at the final point standings in Class 8 in the Pro Series. Scott Taylor wins with 83 over Walker Evans with 74. A great year for Dave Hawkers, coming in 3rd with 72. You see, as we round out the top 10, John Greaves in 2 races with 2 second-place finishes was able to pick up 32 total points and move into the top 10. Let's get ready now as we show you highlights from what happened in the Class 4 championship race. Now, remember that already Jack Flannery has clinched this championship. These are 4-wheel drive production pickups with 600 to 800 cubic inches and 800 horsepower maximum. Now, the vehicle must equal 8 pounds per cubic inch. And this is the way it stands coming in. 20 points go to the winner of each race. That's why Jeff Dorr cannot beat Jack Flannery, because Flannery leads by 21. Here's what it looked like at the start of the race, and guess who was out in front? Jack Flannery took the lead and never looked back. That's Kevin Probst and Greg Gerlach getting side by side through turn 2. But Flannery ran away and hid. Now remember, he started the season with a 3rd place finish at Lake Geneva. He then has won every single race in the Pro Series at Antigo, the Spring Run, at Luxemberg, and at Lake Odessa. Great battle for 2nd place between Kevin Probst and Greg Gerlach. For Jack Flannery, he was never headed in this race. In fact, he never had a serious problem, as he never looked back. It's a good thing he doesn't have mirrors. He didn't need them. One man who did have problems, though, was Ken Kincaid. He ended his day early as he pulled his truck off to the side of the course. Joey Flannery, Jack's cousin, had a great day. Look at the pass here over Bob Bemmels and Chad Schluter to take over 6th place. Now, there was a wisp of smoke late in the race from Jack Flannery, but it did not slow him down. No one ever came close, and we never really found out what kind of problem he was having in there, and whether it was just tire rubbing or anything else that was seriously wrong. But it never looked like Kevin Probst was going to have a chance to challenge for the lead. Then Jeff Dorr gets past Greg Gerlach in the 402 for 3rd place. Joey Flannery finished off his great day by taking 4th after Greg Gerlach broke late in the race. Remember, this is Jack Flannery's hometown, and the crowd loved the fact that their hometown favorite, Jack Flannery, would coast to an easy victory in the Class 4 championship at the True Value World Championships in Crandon, Wisconsin. The checkered flag came out for the winner, Jack Flannery. You realize that out of 120 possible points in the Pro Series for the season, Jack Flannery takes home that trophy with an astounding 114 points. Kevin Probst finished second. Jeff Dorr, Joey Flannery, and Gerald Foster round out the top 5. And take a look at the final Pro Series point standings. You want to talk of dominance? Look at Jack Flannery. No one scored more points in any class than Jack Flannery did this year. A great season for Chad Hall, Bob Bemmels, and Chad Schluter, although a disappointing year for Greg Gerlach. After the race, Ivan talked to the winner.
Jack, I got to tell you, Chevrolet, Jack Flannery, Crandon, Wisconsin, winner's circle, they all go hand in hand. What a terrific job you just did.
Well, you know, it takes a whole crew, Ivan. Jack Flannery can't get here by himself, and thanks to Chevrolet and General Motor Company in general and Hydromatic Motorsports, all the people that's involved with us helped Jack Flannery get to this podium. You know, I've worked hard, my crew's worked harder, and, you know, I take this serious, and this is my hometown. If Jack Flannery's going to lay it on the line and take all the chances, it's going to be right here in my hometown.
Well, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. We could have given this to you after the last race at Lake Odessa. You're the only one to clinch early. Congratulations.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been just great. The series, the Pro Series here is just phenomenal, and you know, I congratulate everybody that's involved with it because this brings our racing back here in the Midwest to a new level, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Well, we're getting ready now for Class 7S action, another championship up at stake, and you can see final preparations are being made to the 2-mile layout here at Crandon, Wisconsin.
Let's take a look and see what a Class 7S is. 2-wheel drive production mini or mid-size pickup. 4 cylinders only, maximum of 2.5 liters, about 200 horsepower.
Here is the way the pro point standings shape up heading into the final round. Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, the only two that have a chance at winning the crown. Jeff Kincaid, Tom Hockers round out the top 4. Scott Taylor is the man to beat. He'll be in the number 700 from Belvedere, Illinois. Can he make it 2 championships in 1 season? Jim Wiggins, he's the man who is saying, no way, you got to get past me. Jeff Kincaid, right here in Crandon, Wisconsin, he knows this layout very well. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin, in the 705 would like to cap off his year with a win, as would Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin, at the age of 25. Paul Corning from Marytown, Wisconsin, has had a consistently good run all season long. Jimmy Crowder, hurt in the points championship when he was not able to make the last race because of motor problems. And John Greaves, what a disappointing season. He could cap it off with a win here from De Pere, Wisconsin. As we take a look at the starting field, you got to wonder what's going through John Greaves' head. He has done very well in Class 8 in the 2 races that he's been in that truck, but all season long, he starts well, but hasn't been able to bring that Toyota to the finish line, Ivan.
You're right, Marty. He just can't put it together. He gets good starts. He leads races. He just cannot make it to the winner's circle.
That was on board with Scott Taylor. We have an in-car camera with him out the front as well, and the green flag has dropped. And who is going to lead into turn number 1? Look at the left-hand part of your screen. It looks like the Toyota. Here comes John Greaves. Can he make it stick?
He does. He gets a great start again. Let's see what he can do with it.
Down through turn 1, Greaves, the early leader. A lot of passing going on in the pack behind, but so far, everybody clean, making it through. Nice job by this big field in Class 7S.
Scott Taylor's right on him. He's going to, I guarantee you, Scott won't let him get too far away.
It is John Greaves, Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, Tom Hockers, and then Dave Vandenelsen. And look at this action as they are 3 abreast. That is Kincaid trying to work his way down low.
He tried that low position. I don't think it made him any headway, though, Marty.
Looked like rush hour at the old freeway. Got a smoking truck there, but it doesn't look to be too serious at this point. We'll keep our eye on it. Remember, Jim Wiggins must finish ahead of Scott Taylor. He is 15 points behind. You get 20 for a win. So Wiggins also needs help from some of these other competitors. Great action going on as Kincaid's trying to work his way around 2 slower vehicles.
That's Jimmy Crowder, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida.
Now that is a battle for 7th place on the race course. Take a look here. This is Paul Corning and Jim Bradley in the 722. That's Bradley getting sideways and getting pushed all the way around. And Joe Dunlap gets into the tangle as well. Some damage to the front end of the 722 of Jim Bradley. But so far, so good for this man as John Greaves looks to break what has been a long dry spell in victory lane for this young man.
he can just keep it going. But I tell you, Scott Taylor's still there. All four of these trucks are running pretty good together here, Marty.
Now remember, Jeff Kincaid won the first round at Lake Geneva and round 5 at Lake Odessa. Sandwiched in between, as we get an interval time between first, second, and third, were 3 victories by Scott Taylor. Now to second place Taylor, it is about 4.5 seconds, and to third place, 6.97 seconds. So this man, Scott Taylor, in the driver's seat, and now you're in the driver's seat as well.
Marty, this is interesting to note right here. If you remember in the earlier shot in the Class 8 truck, how he was fighting the steering wheel. Now he just sits back with ease and kind of glides it through the corners.
Well, he's got an easy time of it right now, but we are told that John Greaves is not going to get an easy time of it. He was ruled to have jumped the start, and he is getting a black flag, Ivan, and he is to pull over this time.
Boy, I tell you what, Marty, there's always luck. The element of luck is always in all these races, but I tell you, it hasn't been on his side, believe me.
So he pulls over to get a stop-and-go penalty. In fact, he's pulling over and just stopping. So John Greaves appears to be out of this race. Scott Taylor is your new leader, and that is bad news for Jim Wiggins in his quest to take away the points championship from Scott Taylor. Stay with us. We'll be back. Who's going to claim that trophy? It's either going to be first or second place, Taylor or Wiggins. We'll find out at the True Value World Championship. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championship, Crandon, Wisconsin, and there is your leader in Class 7S, Scott Taylor.
Marty, we've seen him all year long. He's led races, and he makes it look so easy. Do you remember, he has 20 years experience out here. Just a tremendous amount of experience and talent.
It's Jeff Kincaid on the left, and it looks like he's going to pass and take over second place from Jim Wiggins, and that spells doom for Wiggins.
And I also see smoke coming out of his truck.
So whether or not Kincaid can hold on to second will still be a question mark, as he's got heavy smoke, and it looks like it's from the right rear of the car.
That could be a tire rub. You know, a lot of times it could be just oil getting flung out of the valve covers onto the headers.
Well, Wiggins needs help desperately. Jimmy Crowder, as we get a look at him, is currently running in 4th place in this race. There is Scott Taylor. Boy, it looks like he is just on cruise control now, knowing that all he has to do is finish this race in the current position with 1 lap to go to claim his second Pro Series championship in the same year.
Boy, what a fantastic year. And he make it look so easy to flick his truck around these corners. And believe me, Marty, it's not that easy.
Looks like Alan Walentowski's year is going to end on a disappointing note. Water spewing from the radiator. Look at how furious the team is. They're pulling it away. They're going to say, go ahead, go, get the points.
He's got that piece of cardboard off the front of the radiator, and it should cool it down now.
On board with Scott Taylor, you saw him wipe away some of the dirt that's been kicked up, but he has been in front. The only problem he's had is a little lap traffic.
Did you notice he shifts this truck? He uses a 4-speed transmission in this Class 7 truck now, which is kind of unusual for this form of racing.
Well, underneath that face mask, you know there has got to be a very big smile, as Scott Taylor is going to take home 2 of those trophies, 2 championships, after negotiating what amounts to be 3 more turns. Jeff Kincaid in second place, coming up on lap traffic, and boy, that truck's bouncing all over the place.
It's still smoking, so evidently it's just a valve cover leak. And I also saw John Greaves go by. John has got running again. They black flagged him, but he's evidently running again.
Up over the last big jump for Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He will bring a second championship to Ford in the 1993 season, winning here in Class 7S at the True Value World Championships. There's the checkered flag as Taylor does it in style, winning the race to claim the crown as he brings the truck to a halt in front of this huge crowd at Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner at the True Value World Championship. Back at the True Value World Championships, let's check the final results in Class 7S. And boy, what a way to cap off a great 1993. Scott Taylor wins after taking the lead early from John Greaves and wins the championship as well in the 1993 World Series of Off-Road Racing here in the SOTA World Championship. And before I give you this, I want to bring Ivan in here and let him sort of ask you about today's race. Great run.
Well, Scott, I tell you, we talk about what it takes to win here at Crandon, and we know you got to have horsepower, you got to have a good start, and you can't make mistakes here. And by golly, you did everything today perfect. You did a great job.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. I believe I have all 3 or 4 of them. We've been working real hard on keeping the little truck together. We had a tremendous year this year. Last year we had a rotten year. But, you know, bringing in the new motor program and focus, concentration, paying attention attention to details puts me up here with you guys.
I got to go back to Lake Geneva, though. I mean, the truck didn't finish the race. You were nowhere to be found, and I didn't expect to be giving you this.
Well, Marty, I tell you, I was wondering if the year wasn't going to start out the same way. But, you know, a few more bugs to work out. We finally found it, and since then, working with Jack Roush once again on that motor has been the key to our success this year in the little truck. It's been absolutely terrific.
Are you going to make me hold this, or are you going to take it from me?
No, I'm going to take it from you. Thank you, Marty.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks again. Thanks, Ivan.
Well, let's take a look at the final standings in the Pro Points Series. A 23-point margin for Scott Taylor, as Jim Wiggins just could not catch him and take over that position. Jeff Kincaid finishes third, and on down through the top 10. It is interesting to note that of the 4 championships, only one was decided prior to this season's competition. Now, one more that is yet to be decided is Class 9-10. The crowd is getting ready for that showdown. It's a 2-man battle between Art Schmidt and Jeff St. Peter, Ivan.
Let's take a look and see what a 910 buggy is. It's unlimited buggy, co-driver's optional, maximum of 1,650 cc's. These cars make just about 150 horsepower.
But they can fly because they're so light in weight. There is the point standings. You get 20 for a win. So no matter what happens, Jeff St. Peter, Art Schmidt, it's a 2-man showdown in this field. Now, as we take a look at this, if you are in a points battle, Ivan, if this was you with a 2-point separating you, what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you for me, Marty, all the concentration would be right here on the starting line. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I want to get to turn 1 first. Believe me, that's going to be important.
Art Schmidt in the 902. Todd Addick, who has been a hot driver lately. He won the last time out. He's in the number 922. The green flag drops. Look at this huge field. Addick could play the role of spoiler in this race.
They've got to play. Whoa, Marty, we got a heck of a wreck going here.
I can't tell who it is, Ivan, but it does not involve one of our 2 contenders for the Pro Series 910 championship. Down through turn number 1, everybody got straightened out and then back underway. It looks to be Art Schmidt, yes, the 902, and Todd Addick. Then Jeff Probst is third, Don Ponder fourth, and Jeff St. Peter is fifth.
We could have a real racer on this particular. Could be a tough one, Marty.
Oh, St. Peter's got to be kicking himself for not getting a better start.
Just what he had to do. He had to get out in front. Right now, it's going to be really tough for him.
Todd Addick, in our last round at Lake Odessa, he was the winner in Class 910. He has been driving better and better.
Just for every time you're back and behind a car and lets that leader get away, that lead point is so critical.
Now that is Jeff St. Peter getting around Dan Badu for 5th place. So St. Peter still has a long way to go.
Well, that was a perfect example. He just got out in that loose stuff and he couldn't, he lets that leader get away from a car link.
Well, there is the margin between the top 3, and then there is 4th and 5th. So Jeff St. Peter can't waste any time. He's got to reel in Art Schmidt quickly. And oh, he's outside on the loose stuff again.
Again, that's just the place you cannot be out there. When the points race is this close, and it's so critical, you can't make those little mistakes.
He's trying everything, probably over-aggressive.
Well, he probably is. He's getting frustrated. He's getting irritated. So I've got to do something. Even if I make a mistake, I've got to get out there. I've got to catch these guys.
Todd Addick in front. That's Art Schmidt on the left side of your screen. It will be Addick leading into turn number 1.
And that's Art Schmidt, who's been on top all year long. He's been just a heck of a contender the whole year.
Yeah, in fact, it was a break in an accident in the last race, which cost him the lead in the points championship. Other than that, he has had a wonderful year in Class 910. You got to remember, that man, Jeff St. Peter, won the first race at Lake Geneva. Then at Antigo, it was Art Schmidt, as at the spring run, as again at Luxemberg, as he won 3 in a row. And then Todd Addick found the victory circle in our last stop at Lake Odessa. Art Schmidt, if it ended right now with Schmidt in 2nd place, as that is Jeff Probst breathing down on his tailpipe, he would finish with 92 points. A 5th place finish for Jeff St. Peter would give him 89, so the championship would go to Art Schmidt.
Extremely critical racing here, Marty.
There goes your leader, Todd Addick. There is 2nd place, Art Schmidt, and again, closing is Jeff Probst. Well, right now, the Class 910 trophy belongs to Art Schmidt, but will it be his by the time this race ends? Stay with us. We'll find out at the True Value World Championship from Crandon, Wisconsin. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at Crandon, Wisconsin. That was your leader in Class 910, Todd Addick. There is Art Schmidt, 2nd place. Ivan, he's slowing down. He is slowing down and being passed by Jeff Probst.
He has got a major problem. He just never runs that slow. It's jumped out. The engine had to have died on that or something like that.
And Jeff St. Peter has just gone by. As he gets it refired, does he have a transmission problem? Or is it something else? Art Schmidt is now back behind Jeff St. Peter.
You know, a lot of times people don't understand that your hands can actually come off the steering wheel over one of the bumps or jumps and hit the ignition switch. I've done that in the past. Something like that may have just happened.
So it either got kicked out of gear, perhaps, the ignition switch, whatever it is. Art Schmidt has now given back the lead in the points championship to Jeff St. Peter.
That was one of the worst things that could have happened to him right there, Marty.
Todd Addig, almost lost in the shuffle of the championship, has done a super job this year, especially late in the go, winning last time out at Lake Odessa. And there, Schmidt having more troubles and getting refired. I'm wondering if could it be maybe a spark plug wire has come loose? He's got a miss or something?
Well, maybe even a fuel pump pickup, something like that. Maybe low on fuel. The fuel pump isn't picking the gas up on a particular right-hand or left-hand corner.
I can't believe he would have kicked it out of gear twice.
No, I don't believe that either. It wouldn't have been an ignition switch. I think it's probably running out of gas, something along that line.
I can't believe they'd be out of fuel. Also,
well,
I think your fuel pickup may be the right scenario. Whatever it is, this man, the second car in your screen, Jeff St. Peter, is on the verge of claiming the Pro Series championship in Class 910. And as we look back, Art Schmidt is slowing again, so there is serious trouble in either the fuel or engine compartment of that Class 910 buggy. He is in 8th place, and he's watching the championship fall away.
Oh, that's a horrible place to be in. Just to be this close and have some kind of little problem like that keeps plaguing you.
Todd Addig has 1 lap to go to take the checkered flag to make it 2 wins in a row. And it does a lot for momentum towards next year to come off 2 wins like that.
Well, absolutely it does. It makes a statement that you've won in the past. We're tough. We were tough last year. Look out for us this year. So that's going to be very important to take home that championship.
About the only thing he has to look out for right now is lap traffic. 2 vehicles in front of him. He needs to be a little patient here. He's got plenty of a lead over that man, Jeff Probst. And then that's lap traffic in front of Jeff St. Peter. St. Peter in 3rd place, Ivan, and that's good enough to take home the championship.
It is. He's got to be feeling awfully good right now to know that he's had this good of a year and he's going to get a championship.
Well, here comes your winner for the 2nd time in a row. Todd Addig's going to look at the checkered flag. He gets the checkered flag. Todd Addig, the winner in Class 910, will wait for Jeff St. Peter to make his way as Jeff Probst will finish 2nd. And here comes Jeff St. Peter with 1 turn to go and the championship in his grasp as St. Peter takes home the Pro Series points title over arch rival Art Schmidt and the rest of this great 910 field. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winners at Crandon, Wisconsin. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships in Crandon, Wisconsin. Todd Addig, for the 2nd time in a row, has won in Class 910. Jeff Probst 2nd, and Jeff St. Peter wins the championship over Art Schmidt. Schmidt finishes in 8th.
Well, Todd, that's 2 for 2. You had a great start. Any problems whatsoever?
I had a beautiful start. I tell you, the Budweiser and MTX car worked great. Art Schmidt gave me a little bit of run there at the start. He developed a miss later on in the race. We were able to keep real clean, and they did a beautiful job here at Crandon with all the rocks, and they did a nice job grooming the track. And I'd like to thank BFG for getting me the tire to hook up well.
Well, we've got a moment here. We got to bring in the man, Ivan, who won it all, and this is the trophy for the year-long championship for Class 910. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thanks a lot, Marty. It was a very long season, and we fought with this one tooth and nail right to the end. I'm glad to have it over with.
Now, you know Art had a mechanical problem, but you were closing on him there when he started to have that misfire.
Yeah, I seemed to be closing on him pretty rapidly there, and then all of a sudden he had a mechanical failure. I believe he said it was electrical, and that pretty much took care of it.
Congratulations on a great season.
Thanks a lot, Marty.
Let's take a look at the final Pro Series point standings in Class 910. Jeff St. Peter wins by 8 over Art Schmidt. Todd Addig, with those 2 wins, jumps into 3rd place ahead of Tom Schwartzberg with 64. As we look on down through the list, Jeff Probst ends up tying Dan Badu with his 2nd place finish, moving into a tie for 7th. We're getting ready now for heavy metal action, and tires are always critical in this race, especially keeping them on the bead. Ivan Stewart has more in a tire tip on what the bead is all about.
One of the unique things in off-road racing is the device that we use on our wheels called a bead lock. This device right here. This actually locks the tire to the wheel. Now, in your passenger car, the tire goes underneath this lip. The air pressure holds the tire to the bead. It would never work in off-road racing. You see this serrated part here? The wheel goes up over that. This ring goes around. It's bolted down with about 20 pounds of pressure on each one of these bolts. It's pinched in there, and it actually holds the tire to the wheel. In off-road racing, it's a must, especially here at Crandon. If you don't have a B-lock in your tires, going through turn one, winning this race are going to be extremely diminished.
We've come down to the final race of the 1993 season. 2- and 4-wheel drive production pickups will battle it out in the Heavy Metal Championship, Class 8s and Class 4s. And this is the Chevrolet starting field. In Chevy Thunder, Class 4 champion Jack Flannery. Alongside will be Scott Taylor, 7S and Class 8 champion. He'll be in the Ford. In the Dodge, Walker Evans from Riverside, California. He will not want to go home without the Heavy Metal crown. Jeff Dorr in the number 400 Ford from Rockford, Illinois. Now, Linda Lou Schlamm has been running a limited schedule all season long. She's back to race here at Crandon. Kevin Probst in the number 499 from New Lenox, Illinois. Chad Hall from Reno, Nevada. He'll be in the number 411. He had a good run last time out in heavy metal competition at Lake Odessa. Jack Heidman from Marquette, Michigan in the number 406. And Ivan, a total of 31 trucks.
And this is going to be tough. This is going to be chaos getting all these guys down in turn one. That's only about 40 feet wide down there, Marty.
Yeah, remember, this is a land rush start. You can see how wide, and you cannot see every vehicle in the starting field. They are lined up so far across this race course, and as you pointed out, Ivan, it's going to narrow down. Now, we're on board with Scott Taylor out the front of his Ford. Also on board with Jack Flannery and his Chevy Thunder, and Walker Evans Dodge as well. Get ready. The green flag has dropped. Hold on to your breath, because turn one is going to be exciting. We're just going to sit back and watch with you. It looks like Flannery's got the lead. That's Ken Kincaid. He's gotten sideways. Ivan, 4, 5, 6 different trucks get tangled up in this melee.
Oh, man, he gets sideways and just sucked everybody off the side of that bank. It looks like they're all wedged in here, Marty.
Scott Taylor is in there. That is Jed Flannery, Dave Hockers, 3 of our most prominent vehicles tied up in this. Take a look again.
And that's exactly what happened. He got sideways, kind of drew everybody back off to the side of the road over there up on that bank, and they just nowhere to go.
That was Hockers that got into Kincaid. Now let's go on board with Scott Taylor. Watch what happens.
Whoa, he had no chance whatsoever.
Oh, and he T-bones Dave Hockers. Now let's look at what happens to Walker Evans in this mess. He sees it. He sees Vanderbilt. Look at the escape that he makes to the left and then the right.
Walker's been in that position before. He said, I've got to get through this traffic. The Vader weavy move was perfect.
You can see those guys are still tied up as Jack Flannery has come around one full lap.
Again, Barney, that's why we always talk about it. It's so critical to get through turn one clean. Get out of that mess.
Jeff Dorr is in second place.
I think that's Kevin Probst behind him.
That is right. It is Kevin Probst. This is the battle for second place. The best action we have on the race course right now. On board with Walker Evans. He is in 6th place.
I think with that gap, we got a big gap back to Walker and these guys. This group here, I believe, Marty.
That is Jamie Flannery and Linda Lou Schlamm in front of Walker Evans. Now he's down in the gravel pit section. It looks like he's trying to get around Flannery. He does get past Jamie Flannery. That is 5th place now for Walker Evans.
Notice how he's got to wait to pick the throttle up. Walker Evans, 2-wheel drive. He just can't stand on that throttle just like you'd like. He's got to wait a little while.
Well, there is Scott Taylor finally getting untangled from Dave Hockers, so he is well over a lap down. No chance of winning the Heavy Metal Championship. But I guess everything else is going well. Whoa, wait a minute. That looks like Jack Flannery heading for pit lane. Flannery has a problem, and there will be a new leader.
I don't know what could be wrong. He must have a flat tire. Something we can't see, Marty. He obviously sounds good.
Cannot tell from listening, but Kevin Probst inherits the lead. Jeff Dorr is now second. And Probst, what a way to finish his year. He's had all kinds of trouble in the last few races getting this vehicle to the finish line.
Well, he's been fast. He gets good starts. He's obviously got a tremendous amount of talent. Everything is good. He just has some kind of a problem all the time. He just can't quite get to the finish line. Walker, let's see. Maybe he can do it today.
I've noticed a few flames shooting out of the tailpipe there. We're back on board with Scott Taylor. Taylor heading for the pits as well. So I don't know what's wrong there, but obviously Scott Taylor has some damage from that accident.
He may have got a flat tire or something, going to change tires.
Walker Evans has come back to take 3rd place. Remember the last time we checked with him, he was taking over 5th, and there is the margin. Walker's got a long way to go.
He's got a long way, there's no doubt about that.
So Kevin Probst is the leader. Notice those flames. What are those flames?
I think it's just a little bit of exhaust leak. You get a little bit of air in the exhaust and it shoots a little flame. I don't think it's anything to worry about there.
On board with Walker Evans as we're heading for a commercial at the True Value World Championship. Stay with us. We'll decide the final race of the year after this. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships from Crandon, Wisconsin. That is Kevin Probst. And boy, look at that rear end still bouncing, Ivan. We've talked about it in past races.
It's hard on suspension. It's hard. Evidently, he just can't get that taken out of the truck because that's just not comfortable to have it doing that.
Heavy metal championship at stake. Oh, look at the left rear. There's a problem on Probst's truck. The left rear has shredded. It is gone.
He has just lost the complete left side of that rear suspension, Marty.
Now look at the balance of the vehicle. He's still able to try and drive it through the corner where the weight has shifted to the right side of the truck, but now he will have to pull off.
It's a shame. We've seen this happen time after time after time to Kevin. It's just tough with a new vehicle like this. It just needs more testing time.
So this man, Jeff Dorr, now takes over possession of the lead, and Walker Evans is now 2nd. So Dorr has a chance to cap off his season in great style.
But I tell you what, knowing Walker Evans, the style and the fury that he's got and the will to win, Jeff Dorr had better be getting on the gas pedal.
Now there is 3rd place, Jamie Flannery right now. Now going back to Walker Evans, if you were with us at Lake Odessa, remember in the Heavy Metal Championship, he was 19th in the first lap and came back to win it. It was a tremendous comeback, the best we've had all season long. Now there is Jeff Dorr with 2 lap vehicles in front of him, and it's allowing Walker to close.
And Walker is closing. Look at the altitude you get. He wants this win. Also, Marty, remember they have the radios. The radios are so critical here. He knows exactly who's ahead of him. His crew's telling him, get the red truck, get the red one.
Dorr has got to be furious. He's got to get around these 2 lap vehicles. It is costing him valuable time. We're on board with Walker Evans, and you can see Jeff Dorr.
He's just right there. And Jeff knows he's got to get by these guys.
Well, they got past one of the lap vehicles, but now it's the second one, and Walker is right behind Dorr. Will Walker go underneath? Yes. Look out. We could have a change for the lead. No. Walker gets the door slammed in his face.
He got finished.
But now he gets around on the outside. And Evans comes through the lap traffic much quicker than Jeff Dorr. 1 lap
to go, Marty. Jeff had better be running.
This is going to be another incredible finish in heavy metal action. It is Class 4, a 4-wheel drive Ford of Jeff Dorr versus the 2-wheel drive Class 8 of Walker Evans. Down the long back chute. On board with Walker. Can he make the pass in the final turn heading onto the front straightaway?
This is where all the talent, all the horsepower, all the truck handling pays off. Can he get him?
4-wheel drive. Dorr pulls him a little bit in that corner.
Look at the amount of dirt he's throwing behind him. Jeff is on that gas pedal.
He knows Walker is right behind him. Look at Walker. All stops are pulled. Evans flying around the right-hand first turn.
Listen to the crowd. The crowd is in it. In the driver's seat, you can sense the crowd is into this race.
Plenty of turns left for Walker Evans. In fact, if it's going to happen, it's got to be the gravel pit.
Right here. He can break him going to the gravel pit.
That is his team. Wife Phyllis, they're in the black jacket saying, come on, Walker, come on. Evans, Jeff Dorr. It is Dorr in front of Evans. One more time. That is the gravel pit. They're side by side. Can he make the pass?
Jeff went too wide. No, maybe he did. He's got that full drive acceleration. That's where he pulled him, right there.
One final turn to the checkered flag. Jeff Dorr, can he hold off Walker Evans, who's made another stellar comeback? The checkered flag will be for Jeff Dorr. Walker Evans second in a great showdown, and oh, the frustration, the heartache for the Dodge team and the cheers of the fans as they have seen a great race once again in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value World Championship. Oh, yeah, you've got to applaud that one. That was a great show. Unbelievable. We'll be back to talk to the winner right after this. Well, I hope you caught your breath, because we certainly have a great finish to the 1993 season. Jeff Dorr beats Walker Evans at the True Value World Championships in heavy metal action. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Jeff, I got to be the first to congratulate you. And you just done what many in off-road racers have dreamed of doing, is beat the master. Walker Evans, you beat him across the finish line, but he was coming hard.
He was coming hard. I had trouble in lap traffic, slowed me up, and I'm thinking, I hope he gets slowed up like I do, but I know he can go through that stuff clean. I've seen him do it.
What an incredible way to wrap up the 1993 off-road racing season in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value World Championships, with a dramatic showdown finish between Jeff Dorr and Walker Evans. We hope you have enjoyed this race season. Accommodations for the ESPN crew provided by Cheney's Country Club and Motel in Leona, Wisconsin. Mobile facilities for the ESPN crew provided by Van Boxtel RV. They're located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Well, the 1993 Soda World Series of Off-Road Racing began in a mud bath at Lake Geneva. But, Ivan, over the course of our 6 races, we saw some of the greatest racing ever in this series.
Boy, we really have, Marty. I tell you that we've seen it rain, we've seen shine, we've seen all different types of tracks, we've seen rollovers, some fantastic driving. Oh, what a lot of fun.
It has been a great 1993. We want to thank everyone at SOTA, the World Series of Off-Road Racing, all the promoters, the fans, the drivers, everyone involved with helping us bring you the 1993 Racing Series, and we hope you'll join us again next year in 1994. It is going to be another great season. Our champions, Jeff St. Peter, Scott Taylor, and Jack Flannery. For Ivan Stewart, this is Marty Reed. So long for now. We'll see you next time on ESPN's Speed World.